A blood-curdling scream echoed through the Hong family mansion. Sang Xiaodong hung midair like bait as the girl below grinned wickedly. He was mocked that his friends were dead and his life meant nothing. Burning with rage and guilt, he swore to punish the betrayer. The woman feigned weakness, luring a man to torture him in her stead. The man bragged about living well thanks to looted supplies. The rope slackened, dropping him into a cage full of corpses. The zombies lunged like starving wolves. They tore into him mercilessly. In agony, he swore revenge on Q King and Li Shuxiang. A sudden voice yanked him awake from the nightmare. In front of him, a woman nagged about property papers, leaving him confused. Bewildered, he realized he had returned to life before the apocalypse. In his past life, Q King had swindled all his wealth, leaving him destitute. Then came the catastrophe. Humans turned into zombies. The world collapsed. With friends' help, he once built a safe survival zone. But Q King, the traitor, destroyed everything. She even demanded a bride price of 400,000 without missing a cent. Seeing that wicked face, fury surged within him. Clenching his teeth, he forced himself to stay calm. He softly told her to leave first, then slammed the door shut. Q King froze, shocked at his newfound resolve. He quietly checked the digital clock. Lost in thought, 1 month left before doomsday, he had to act fast. Suddenly, a mechanical sound rang out as a screen lit up. The apocalypse system activated, assigning survival preparation tasks. He stared in surprise, eager to explore the new features, and even included power boosts and various levels of supply packages. He suddenly recalled how, in his past life, he tried hard to prove his worth. To save money for Q King, he ate poorly until exhaustion. Holding his phone, he told himself all he needed was to register an account. Remembering he had 1 month before disaster, he decided to feast and order online. Before him appeared a lavish banquet that left him stunned in awe. A 300 yuan steak sizzled with aroma, making him swallow hard. One bite and the flavor sent him to bliss. He moaned in delight, devouring it like a starving man. Just as he battled his meal, his phone suddenly rang. It was a call from an annoying acquaintance. Irritated, he thought, what does that troublesome woman want now? The voice on the line yelled, demanding he hand all assets to Q King if he loved her. Furious, he shouted back and hung up hard. Leaning back, he took a deep breath to calm himself. An urgent idea flashed through his mind. To survive, a shelter must be solid, hidden, and near resources. He decided to visit a real estate agency to find a suitable spot. A smiling female agent greeted him, asking if he wanted to rent or buy, but the company director interrupted, scoffing and ordering another girl to take over. The agent tried to explain but was rudely shooed away. The director lectured her for poor judgment, then sneered at Xiaodong. Insulted as a broke loser, he snapped back without restraint. He cursed that the man had dog eyes, unfit to judge people. The director mocked, swearing he'd eat dung publicly if Xiaodong could buy even a toilet. Xiaodong sneered coldly, promising to grant that wish soon. He turned to the agent, his tone calm yet firm, declaring he came to buy land. He stunned everyone who now called him Rich Master. The agent instantly beamed and invited him to a private room for details. Director Chu snorted coldly, thinking Xiaodong was just bluffing and would soon be exposed. The female agent brought out property files for him to review. Sang Xiaodong waved them off, saying he'd choose only by his own criteria. He wanted land near mountains and rivers, with clean water, good roads, and existing buildings. Chu overheard and butted in, pretending to be knowledgeable. He suggested the Dongqing area full of abandoned factories, worrying the agent. She objected since it was unplanned territory, but Chu barked that the client was joking. Xiaodong double-checked, forcing her to admit it met his conditions despite its ruin. Studying the map, he saw the spot was highly strategic, easy to defend, hard to attack. Seeing its potential, he decided to buy immediately. The girl mistook it as rejection and apologized profusely. He smiled, saying to sign the deal right away, no more chatter. When the invoice appeared, Chu gaped as the huge payment went through for real. Xiaodong patted his shoulder, reminding him of that eat dung promise. Staff cheered, live streaming the scene and teasing Chu about adding seafood to the menu. As he left the company, the system announced mission complete and bonus points gained. Now he needed money and food stockpiles for long-term plans. Just then, Li Shuxiang spotted him and followed curiously. He froze upon seeing Chu forced by staff to honor his foolish vow. Li Shuxiang yelled in confusion, clueless about what was happening. Meanwhile, Q King, mid-beauty treatment, exploded with rage upon hearing the news. Hearing from Li Shuxiang that Xiaodong had bought land, she was stunned and furious, thinking it spent all her bride money. Q King swore to hunt him down. Unaware of any of this, Xiaodong calmly plotted his next steps. He worried building a base needed huge funds he didn't yet have. Suddenly, Q King stormed in, face red, shouting his name non-stop. She furiously accused him of spending her money. He looked blankly while she ranted wildly. Q King screamed that both the land and money belonged to her. He sneered, slapped a wad of cash on her shoulder, mocking she couldn't spare a penny. Then he exposed her secret affair with Li Shuxiang. Q King turned pale, while when Shunya stepped into mediate but got scolded harshly. He declared he felt nothing for Kui King and ordered them both out of his sight. Q King was stunned by the revelation, while when Shunya angrily demanded answers, Q King muttered she only played around a few times, leaving Shunya disgusted. When Shunya said she'd handle things herself and had her own plan for him, Q King weakly nodded, unaware Shunya was hiding a scheme. The next day, Xiao Deng visited his new land to discuss turning the factory into a base. Foreman Lei nervously asked if had offended someone, but was coldly told to focus on progress. The foreman grumbled about the rushed job, asking if Xiao Deng had any mercy. He cut him off, demanding a clear quote without nonsense. Lei raised 2 fingers, saying it'd take at least 2 million to finish in a month. He instantly agreed, paying a 500k deposit without hesitation. Xiao Deng promised quick full payment and told the crew to start at once. Hearing that, the foreman finally nodded in relief. As the meeting ended, when Shunya's voice called from behind, she ran up, greeting him sweetly like an old friend. Clinging to his arm, she cooed, asking why he looked so grand and busy. She praised the scenery, guessing he was building a villa only to be coldly shaken off. When Shunya froze, surprised he no longer reacted like before, she tried to act seductive, but his indifference made her call after him nervously. He simply ordered the workers to widen the main gate. She pried curiously, pretending closeness to learn his plans. He curtly replied it was none of her business and kept inspecting the site. When Shunya swallowed her anger, secretly scheming to seize benefits, while she plotted, he went home to ponder finances. He figured selling his house was the only option. Even with doomsday coming, whoever bought it wouldn't matter, soon laws would mean nothing. A loud knocking made him frown and open the door. It was Lydagia, the rich, troublesome neighbor always pestering to buy his house. The man accused him of making noise again, sparking a heated argument. Losing patience, he snapped, "You want it? Fine, I'll sell." Without hesitation, he decided to finalize the deal on the spot. Lydagia was thrilled, but Xiao Deng added a hefty condition. He demanded to stay for 6 months and receive a 500k advance. Pretending to close the door, he scared the man into agreeing instantly. Lydagia panicked, insisting on drafting a contract immediately. Afraid of a change of mind, he pushed a sign right there. Xiao Deng smirked inwardly after signing. He thought, "You're doomed now." Checking his account, he confirmed a total of 800,000 yuan. With funds ready, he chose to finish his system mission first. At the mall, the system panel displayed the survival prep catalog. He filled carts with food, drawing whispers from onlookers. Some mocked him for believing apocalypse rumors, but he only smiled quietly. He knew strengthening himself was the real priority. Without hesitation, he spent 10 points for a main character supply box, gaining a spatial ring. Testing it, he was amazed time inside stood still. Resources stored there never spoiled, perfect for survival planning. The system announced a new mission, but before he could react, a guard burst in shouting. The man demanded to know who was causing trouble, making Xiang Xiaodong frown. Looking closer, he recognized Yang Tao, an old classmate from middle school. The bully who preyed on the weak, feared the strong, and once got scolded by him. Today Yang Tao was unchanged, ordering staff to clear out his goods, threatening violence, while Xiao Deng only laughed in contempt. He mocked whether the supermarket served customers with fists now. Yang Tao shouted louder, threatening arrest, drawing a crowd. Moments later, the cashier called out the total. The bill showed over 68,000 yuan. Yang Tao taunted him to pay on the spot to prove his worth. Xiao Deng swiped his card without hesitation. The machine beeped payment successful, stunning everyone. Yang Tao huffed and tried to leave, but Xiao Deng stopped him. Raising an eyebrow, he said the man owed him an apology for his poor attitude. Otherwise, had returned everything, costing the store its big sale. Yang Tao grew furious, but the crowd sided with Xiao Deng, urging him to apologize. Xiao Deng gently coaxed, "Say sorry, and I'll spend even more." Yang Tao sneered, thinking he was bluffing. Xiao Deng raised his card, telling them to bring the reader and see real money. The display showed over 700,000. Turning Yang Tao pale, he emphasized, "Just apologize, and I'll buy double." Yang Tao trembled like a grandson before his grandpa. Finally, he bowed and muttered, "Sorry," making Xiao Deng smile and pat his head, embarrassed. Yang Tao asked why he was buying so much stuff. Xiao Deng replied coldly, "Business talk, none of your concern." He hinted at needing supplies, and Yang Tao bragged about knowing a supplier, Zhang Sheng. Xiao Deng smirked, knowing those two had been stealing from supermarkets for ages. Yang Tao led him to meet Zhang Sheng for a big deal. A car screeched to a halt at the warehouse, smoke billowing everywhere. Yang Tao jumped aside in panic, nearly falling. Xiao Deng cursed inwardly, driving like that was pure banditry. A man stepped out, asking if this was the client Yang Tao mentioned. Yang Tao quickly introduced him as their old classmate, Xiang Xiaodong. Zhang Xing sneered, tugging his collar and mocking his cheap clothes. Xiao Deng just shrugged, saying he could wear whatever he pleased. Zhang Xing slapped Yang Tao, scolding him for calling a pauper a big client. He boasted he could spot wealth at a glance. Xiao Deng retorted, "Maybe your dog eyes need better training." Zhang Sheng's face reddened. He grabbed his collar, shouting, "What did you just say?" Xiao Deng calmly said, "You've got dog eyes and love to look down on people." Yang Tao tried to intervene, Knowing Zhang hated being called illiterate, hitting a nerve, Zhang punched Yang Tao instead to vent. He then threatened Xiao Deng, "Buy or you won't leave alive." Xiao Deng smirked and pushed a cart toward them. He pulled out his phone, asked for an account, and instantly wired 100,000. Stunning Zhang, he ordered 500,000's worth of rice, oil, salt, food, and drinks, all survival supplies. He demanded proper inspection. No need for fancy packaging. Zhang secretly rejoiced, planning to dump near-expired goods on him. Pretending generous, he offered a 10% discount for full payment. Xiao Deng nodded casually, not committing yet. He tore open a snack pack and found expiring stock. Criticizing it coldly, Zhang cursed inwardly. He hadn't expected such a savvy buyer and changed tactics. He offered the Suno-expire batch at half price, but Xiao Deng still refused. He said it only buy quality goods, and the bad ones would be handled differently. Curious, Zhang asked how Xiao Deng smiled mysteriously. Use that half-price offer. He said to take all the near-expired stock but pay in a month. Mortgaging his house. When asked his sales channel, he laughed. "I am the consumer." Patting Zhang's shoulder, he said, "In a few days, this stuff will be worth gold." As Zhang tried to ask more, Xiao Deng waved him off, telling him to deliver as planned. Just then, his phone rang, someone inquiring about his house listing. He confirmed, told Zhang to proceed with the deal, and left the two men dumbfounded. At home, an old man arrived with 400,000 as a deposit, urgently wanting to buy his apartment. The man allowed him to stay 3 more months and signed without even viewing the place. Curious, Xiao Deng asked why the rush. The man said his granddaughter was changing schools. The old man begged him not to back out, making Xiao Deng laugh. "Aren't you afraid he'll raise the price?" Flustering the elder, the old man swore had emptied his ancestral savings and wouldn't change his mind. Xiao Deng signed the contract immediately without hesitation. The man left beaming, praising him endlessly. Sighing, Xiao Deng watched him go, feeling the man was honest and kind, fearing they might not survive long. He called out for them to wait. He asked for their current address and carefully noted it down. With that done, he went to the new base. Greeted warmly by Foreman Lee, he asked about progress and heard it was 70 complete. The structure solid, and storage cleared. Satisfied, he left immediately. He called Zhang Sheng to deliver the goods, paying generously to everyone's amazement. He personally supervised, reminding them to store fresh food carefully. The workers promised to handle everything properly so he wouldn't worry. When everyone left, he stood alone in the empty space. The system chimed, "Mission warm meals, full belly complete." Bonus points awarded. The screen displayed rewards, and he happily chose a level 1 ability supply box. Points deducted, balance left 19. He gained the skill Psychic Eye of the Shrimp Spirit, able to sense hostility. Grinning, he admitted this ability was insanely useful in early stages. The system granted 10 random bonus points. Scene shifted to the bustling midnight black market. Prices shouted everywhere. Sighing, Xiao Deng slipped through the crowd. Spotting Lai Shuxing haggling over fake goods, he sneered, knowing that scammer sold cheap jade bangles as real. Thinking the poor girl would learn soon, he moved on to browse supplies, drawn to a stall of melee weapons. He picked up a short dagger, asking for something better. The vendor tossed him a whetstone and replied coldly. He said even a sturdy stick would do. Still unimpressed, he wanted something tougher. The vendor grew annoyed. Suspecting trouble, his phone buzzed an incoming transfer of 200,000. He smiled, showing the screen to prove he had real money to spend. The vendor's tone flipped sweet. He handed the stall to a lackey and gestured for privacy. He said they'd talk business somewhere quieter and led him inside. In the back room, the vendor proudly displayed a homemade gun that could shoot chickens easily. Sighing, Xiao Deng shook his head, uninterested. The vendor then showed a fake revolver that fired like the real thing. Dirt cheap. He frowned, saying he'd pay a front for 2 pieces. 10,000 each. This deal legal or not? He asked. The vendor froze, confused, as Xiao Deng cut in that he needed them now. The man laughed awkwardly, saying such deals were handled by underlings. Times were chaotic. Sighing, Xiao Deng interrupted coldly. Just answer, can you do it or not? The man nodded, wrote the order, and set a cash-only delivery spot. Deal done. Sighing, Xiao Deng turned to leave. The vendor politely saw him off, wishing safe travels. Boss. A mocking laugh rang out. Li Shuxiang appeared, taunting him for spending like water. He jeered, asking if he had any property left to sell. Trying to play the rich man, he added another jab. Was he selling everything just to enjoy life? Sighing, Xiao Deng got an idea and activated the Psychic Eye to test his new power. He sneered, reminding Lai and Kui King how they'd been scammed with fake goods. He added coldly that she was only worth that much anyway. Furious, Lai Shuxiang was stopped as the vendor asked if they knew each other. Sighing, Xiao Deng said coolly, "An acquaintance whose life I once saved, don't kill him." The men surrounded Li, who backed away in terror. He shouted and begged, but the vendor ignored him, swinging a club forward. A scream echoed, then he was beaten unconscious. Lai Shuxiang lay bruised and broken. Grinding his teeth in hatred, he swore he'd take revenge on Xiao Deng no matter what. 2 days later, the shipment arrived on schedule. Mission fully armed completed. More points added. He received a level 2 physical enhancer, shocked by its double potency. Without hesitation, he decided to inject it. Raising his arm, he injected. His physique stat rose by 2 points. Strength 40. He opened the system panel to check remaining items. A manual refresh option appeared. costing 2 points. Laughing in delight, he activated the upgrade energy surge through his body. His physique reached level 8 over 60, stronger than a normal man. Muscles bulged, his whole body solid as steel. He tested his strength on a heavy iron bar among the materials. With a loud shout, he swung hard, the bar bent sharply, denting the wall. He laughed. Thrilled by his power, he stored all weapons neatly inside his spatial ring, thinking it barely took any space. He felt satisfied. With everything secured, he told himself this was the safest place. He recalled the old man who bought his house, saying he only wanted to care for his granddaughter. The elder had told Siang Sadong not to regret it, and he couldn't ignore such hardship. Sighing, he decided to send some supplies to help them get by. As repayment for unintentionally funding his plan, he drove to the given address. Using Gapis, he found the shabby, remote neighborhood. The rickety apartment sat on the top floor, with someone peeking behind the door. He was about to knock but paused to think. To make things easier to explain, he opened his spatial ring first. A flash of light revealed stacks of supply crates filling the hallway. Footsteps echoed inside. Hearing noise, the old man hurried out, muttering, "Hold on a sec." His words froze when he saw it was Siang Xiaodong. Stunned by the mountain of goods, he stammered his name. Siang Xiaodong smiled reassuringly. He told him to move the boxes inside before neighbors noticed. They rushed to carry them, the old man sighing in awe. The elder praised his strength, while Siang used the moment to inspect the room. The front door was flimsy but serviceable. He spoke seriously. "This will last you half a year. Use it wisely. Tomorrow, the world changes." The old man blinked, thinking he was just dropping gifts before leaving. Siang said nothing, his gaze landing on a photo of the man with a young girl. His heart skipped. The name Meng Shanshan flashed in his mind. He asked to confirm, and indeed she was the granddaughter. Shocking the old man, the elder said she was about to transfer schools. Siang fell silent, recalling his past life. Back then, this very man had died saving his granddaughter from a seized zone. He clenched his fist, swearing that tragedy wouldn't repeat. Stern-faced, he said the old house couldn't be moved into again. The man panicked, thinking he'd changed his mind. Siang reassured him, patting his shoulder. "Tomorrow everything collapses. We must fetch Shanshan to safety." The man was bewildered, not understanding, while Siang held back frustration too hard to explain. He mentioned famine. The old man thought it was just history. Not believing it could return, Siang sighed and stored all the supplies back into his ring. The room turned empty again, leaving the elder gaping in disbelief. Siang stated plainly it was a special ability and that he could foresee the future, ordering absolute obedience. He asked for Meng Shanshan's school address. They left immediately, driving toward her campus. Upon arrival, they nearly collided with another car. He urgently asked for her class and dorm location. The old man pointed the way. They arrived to see Meng Shanshan being beaten by classmates. The lead bully slapped her, screaming jealousy over Zhang Xiaoshan's affection. Shanshan held her red cheek, weakly insisting she had no relation with him. The girl went crazier, kicking her stomach while cursing nonstop. She yanked Shanshan's hair, forcing her to bow and humiliating her. A thunderous voice roared from behind. "What do you think you're doing?" The group froze, then sneered upon seeing her grandpa, mocking him as a useless old man. The old man angrily pointed and shouted, "Let my granddaughter go." A male student waved a baseball bat close, warning him to back off. Fearless, the old man jumped in, cursing them as thugs. The punk swung his bat at the old man's neck, swearing, but someone grabbed his wrist mid-swing. Siang Xiaodong appeared, eyes icy, scolding them for being disgraceful students. Two others sneered, thinking he was just a poor bumpkin. One kick sent the bat-wielding punk flying. The remaining two panicked. Instantly on guard, one cursed and called his buddy to attack. Both charged, striking from two directions. Bats swung like a raging storm. Siang Xiaodong ducked smoothly, fast as lightning. After taking the physical booster, his reflexes were extraordinary. He grabbed one by the collar and lifted him off the ground, then slammed him over his shoulder like a sack. The guy hit the floor and passed out cold. The last one secretly pulled a knife, but Siang Xiaodong snatched it first. With a flick of his wrist, he countered lightning fast, disarming him. The thug flipped back and cracked his head on the concrete. In seconds, all three were down, had beaten them all barehanded. He strode toward the ringleader girl, making her tremble. Coldly, he raised the scissors near her long hair. She screamed in terror, begging through tears. He said flatly, "I won't kill you, just take what you value most." The scissors flashed a sharp snippet code. She collapsed, clutching her head and wailing, "My hair! Oh no, my hair!" She cursed furiously, swearing revenge. Siang Xiaodong tossed the hair aside, saying coldly, "Long hair just gets in the way. Short hair might save your life in a few days." He turned to San. "Let's go." San trembled, stammering, "Go where?" The three quickly got in the car and left the school. On the road, the old man repeated Siang Xiaodong's warning, which San found unbelievable. She pouted, thinking he'd been tricked, and asked how much had lost this time. The old man protested, while Siang Xiaodong just smiled through the mirror. "I'll protect you," he added. "If you listen to me, you survive the coming famine." San gasped, asking who he really was. He smiled softly, "Just call me Xiaodong. Don't worry, those punks won't live long." San got. She asked again, "Are you serious? A real famine?" He murmured, "It's just a simpler term. The apocalypse is near." San froze, eyes wide. The apocalypse. He told her to open her phone and check the news for herself. She searched, finding headlines so bizarre they gave her chills. People bitten by rabid victims. Full fog, mad patient screens full of horror. Sansan trembled, while Xiang Xiaodong muttered, "The signs have begun." He confirmed, "Yes, the real apocalypse starts tomorrow." He read a warning about toxic fog spreading across provinces. It caused living beings to mutate, turning humans into monsters. Those without antibodies would, upon death, rise again as bloodthirsty zombies. She shuddered. Zombies. Like in movies, he replied, "Give it a few days, you'll see." Suddenly, traffic jammed ahead. Xiang Xiaodong frowned and peeked outside. A black car was forcing its way onto the emergency lane. The old man panicked, calling out, "Mr. Xiang, that's dangerous." "It's fine," he replied calmly. "Even if they catch up, so what?" He reassured them. "Not chaos yet, zombies won't flood out for a few more days." Wait, a black car suddenly cut across his front. He slammed the brakes, yelling, "Idiot! Ever heard of turn signals?" Tires screeched. He cursed the reckless driver through gritted teeth. He accelerated, refusing to be bullied off the road. The two cars battled side by side in the middle lane. The black car's window rolled down. The driver glared. He hurled insults, blatantly provoking. The old man warned, "Don't fight." His rich, Xiang Xiaodong smirked. "If he gets out, I'll send him off myself." Traffic cleared. Sansan quietly warned him, "Xiao Deng, watch out. The black car's back." Sure enough, it sped up behind them. It swerved ahead, making the old man panic, shouting, "Brake." Xiang Xiaodong said coldly, "Before, I held back. Now that the world's ending, no need to spare trash." He turned the wheel and rammed straight into its side. The black car spun out and crashed off the roadside. The driver staggered out, shouting furiously. He yelled to call the police, demanding pursuit. Xiang Xiaodong only sneered, "Try me, see who dares touch me." He then brought the old man and Sansan to his newly fortified base. Both were stunned by its solid, modern structure. He advised, "Rest early. Tomorrow will be harsh." The next morning, he stood by the glass, enjoying the quiet dawn. Sansan stretched lazily. She sighed happily. "I haven't slept this well in ages. No school alarm, heavenly." He chuckled. He said, "Get up, I'll show you around the fortress." He pointed out thick concrete walls, solid steel gates, and automatic locks, absolute safety. The system only allowed the three of them entry. Sansan was amazed. She asked, "What if survivors come begging?" He gestured for her to follow. He said gravely, "In the apocalypse, people are scarier than monsters." The two listened, chills running down their spines as they gazed outside. He continued, tone firm and commanding, "If anyone comes pleading, let them stay outside the wall. Never let them in. Clear?" Sansan nodded. "Got it." Xiang Xiaodong led them to the food depot, showing shelves of stock supplies. He said it was for emergency aid if needed. Then he promised to explain the rationing plan and guided them to the main warehouse. He activated the psychic eye, blue light flashing above their heads. He thought, the faith signal appeared. They truly trust me? Relieved, he opened his space ring, taking out more weapons and survival gear. He said sternly, "In the apocalypse, power must stay in our hands, never surrender it." The old man nodded firmly. "Got it," he replied. Just then, the system panel lit up. Notification: mission meet with Meng San complete. New task: find and rescue previous life partner. Reward 20 points. A green arrow appeared. He grinned finally, a lead to his old comrade. Before leaving, he reminded them to follow safety rules, keep everything secret. "I'll be back soon." San worriedly asked where he was going, but he just smiled, jumped in the car, and sped off. His car zoomed away. Scene cutting to a flashy karaoke bar downtown. Inside, a group of men were drinking and singing loudly. One laughed. "Hey, why are you two just standing there?" Another cursed, complaining of stomach pain, wobbling to the toilet. Outside, he nearly bumped into a young woman. He quickly apologized, voice slurred with booze. "Didn't mean it, miss," he mumbled nervously, but her boyfriend snapped in rage. The girl kicked hard into his gut, sending him crashing into the wall screaming. His friends panicked and rushed to help. One asked, "Why'd you hit him so hard?" The girl's boyfriend cracked his knuckles, glaring fiercely. He growled, "First fool ever to touch me," then grabbed the fat guy by the collar. Zhang Ji quickly pleaded, "Sorry, bro, misunderstanding." But the man roared, "Misunderstanding my ass, I'll skin you." Passing staff member grumbled, rubbing his stomach. Again, another fight, and stepped in to stop it, but the thug instantly grabbed the staffer's collar. He barked, "Know who I am? Even your boss bows to me." The worker panicked, signaling Zhang Ji to run. "Go, I'll handle this," the staffer urged, but the thug shouted, "Get your boss out here." He threatened to trash the place, cursing nonstop. The staffer begged him to calm down as Zhang Ji and the fat guy escaped. Back in their room, their friends stared at them, shocked. The fat guy panted, explaining the toilet incident. "I bumped into some drunk gangster, thank God a staffer saved me." His friend slammed the table in anger. "What? Since when does our mech crew take insults? I'll call the boys." Zhang Ji stopped him. He sighed. "Forget it. I'm graduating soon, no more trouble." They resumed singing, thinking it over, but the door burst open. The thug and his goons stormed in, dragging the beaten staffer. The leader pointed at Zhang Ji and yelled, "It's them." grab him all. His men surrounded the group. Chaos erupted, music cut off, everyone raised their hands in panic. Some were shoved to the wall, trembling with hands behind heads. Zhang Ji panted while his friends screamed helplessly. One tried to call for help but got cursed. "You dare, bastard!" The thug smashed a glass bottle on his head, blood splattered. Zhang Ji screamed his friend's name. Just then, Sang Xiaodong's car pulled up at the Karak bar. He shook his head with a wry smile. Students sure know how to party. As soon as he entered, he heard screams and chaotic music. Before him lay shattered glass and blood everywhere. Zhang Ji was helping his injured friend while the thug laughed. Arm around the girl, he mocked. Still mad. "Babe, that guy touched you." "Not me," pointing at Zhang Ji. Chen Xing jumped up angrily, grabbing an ashtray to strike back. The goons held him down instantly. The thug sneered. "You dare fight back, punk!" He smashed another bottle on Chen Xiang's head. The loud crack dropped Chen Xiang. Instantly his friends lunged in fury. The gang boss roared, "Touch me and you're all dead." Everyone else shrank in fear. No one dared intervene. They huddled in the corner. Suddenly, the beaten staffer stumbled back in, body twitching oddly. He growled hoarsely, eyes cloudy like a beast's. In a flash, he lunged and bit deep into one thug's shoulder. "Rabid freak, let go!" The gang panicked, kicking him away. The bitten man screamed as blood spurted. Another shouted, "Has too strong, hold him down." The door burst open. Sang Xiaodong appeared, landing a punch that sent the crazed staffer flying. The crazed man collapsed, motionless. Everyone froze, too scared to breathe. "Stop now!" Sang Xiaodong's thunderous voice roared. The gangsters stood stunned, faces pale as chalk. The boss gaped. "That psycho went down in one hit. Who the hell are you?" Sang Xiaodong ignored him, asking Zhang Ji, "Did you get bitten?" Zhang Ji shook his head wildly. "Nope, I'm fine." "Why?" "Get your friend out, this place isn't safe," Sang Xiaodong ordered. The boss blocked them, growling, "Hold it, we're not done yet." One of his goons suddenly convulsed and collapsed. "Hey, you drunk or what?" The boss blinked. While Sang Xiaodong frowned, something was wrong. He saw a festering bite, oozing black blood. The man was turning. Sang Xiaodong dragged the wounded staffer into another room. "Lock the door. These things aren't smart enough to open it," he warned. Dusting off his hands, he turned back, eyes cold as ice. "Now tell me, Zhang Ji, who do you want me to deal with?" Zhang Ji blinked. "I know me." The thug interrupted. "Enough, brat. You want to die." Sang Xiaodong grabbed his head. He slammed him into the floor, cracking the tiles. Another rushed in to help. He yelled, swinging a punch, "You looking for death?" Sang Xiaodong countered, one strike knocking him out cold. The rest froze in terror. Someone stammered, "What the hell? One punch." Sang Xiaodong's tone turned icy. "Anyone else want to test me?" He signaled Zhang Ji to retreat. Zhang Ji got the hint and carried his injured friend out. The boss trembled, swallowing hard. "Best you leave," Sang Xiaodong said quietly, blocking the doorway. He added, "A few drinks almost killed someone, still feel proud. Get out of my way." The boss shouted. Sang Xiaodong didn't bother replying. He shoved the man back inside and slammed the door. The boss stumbled, raging and pounding it. "Open up, you bastard!" He screamed hoarsely, but a strange growl echoed behind him. The bitten thug had turned eyes glowing like embers. Humanity gone. It lunged and bit deep into the boss's neck. Blood spraying. His men shrieked amid the howls, as if humanity itself were ending. Chaos rose. The restroom door burst open. A terrified staffer running out. A calm voice commanded, "Lock the door. Call the police. Tell them someone's gone berserk." Empty line. The staffer nodded frantically and obeyed like a robot. Sang Xiaodong stood tall, exuding movie hero energy. He signaled his teammates to fall back while others gawked in confusion. One muttered, "No way, this plot's getting ridiculous." The two sprinted toward the defense zone, repeating themselves like broken programs. In the security room, cameras showed the gang subdued. The infected tore into each other, gore splattering like a movie zombie flick. Outside, Siang yelled for the police, voice urgent like a fire alarm. He said they couldn't stay. His car sped off like hell was chasing it. "We'll return only when it's safe." Someone panted. One exhaled, thanking Sang Xiaodong for saving their lives. Siang replied curtly, "I was hired to protect you." Don asked by whom. One doubted the mad flu, but Siang shot back. "Then what did you just see, a dream?" "No cure exists," he said coldly, eyes like frozen steel. "This disaster's just beginning. The world is about to fall." A scream from the street made everyone spin around. They saw a zombie mauling a passerby amid desperate cries. Siang reassured them the outbreak was small for now, but warned it'd soon engulf the city and ordered strict obedience. A holographic interface popped up before them like a survival game. Siang smiled faintly. Mission complete. He opened the exchange hub to review remaining items. He decided to trade for all the useful cheap supplies once back at base. One member muttered about the old timeline. All had died from betrayal except Zhang Ji. Who was the traitor? The question hung heavy in the air. In a city apartment, Q Jing gazed out as a black train roared past like an omen. Lai Shuoxing comforted her over the phone, promising to send something, but static cut him off. Loud knocking startled Ku Jing. She screamed, asking who it was. Lai Shuoxing's worried voice crackled, nearly crying. seen it was her friend Wen Shunya. She opened the door in relief, scolding her for knocking so hard. When Shunya hurriedly said, "Old Liu from the first floor was taken away this morning," she bowed her head, whispering as if afraid someone might hear. Sirens wailed, police and ambulances stormed in. Ku Jing frowned, realizing the chaos below. When Shunya asked about Li Shuaxia, but Kui sighed, "He hasn't sent anything." Her friend snapped, "Men are all trash. Call him sake, Xiang Xiaodong's got a vault full of treasures." When Shunya continued, "He once kicked me out, had me followed, and I found out is secretly moving goods to an abandoned factory. Maybe that guy knew about the outbreak." She added, "Lai Shuaxing to call him. We'll make money and split it." That night, Xiang Xiaodong drove Zhang Zi's group safely back to the base. They stepped out, stunned it actually existed. "It's like a survival fortress from a game." Someone gasped. Meng Sansan chuckled. "Everyone says that on their first visit." An old man greeted them warmly, asking Xiang, "You okay, kid?" Xiang gestured for Meng Sansan to approach, repeating instructions like commanding an epis. "This is Zhang Ji and his friend, their teammates now. This is Uncle Sheng and Sansan." Xiang introduced. Sansan smiled kindly. "If Brother Deng picked them, they must be trustworthy." Xiang asked old Sheng to brief the newcomers on the rules. Someone joked, "Feels like a villain's lair." Zhang Ji awkwardly stepped up to ask something. "Could we borrow some weapons for guard duty?" he asked cautiously. Xiang raised an eyebrow, glanced at the chubby guy, but stayed silent. The tension was thick. Everyone knew to act obedient to win favor. Finally, Xiang reassured, "Relax, you'll get your gear tomorrow morning." He headed to the infirmary, checking his still-draining wound. Zhang Zi's group got their rooms. The fat guy toweled his hair. Grinning, "Nice our own beds," he grumbled. "If you hadn't stopped me, it'd have a gun by now." Another replied, "We're being protected, not imprisoned." Chill. Laosi countered, "At least he saved to show some respect." Someone doubted. "He said he was hired, but by who? Or is he hiding something?" Creep joked, "That sealed infirmary, maybe has harvesting organs." Laosi warned softly, "If you're wrong about him, that's a big mistake." Another whispered, "If he's lying, we seize the base and take control." The schemer secretly plotted to strike while Xiang was away and take advantage of the girl. Another man laughed awkwardly, "Just kidding," making Lao Sai sigh in relief. "Don't scare me." Zhang Ji said, "He's got guns. If he meant harm, we'd be dead already." Yiming squinted slyly. "Those who don't share goals get eliminated. Chaos demands cruelty." Meng Sansan and Lao Sheng returned, reporting they'd settled Chen Rong in the infirmary. Lao Sheng said, "All as instructed, windows locked tight." Xiang Xiaodong nodded in approval. He told Sheng and Sansan to rest, warning tomorrow could bring trouble. Sternly, he added, "Besides Chen Rong and Zhang Ji, keep an eye on the others." He stated firmly, "There's a traitor among them," then left with his two companions. Alone, he opened the system panel. His gaze swept across the item exchange section. System chime trade successful, farmer supply of 1 obtained. 2 points. He redeemed more packs, points dropped while his inventory filled. He gained seeds, food, and ammo, the survival essentials. Satisfied, Xiang Xiaodong thought not as rich as before, but enough to live. Next morning, a convoy of rough vehicles approached the base, led by Hainanzi. He pointed, sneering, "Right on target. Finish this, then we feast." He ordered the attack. His goons pounded the gate, panning when it wouldn't budge. One cursed, yanking a rope to no effect. Hai snarled, "What kind of demon door is this? Bring the hot stuff." He hissed. The goons opened crates, pulling out glass gasoline bottles. They lit them and hurled Molotovs at the gate in waves. Flames roared high. Black smoke curling, panic spread inside. Everyone rushed out to fight the fire. San among them. "Hurry! Don't let it spread," she yelled, recalling Xiao Deng's warning. The air crackled with battlefield tension. Xiang Xiaodong frowned, staring outside. "Let's see who's tired of living," he muttered. Eyes icy. Lao Xing stiffened, recognizing familiar faces among the attackers. A thug shouted, "Boss, they've been spotted. Drag them out here." The leader barked. Hai roared, "Xiang Xiaodong, try hiding again. Come out or it'll burn your nest," he threatened. Xiang replied coldly, "You've got 5 minutes to live." The gang erupted in fury. "You brat, know who I am?" they yelled, hauling out more Molotovs. System alert, intermediate threat, mission neutralize hostiles. Lao Xing asked nervously, "Shoot a warning?" Xiang only shook his head. "Their killers already, spare them now. They'll kill civilians later," he said, then pulled the trigger. The bullet ripped through the air. Leader screamed as his arm exploded. "Why?" he roared in agony. Xiang replied coldly, "Because you chose to live like a monster." His aim was perfect, terrifying the attackers. "They've got guns." The thugs panicked, scattering in chaos. "I hate waiting," Xiang muttered, opening fire again. Bullets poured like rain. Half the gang dropped. Vehicles erupted in flames. Lao Xing gasped, "They're fleeing." Xiang smirked. "No one escapes." He shot, blowing up a moving car, reloading smoothly. His motions were machine-like. Onlookers could only gape, awed by his deadly precision. His flawless handling made them think he was a special ops soldier. When the gunfire ceased, Xiang ordered, "Xing, bring Zhang Zi's group to clean up." He paused, eyes flashing. He thought, if I let them turn into zombies, San and Zhang Ji could train. No, not yet. Muttering, "Yeah, there's something else to handle. He noticed two black cars silently approaching down the road. In the car, Shuoxing fidgeted anxiously, his foot tapping nonstop. When Shunya scratched her head, pretending to be carefree, she forced a smile. Maybe we took a wrong turn? While Kujing shot her a wary glare. Kujing hissed, drop the act, I know your tricks. Near the base gate, the car slowed. Shuoxing stopped, gently saying, sweetheart, you go first, call me after. Kujing stepped out. She turned back, calling, come on, Xiao Naya. The other woman hesitated. I'll stay, I know the way, she claimed weakly, but Kujing grabbed her hand. No dawdling. Move, wait, my phone's in the car. You'll hold it, just go. In the car, Shuoxing's face hardened as he spoke into the radio. When I start the engine, follow me. His crew replied in unison. Roger, while the lead man gripped his gun. When Shunya feigned calm, the two women walked. Arguing as they went, Kujing snapped. Why drag me here? She sneered. Don't play innocent, you dressed up to seduce him, didn't you? When Shunya smiled weakly, just trying to help, both froze at the sight of corpses littering the ground. When Shunya gasped, what the hell happened? A shootout. Kujing guessed two raider gangs had clashed. When Shunya trembled, they're all dead. Let's go back. But Kujing thought Xiang Xiaodong might be involved and his jeer still around. She whispered, check if the factory's locked, and pulled her friend closer. The gate was sealed tight. The inside eerily silent Kujing frowned in suspicion. If it's locked this well, it's probably fine, she said just as Meng San dropped down from a tree. Bow drawn, she shouted, stop. Who are you? How'd you find this place? Kujing quickly answered, we're friends of Brother Dung and his girlfriend too. San instantly called inside. Brother Dung, two girls outside, one claims to be your girlfriend. Kujing ground her teeth furiously. So, has got a new lover already? She spat. When Shunya soothed her, focus, deal with that girl first. Can Shuoxing handle her? Once we catch Xiang Xiaodong, the rest are nothing, she said just as mist rolled in. Xiang Xiaodong appeared through the haze. Voice icy Kuja. When Shunya, why are you here? Activating his sensing ability, he saw malice pulsing in both hearts. When Shunya looked down nervously, she cooed. We were worried about you, the city's kiosks. He sneered. Worried? How? Shuoxing must be nearby. How many men? What weapons? Their faces drained pale had nailed the truth. Before they could react, gunfire erupted. Kujing screamed. You maniac, you're shooting for real. When Shunya grabbed her, don't provoke him, is armed. So what? Let him try. Kujing snarled. She smirked. If I die, at least he'll remember me forever. Strange wail echoed through the air, raising everyone's hackles. The corpses twitched, turning into bloodthirsty undead. Hearing noise, they staggered forward with jerky steps. The two women shrieked, horrified at the rising dead. Xiang Xiaodong said coldly, die under their fangs. The zombies lunged, slow enough for the women to flee toward Shuoxing. Kujing screamed, help me, her voice breaking with terror. Shuoxing saw them crying, hair wild and faces pale. He froze in shock. What the hell, mad flu patients here? Hands trembling. He grabbed the radio and yelled, turn back. It's infected. Retreat now. The two cars roared off, leaving the two women behind him on the dead, abandoned. Kujing screamed, bastard, Shuoxing, you'll die horribly. Desperate, she hurled her bag at Wen Shuya, ready to ditch her ally to survive. Wen Shuya tripped on the bag strap and face planted in the dust. The zombies instantly lunged, howling like demons. As Wen Shuya was torn apart, she glared at Tujing and cursed, you'll never die in peace. Tujing fled madly, muttering like a lunatic, serves you right. Two figures silently watched from the watchtower. Xiang Xiaoyong stayed icy calm while Meng Shanshan trembled, covering her mouth. The system chimed emergency mission complete. Total 18 points. New task: road cleaning, eliminate infected and beast outside. Reward 10 points. Shanshan stammered, did they really turn into zombies? Sighing explained, the apocalypse just began. The airborne virus revives the dead, the weak or wounded may mutate. She nodded in fear, saying, we must warn everyone. Soon, everyone gathered in the base yard. Xiang Xiaoyong ordered, stay inside for 2 days, seal doors tight to adapt to the toxic air and avoid mutation. Zhang Ji worried, what about Chen Zhong? He's still in the infirmary. There, Chen Zhong lay unconscious on the bed. His body started moving unnaturally. Veins bulged green as spasms rippled under his skin. Chaos swept the city. Survivors looted and fled in terror. Zhang Xing stood frozen by the window, staring at the panicked crowds below. He whispered, tonight I'll fetch the last supplies. You and the kids stay put, ignore any knocks. No sooner had he spoken than pounding erupted at the door. Zhang Xing motioned for silence, gripping a golf club as he crept closer. A hoarse voice called, Brother Sheng, you home? Recognizing the voice, Zhang Xing relaxed and opened the door, but before it was fully open, Yang Tao kicked it wide and burst in. Zhang Xing was pinned down as several men held him like a criminal. He shouted, let go, Yang Tao, you betraying me. Betray, Yang Tao sneered. To you, I was just a servant, right? Zhang Xing growled, without me, you'd be nothing. Maybe, but at least I'm not a greedy pig like you. Yang Tao mocked. He yanked Zhang Sheng's wife by the hair and hissed, where's the warehouse key? Terrified, She handed it over. Their child, seeing his mother attacked, rushed to help. The boy bit Yang Tao's hand hard, making him curse. What's wrong with this brat? He shoved the kid, who fell hard onto the floor. Zhang Xing roared, leave my family alone, take me instead. Yang Tao sneered, behave, and your family stays in one piece. Now take me to the goods. They forced him to the warehouse in the night. The place was nearly empty. Yang Tao scowled. That's it. Out of stock. I'm not a magician. Zhang Xing stalled. Yang Tao suddenly grinned. If we seize Sang Xiaoyong's warehouse, we're set for life. Zhang Xing panicked. Don't be stupid. Has armed and knew the disaster beforehand. All the more reason to risk it. Yang Tao replied, call it trading goods for lives. Zhang Xing stood speechless, utterly numb. Scene cut to Sang Xiaoyong's base, where mad screams echoed from the infirmary. Everyone gathered around Chen Zhong, bound to the bed, eyes glowing red. Lao Si wiped his tears while Yiming suddenly shouted, kill him. The words shattered the tense silence. Sang Xiaoyong's cold, steel-like eyes flicked toward him. Zhang Ji gasped. What did you just say? Yiming insisted. He's gone. If we don't act, he'll doom us all. Lao Si protested. Not saving him is murder. Sang cut in. True, but his beyond saving. Lao Si fell silent. Sang Xiaoyong drew a dagger from his belt. He handed it to Yiming. Didn't you want a weapon? Then use it, end his suffering. Zhang Ji suddenly snatched the knife. Head lowered. Let me do it. Sang stopped him, ready to bear the guilt of killing. Zhang Ji nodded hard. I trust you, Xiaoyong. Let me. He gripped the blade and approached the screaming Chen Zhong. Trembling, Zhang Ji raised the knife high. Just as the blade neared Chen Zhong's throat, Siang abruptly blocked it. Zhang Ji froze. Brother Yong, Siang signaled. Everyone out. Has still useful. Suddenly, the system blared rare individual detected valuable trait identified. After they left, Siang Xiaoyong locked the door and opened his system panel. Staring at the bound Chen Zhong, he murmured, you still have work to do for me. Meanwhile, outside the city, a car sped down the desolate road. It skidded, spun, and slammed into a lamppost. Zhang Xing staggered out, cursing, luck's worse than a chewed shoe. He muttered, almost there, unaware of the danger around. A zombie lunged and sank its teeth into his arm. Zhang Xing screamed, thrashing wildly to fling it off. Blood gushed, his breath came in ragged gas. He stumbled back toward the car. He rummaged around and grabbed a crowbar. Furious, he bashed the monster's head, shouting, die, you beast. When it finally stopped moving, Zhang Xing collapsed, exhausted. He panted, can't stay here another second. He started the car and drove straight towards Siang Xiaoyong's base. A few zombies wandered near the fence. Siang Xiaoyong opened the side gate, scanning the area. The group followed. Meng Shanshan grumbled. These loads are breaking my back. Siang patiently said, they're stronger than us without armor. It's suicide. Drop it only when you're skilled. The team advanced toward the main exit of the base. Siang halted them, eyes sharp. It's starting. Stay alert. A zombie spotted them and growled. We're seen. Hold formation, attack on my mark. He shouted. The creature lunged. Siang sidestepped calmly. As if in training, he called out, when it misses, that's your chance, aim for the temple or nape. Lao Si roared and swung his blade. The blade bounced off with a useless clang. Clutching his hand, he groaned. Sang smirked. Classic rookie mistake, never strike the skull. The zombie lunged at Lao Si. He panicked, raising his shield. Help, it's biting me. Siang simply smiled. Good block. Zhang Ji. Assist now. Zhang Ji swung his staff, smashing the monster's neck. Good, but not done yet, Siang commanded. The team charged together, finishing the zombie in seconds. They cheered in relief. Zhang Ji turned and asked, you good, bro? Before Xiang could reply, another zombie lunged from behind. Meng Shanshan screamed, watch out. Siang spun lightning fast. Grabbing the creature's head, he lifted it up and barked. How many times have I said it? Never drop your guard. The team went silent. Not far away, Zhang Xing hid in the shadows, spying on the base. He muttered, damn, this place is full of crazies too. Guess that Sang guy's toast? Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed, behind you, your comrade needs help. Zhang Xing shuddered. It was Shang Xiaoyong's voice. He looked up to see Xiang's group slaying zombies one by one. Beneath the car he hid under, red eyes gleamed when Shu Ya, now undead, snarled and crawled out, straightening his pants. Zhang Xing stiffened like a startled soldier. The sudden move made them tumble over each other. The zombie lunged. He yelled in panic. I'm done for. A thunderous gunshot erupted, blood splattering as Zhang Xing collapsed. Siang Xiaoyong appeared just in time, blowing the zombie's head apart. Zhang Xing exhaled shakily, shoving the corpse off. Still conscious, Siang squinted suspiciously. Zhang Xing brightened, rushing forward. Brother Yong, I'm alive. As he neared, the dark bite mark on his arm made Yong wary. He aimed his gun at Zhang's forehead. Voice icy. You're infected. Zhang trembled and begged. Yong kept distance, ordering, speak, don't come closer. He choked out, I'm turning soon, not much time left. Zhang shouted, Yang Tao took my wife and kid, forced me to betray you. He pleaded, please save them. I was wrong, but they're innocent. Yang paused, remembering the man's past loyalty. He lowered his gun, glancing toward the base. The shelter lacked people, especially women. The system flashed a prompt. Notification: mission rescue Zhang Sheng's family. Reward 25 points. Yang nodded. Don't worry, he'll handle it. Zhang burst into tears, collapsing to his knees in gratitude. If not this life, it'll repay you in the next, even as your beast of burden. He looked up, eyes red. Kill me. Yang frowned, eager to die before you hurt anyone. Huh, he ordered. Shan, give him a bike, Yang warned. Go far, stay away from people. Zhang stammered. Why? Doesn't matter, just go. He took the bike and pedaled off without looking back. Wife, son, wait for me. His breath mixed with tears, his body twisted, veins bulging grotesquely. At the base, the team finished off the last zombies. Yang doused the corpses in oil and burned them as everyone slumped. Exhausted, the system displayed rewards. Yang only glanced, assessing quietly. No matter how strong, against a horde they'd still die. And GXiao led a squad toward the base's warehouse. Uncle Sheng, over here. Xiao Yang called. Old Sheng blinked. What's up, kid? Yang handed him a key. Weapons are in the warehouse. I'm heading into the city tonight. You guard the base. Xing worried. The city's Kiao's. You're going alone. Zhang Ji and Lao Si chimed in. Brother Yang, we'll go too. Yang waved them off. No need, yo, just slow me down. Hold the fort, I'll manage. After briefing them, he climbed into the vehicle and started it, opening the system interface. He sighed at the empty store. Refreshing cost 2 points, leaving him with 26. 3 supply crates appeared, plus a 4-point refresh option. The prices soared. Yang chose the black tech crate, trading 20 points, leaving 6. A blinding white light flashed inside the car. The crate opened. Reward physical enhancement Ceramol V5. Yang nearly swore. Damn, that's strong. Let's use it now. He injected the serum. The liquid spread rapidly through his body. His muscles convulsed, eyes bulging, veins throbbing like cables. Status updated: strength 13 over twice normal. Plus spatial ring and enhanced vision. Scene cut to Zhang Sheng's house. His wife soothed their child, trembling. Be good, Daddy will come save us. The door burst open. Yang Tao's gang stormed in. The wife screamed, what do you want? Yang Tao sneered, just some fun. 2 men grabbed and threw her down. She struggled, crying in despair. Let me go. She fought, but they were like rabid beasts. Suddenly, another man entered the room. He barked. What's all this noise? Voice full of anger. One thug smirked. Join in. Brother Lai. Silence. Not the time, release her. The thug grumbled. Why so serious? This stuff's normal. Brotherly snapped. Touch his wife or kid, and when he snaps, we all die. The men cursed but let her go. Fine. Whatever. Yang Tao turned back, grinning. Wait for me, sweetheart. The door slammed, leaving mother and child trembling together. That night, Yang drove alone onto the highway toward the city. Wrecked cars lined the road, a few zombies staggering nearby. He maneuvered smoothly, feeling his enhanced body's power. Nearing downtown, debris blocked the path. Forget the car, walking's safer, he muttered. Behind him came a chilling, guttural growl. 2 zombies lunged from the shadows, eyes glowing red. Yang sidestepped, seizing one instantly. With a swing, he hurled the other away. Drawing a dagger from his storage ring, he prepared to strike. The blade flashed like lightning. 2 zombie heads rolled across the ground. With his new strength, Yang moved like the wind. The undead were just insects waiting to be crushed. A distant voice shouted, damn it, we're surrounded. Yang pinpointed the source about 800 meters away. System alert: side mission, rescue trap group in store. Screams echoed. We're surrounded. We're doomed. Block the door. Dad, are we gonna die? Nope. Hold on, son. A teen sobbed while another prayed under his breath. Old Tong, stop whining. Say something useful. Someone sighed. So this is the end. Suddenly, a heavy crash hit the glass door. Blood smeared across it, freezing everyone in place. A dark shape pressed against the window, terrifyingly close. The group stumbled back in panic. The shadow slid down and vanished. Outside fell silent. Only the stench of blood remained. Old Tong panted. Whew. Xiaxian pack, take the elevator. Quietly, the group crept out, hearts pounding. The sight before them left them stunned. Corpses lay everywhere. Death stench thick in the air. Xiaxian stammered. Impossible, a mutant type. Old Tong frowned. Mutant? What's that? Xiaxian replied. Stronger. Fast like in games or comics. The old man snapped. Comics and games all day, no wonder you're dumb. The guard cut in. Now's not the time. Stay sharp. They advanced toward the crossroads. Nerves taut as strings. The guard raised a hand, whispering, stop. Across the street, Sang Xiaoyong checked the mission log. Completed. 5 points. Total 11. Xian gasped. Definitely a mutant. The guard shook his head. No, looks human. Yang grinned. Mutant? Huh, you've got vivid imaginations. The guard exhaled. Thank God. A survivor. It's dangerous out here alone. Now they had to stick together if they wanted to survive. Dung asked. Only a few of you guys. The guard replied. They were scavenging civilians stayed in Dongsang Yuan. Dung nodded. Near Jinyu Mansion. Right? Lao Song cut him. Yeah, just 1 block away. Come with us. It's safer. Dung smirked. All right, thanks. The group merged and headed toward the shelter. Lao Song asked curiously, kid, who you looking for at Jinyu Mansion? Dung replied flatly, an acquaintance. Family or lover? The old man squinted. Before Dung could answer, he added, end of the world now. Odds they survived are slim. The guard chimed in. Yeah, if not eaten by zombies, then by those bastards. Dung frowned. Bastards? A gang took over Bequi Villa killers and looters. Best avoid them. While chatting, the guard failed to notice a zombie crawling closer. Ziak shouted, Uncle Lee, behind you. Lie. The guard spun around, pale as he saw the corpse inches away. 2 gunshots blasted, zombie head exploded, blood splattering the glass. Lee gasped, damn, that was close. The shots made him nervous. Crap, the raiders probably heard that. Everyone scanned around, tension thick as smoke. Someone shouted, a bus, right over there. Run, get in. They all sprinted, hearts pounding. Dung ran last, muttering, bus good defense, bad escape. It'd rate this 70 points. Lo waved from the door. Hurry, kid, get in. Dung leapt aboard as the door slammed shut behind him. Check every seat, make sure no zombies hiding. Xiaxian peered out. They're still coming. One stop. Le gritted his teeth. Damn it. Too slow. A swarm of zombies surged like a tidal wave. Thuds pounded all around the bus. Lai braced against the door, shouting, I can't hold it much longer. In the chaos, Dung stepped forward and gripped the door latch. Click. The lock tightened. Stunning Lai. What kind of monster strength is that? Dung calmly said, doors secured. Smash the windows, fight back. Lai obeyed. The group shattered glass and ready for battle. Zombies lunged, shrieking like beasts. One took a bullet to the head and dropped. Lao Song, helped by his son and a woman, still fought fiercely. Le checked his mag, tense as a bowstring. Too few rounds won't last. Dung tossed him a crossbow. Use this. Lai blinked. Where'd you get that? Picked it up earlier. Le grinned wide, firing bolts through skulls. Eat that, you freaks. After a brutal fight, silence fell. Relief swept over them. Twice cheated death. Guess heaven still likes us. Someone laughed. Dung folded his arms coldly. Don't relax. Next mistake kills us. Back at the base, people waited anxiously for Dung's return. Lo Sheng sighed. Hope is safe. Yiming said, you'll take night watch. Lao Si raised a brow. Well, that's new. Yiming snapped. I'm always serious. Mind your own business. Lo Sai blinked. Whoa, what's with the attitude? Lao Sheng chuckled. Let him watch then. Report if anything happens. Got it. The others dispersed to rest. As night fell, Yiming muttered. Gotta finish before Dung gets back. Inside, Lao Sheng slept soundly, breathing steady. Dung's warehouse key lay right beside the bed. The door creaked open, moonlight slicing in cold and pale. Yiming held his breath, confirming the old man was out cold. He crept forward, reaching for the key. Click. A faint sound broke the silence. Lao Sheng suddenly woke, eyes snapping open. Seeing Yiming there, he leapt up shouting, what are you doing? Yiming froze, heart pounding. Without hesitation, Yiming smashed a punch straight into his face, grabbing the chance. Yiming snatched the key and bolted, while Lo Sheng clutched his face, roaring, you bastard, give that key back. The shout woke everyone. They poured into the hallway. Lao Sheng, red-faced, yelled, he stole the armory key. Catch him. 3 men gave chase as Yiming knocked over chairs and trash cans to block them. The group cursed, slowed down, damn traitor. Passing the infirmary, Yiming suddenly stopped. A sly glint flashed in his eyes. In for a penny. In for a pound. He entered, spotting Chen Song tied to the bed. Yiming reached out to untee him, but Chen Song jerked hard, freeing one arm. He lunged, almost grabbing Yiming, who stumbled back muttering, what the hell? That's loose. He glanced at the door, grinning wickedly. Good, saves me the effort. Footsteps thundered closer. Just then, Chen Song fully broke free, blocking the doorway like a beast. The group froze in horror. That traitor freed Chen Song. You trying to kill us all? Lao Sheng growled. Weapons in the armory. We need him alive. He split the team per Xiao Dung's tactics. Don't get bitten. They crept forward cautiously. When only meters away, Zhang Ji yelled, now! He lunged, locking Chen Song's neck in a chokehold. Lao Sai and Meng Shinshan grabbed his arms, pinning him down. Lao Sheng opened the infirmary door, signaling, quick, lock him in. 3, 2, 1 move. Bang! The infirmary door slammed shut, bolted tight. Lao Sheng peered through the window, murmuring, that was too easy. The man beside him nodded. Yeah, like he got weaker. After cleanup, Lao Sheng frowned. That traitor's probably at the armory by now. From the corner, Yiming stepped out, grinning triumphantly. Who's the beast now? Huh! Xiao Dong hid the guns well, but one's enough to deal with you all. He raised his gun, barking, everyone, inside! Zhang Zi shouted angrily. Yiming, you betray the man who saved your life. He sneered, saved once. So I should bow forever, Lo Sheng said coldly. You're a snake in human skin. Lao Sai still pleaded. Stop now, before it's too late. Yiming snapped. Shut up. Do as I say. Inside the infirmary, Chen Song's eyes flared crimson, killing intent flooding out. A key appeared in his hand, while Yiming, unaware, kept barking orders. Meanwhile, Xiao Dung's team reached Dung Sangyuan. While the guard pointed, one more block to Jinyu Mansion, he warned. Area's tricky, might be madmen hiding. If you find your person, Return via the side path to floor 8. Never use the main gate. Dong nodded curtly. Got it, thanks. Watching him go, La Song hesitated. Shouldn't we help him? He saved us after all. Lai shook his head. We don't know what's inside that mansion. Could be crawling with zombies. Shame has got real talent. In Jiang Sheng's complex, the power suddenly cut out. Someone groaned. Great! Blackout and signal's dead too. Yang Tao grumbled. Who knows what that damn Jiang Sheng's doing? Irritating his comrades, one man stood abruptly. Screw this. I've had enough. Tonight, I'm letting loose. The gang jeered. Yeah, he's dead now, it's his wife's turn. Tie her tight. Don't let her off herself. Let's enjoy first, she'll be dead soon anyway. They rushed eagerly to the cell. Liji sighed, warning, careful, don't kill them. Not joining. Then you're last in line. Liji stayed silent, staring out the window. Wait, why are all those zombies collapsing? He frowned and strode into the hallway. Someone coming to save them? He muttered, half doubting. Before he realized, steel flashed through the air. A slash of blood streaked across Liji's neck. His head rolled off, eyes still wide open. Inside, the scum burst into the room. The wife clutched her child, trembling, shouting, get out. The men grinned lewdly. Their leader unbuckled his belt, sneering, quit pretending. He grabbed her throat, flinging the boy aside. Move, brat. The kid yelled, let my mom go. The thug slapped her hard, snarling, you're the target. Woman, she glared, eyes blazing. I'll fight you all. But her resistance failed, and her son was tossed aside. The boy fell, thrown into the hallway. He screamed, my dad won't spare you. Thud! Liji's headless corpse dropped from the emergency exit. The room froze. The woman stared in horror. A dark figure stepped from the bloodied hall. Who's there? The boy quivered. Me. The cold, deep voice belongs to Sang Xiaodong. Your father's Jiang Sheng, right? The boy nodded weakly, stammering, eyes. Inside. The mother shut her eyes, too hopeless to resist. Yang Tao snarled, slapping her again. Scream. Scared your kid might hear. A man in white sneered, grabbing her hair. Don't want to scream. You make you. Suddenly, the door exploded open with a thunderous bang. The thug near it froze. What kid strong enough to kick that down? Before he finished, a blade flashed, slicing his throat. He toppled, head rolling free, blood pooling fast. Yang Tao stood paralyzed, stammering, what the hell? Before he could react, Sang Xiaodong grabbed his collar with thunderous force. He hurled him into the wall. Yang Tao's eyes rolled wide as he spewed blood and fell limp. The man in white turned pale, pulling up his pants. Who are you? Before he finished, a kick shattered his teeth. At the base, Yiming kept control, barking, move now or I shoot. Everyone obeyed in fear. Ming whispered, just play along, he'll find a way. Yiming laughed manically. Away? And the boss now. He pointed his gun. Old Li, you first. Move. Wait. Dunt. The hidden button. Ming shouted. Click. A sound came from the infirmary, shaking the corridor. What was that? Who opened that door? Someone gasped. The door swung wide. Chen Song stood there, keys dangling. No way he can unlock doors. Chen Song turned, eyes locked menacingly on Yiming. His pupils glowed red, his breath beast-like. Damn, a zombie that opens doors. Yiming shrieked, firing, but only a click. No bullet came out. What? Impossible. He panicked. Chen Song lunged, slamming him to the ground. Screams echoed through the hall, mixed with the sound of tearing flesh. When silence fell, Chen Song rose drenched in blood. He dragged Yiming's corpse back into the infirmary. Everyone froze, unable to grasp what just happened. Chen Song let out a heavy sigh. Tossing the keys to them, he simply said, keep them. Then he stepped inside, shut the door, and locked it tight. Silence fell over the base. No one dared to speak. At the apartment, Yang Tao and the man in white were tied up by Sang Xiaodong. He crouched to the boy's level. Hey, kid, come here. The mother clutched her son in fear. What are you going to do to him? Dong repeated in a low tone. Come here. The boy brushed her hand aside. It's okay, Mom. I'm fine. Dong handed him a small knife, saying slowly, take it. With trembling hands, Zhu Shuai gripped the hilt. Eyes wet, the two tied men begged frantically, please, let us go. The mother pleaded. He's just a child, don't make him do this. Dong replied coldly. From today, he's no longer a child. Kid, learn to protect your mother. Now kill the ones who shamed her. Remembering the horror, Zhu Shuai gritted his teeth, eyes blazing. He screamed and charged, stabbing wildly at the two scum. Moments later, both lay dead in pools of blood. The boy gasped, shaking. His mother cried out, little Shuai. He turned to Sang Xiaodong, choking, Uncle, my dad's gone, right? Dong nodded. Yeah, your father's gone. Hearing that, Zhou Shuai dropped the knife and burst into tears, hugging his mom. The mother knelt, begging, please take my son, he'll trade anything. Nope, Mom, he'll stay and protect you, he yelled. Dong's gaze softened. Both of you come. I promised Jiang Sheng would protect you. After changing clothes, they followed Xiaodong out. Zhu Shuai gawked at the battlefield of fallen zombies. Amazed by such power, he looked at Xiaodong with eyes shining like stars. After a while, Dong signaled them to stop immediately. The boy obeyed, ears perked for orders. Dong asked the mother where Xanjuan's shelter was. She pointed. Puzzled by the question, "Below!" thugs shouted, fighting over supplies and forcing women under 40 to join them. Above, frightened defenders trembled. Someone suggested surrendering. Gardlai roared back, saying surrender meant death. The gang below threatened, giving 10 minutes before killing everyone. Some wanted to beg, but the group refused. No one would accept humiliation. Gardlai calmed them, declaring they must never yield. He ordered everyone to hold the hallway. Enemies couldn't breach it easily. Below! One thug worried their guns were outmatched, but the leader coldly ordered, cut the water, starve them out. Sidong watched from cover. Zuo Shuai whispered, "They're bad guys too." He nodded slightly, no different from the bullies before. The boy's blood bold. Dong raised his gun, aiming at the gang. Gardlai instructed the stair sentries to stay hidden. He crept along the corridor to observe below. There were 7 enemies, 3 with real guns. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the air. Gardlai flinched back in shock. He blinked, baffled by what just happened. One thug's head exploded, and chaos erupted. Gardlai peeked and realized it was the boy who fired. Sidong advanced, gun blazing nonstop. Each bullet dropped another enemy in seconds. The rest panicked, firing back wildly but missing every shot. He smirked, utterly unimpressed by their aim. The gang leader trembled behind a wall, cursing in fear. Moments later, Sidong emptied his mag and sent him to the grave. The rest panicked, fumbling to fight back. Before they could shoot, bullets dropped them one by one. One headshot, one chest burst dead before a scream, thinking the enemy out of ammo. The leader grinned smugly. He shouted, ready to strike back. He lunged forward, aiming to finish the fight. But Xiaodong was already there, dodging bullets like wind. He snatched the gun in a blink, then flipped it and aimed back at him. One crisp shot ended it all. The leader fell, head bursting like a ripe melon. Battle done. Xiaodong searched for survivors. After checking bodies, he entered the smoke-filled building. His icy stare made everyone inside shiver. 3 attackers charged and were wiped out in seconds. He shouted for the residents to come out. Zhu Shuai and his mother followed the boy, gasp, calling him awesome. Suddenly, the system chime mission conquer Xianjuan zone. 25 points. Xiaodong closed it and went downstairs. Gardlai asked curiously who the dead men were. He replied they were scum from Bishui Mountain Villa south of the city. Lu Qiao and Chen Ji hurried over at the call. Sidong signaled them to report. They said it was an armed gang base capturing survivors. He frowned, recalling that Li Shong and Ku Jing had appeared there too. He asked if Bishui Mountain was the biggest southern base. Chen Ji said yes, it had heavy weapons. No one dared oppose them. Every raid they made killed half the people. The rest of the women enslaved. Sidong confirmed his suspicion was right. He turned to Gardlai, told him to take the fallen men's weapons, share them, and check for spare mags. He handed over a new rifle, told him to keep 5 mags. Li was thrilled and terrified. Sidong warned Bishua's gang would retaliate, hold out 2 days, had returned to wipe them out. Lu Qiao panicked, saying going alone was suicide against dozens. Gardlai advised retreat. Those thugs couldn't search the whole city. Sidong stayed silent, eyes cold as steel. This debt's mine to settle. He promised to return soon and escort them to East City, where Lo Che's base was forming. Everyone wished him luck. He called Zuo Shuai and his mother to follow, and Gardlai warned them to stay alert. Scene shifted to Bishui Mountain. Piles of corpses, dried blood coating the ground. Outside, armed sentries patrolled tightly. On the walls, zombie bodies hung as warnings. Inside the meeting room, the bosses gathered to discuss. One asked why they hadn't looted the Jinyu entertainment zone yet. Lai Shuang chuckled, saying Brother Wen had sent men they'd return soon. Another smirked, hinting that Jinyu was full of beauties not to miss. Lai Shuhong burst out laughing, saying he'd told his men to capture every living woman. Wen glared coldly, scolding Lai Shuang for always botching jobs. Lai Shuang stammered, promising not to mess up this time. Outside the room, he sighed in relief but snapped when a goon questioned him. The trembling goon reported bad news: the scout team was slaughtered. Lai Shuang went berserk, roaring orders to call Dao Zi and muster every gunman for revenge. At the base, engine roars signaled vehicles approaching. Meng Shanshan cheered, recognizing Xiaodong's car at once. The system chime mission completed. 25 points, total 36. Seeing fewer people, Xiaodong chuckled, instantly guessing the traitor was Lu Yumin. Shanshan gaped, asking if he'd known all along. He didn't answer, just told Zhang Ji to let Zuo Shui's mother and son rest, then meet him at the infirmary. At the door, he explained everything, leaving Lao Tang stunned that had suspected Lu Yimin early. Xiaodong picked up a gun, saying he only knew one dirty rat hid among Zhang Zi's group. He handed the weapon back to Zhang Zi. The man checked the mag, surprised it held premium rounds. Lao Tang glanced toward the infirmary, asking, "And the one inside?" Xiaodong replied, "Chen Rong isn't a normal zombie, has a special mutant type." Recalling their private talk, Xiaodong had told Chen Rong to blink 3 times if he understood, and he did. He tested again with a math question. Chen Rong blinked 6 times, proving awareness. Xiaodong explained that some infected from other realms retain memory. becoming high-grade zombies like Chen Rong. He opened the infirmary door. Chen Rong was stomping on Liu Yimin's head like pounding rice. Hearing noise, he turned to look at them. He waved casually like greeting old comrades. Stunning everyone, Sidong ordered shortly. All right, finish it. Chen Rong dragged Liu Yimin's body outside. Zhang Ji asked emotionally, "You really remember me?" Chen Rong froze, eyes flaring fiercely. Before anyone could react, he lunged for Zhang Zi's old tea set, making the man yelp and jump aside. Everyone sighed in relief. He just remembered his old habit of playing with antiques. Sayadong returned to his room. Opening the system panel, achievement unlocked, mutant ally. 10 points. Total 46 supply crates looked pricey. He gawked. Level 2 crate cost a whopping 50 points. He chose to open 2 level 1 crates first to save points. The system granted an anti-infection vial and a Barrett M82 with 50 Bing rounds, 36 points left. Sidong laughed with joy, such firepower and a cure for bites. A new quest popped up, recruit 5 at Xianjuan Court. 25 points reward. He closed the panel, eyes gleaming with resolve to finish and unlock that legendary level 2 crate soon. Chen Rong coldly tossed Liu Yimin's corpse outside. The night passed eerily calm. Next morning, everyone regrouped. Sidong ordered daily shooting practice, 1 hour minimum. Gunfire thundered, distant targets were shredded. He pulled Lao Tang aside, asking him to ready rooms at Xianjuan for newcomers. Lao Tang nodded. Chen Rong roared, raising a hand, insisting to come along. The two sped off, mowing down zombies and finding an abandoned bus. Inside, one zombie still writhed. Chen Rong stomped its head flat and tossed the body out like trash. Sidong handed him the keys, telling him to open the door. He added, "When it's just us, no mass, you'll scare people at the destination." Chen Rong howled once, seeming to understand. At Bishui Mountain, Lai Shuang rallied his troops. Roaring for departure, he gritted his teeth, vowing to seize Xianjuan Court no matter the cost. On the dark road, a few zombies tore apart their own. Bus headlights slashed through the night, lighting the bloodied face of a turning monster. It was Kaidong and Chen Rong's bus, charging like a storm, grinding the undead beneath its wheels. The bus weaved skillfully through wrecks and debris, like a steel beast on a battlefield. Scene cut to the high-rise of Xianjuan Court. Old Li, Old Tong, and the survivors sat together, nibbling dry rations, alert to every sound, hearing engines. The boys Yaixin cheered. Sure, brother Xiaodong had come back. Old Li signaled silence, gripping his gun and creeping to the door, peeking through the glass. Sweat dripped as hope faded from his eyes. Wasn't Xiaodong but Bishui Mountain's gang? Shouting to seize weapons, Fat Li Shuang climbed down, raising a hand as his men followed. Eyes full of murder, Old Li cursed under his breath. Realizing real disaster had arrived, Old Tong raised Xiaodong's gun, fire in his eyes, swearing to make them pay. Old Li barked, "We've got guns this time, fight." But don't underestimate them. They are armed and many. From the upper floors, they watched clearly. Quickly taking positions, Old Li climbed to the roof, ready for a life-or-death stand. Below, Lai Shuang's troops aimed up, their feral gazes piercing Xianjuan Court. Tong and his son Ziaxian peeked out, sweating, signaling to fire if the gang moved closer. Gunfire erupted. Li Shuang's goons fell in heaps as glass shattered and screams filled the chaos. Glass shards flew. Old Li yanked Ziaxian aside, shouting, "Stay down." Furious, Li Shuang grabbed a loudspeaker, roaring for his men to shoot anyone at the windows. He held the red megaphone to his mouth, testing with a crackling sound. Before another word, a bullet pierced the operator's skull. Blood sprayed. Li Shuang dropped the speaker, face pale as ash. Another shot struck a thug's leg. His scream threw the gang into panic. On the roof, Old Li calmly aimed, firing with the precision of a veteran sniper. Below, Bishui's thugs ducked in terror, hiding behind a wall. Li Shuang cursed, baffled how civilians got automatic guns. One underling stammered for orders. He yelled, "Retreat now." What else? Panicked goon ran, screaming, earning Shuang's furious curses. But before he made it far, a bullet dropped him, blood splattering the ground. Li Shuang sneered, calling it a lesson, then shouted a countdown for his men to charge with him. His crew dashed forward in panic, thinking only of survival, not battle. Yet they fell one after another under Old Li's precise gunfire. It seemed Li Shuang used them as shields, waiting for the defenders to run dry. Sure enough, when the roof guns emptied, Old Li paused to reload. Li Shuang and a few survivors scrambled into a truck, yelling, "Go! Drive!" Others climbed the bed, abandoning the wounded who begged behind. The truck roared off. Old Li reloaded, aimed at the wheels, firing sparks off the metal. One bullet tore through Chen Zhen's skull, ending him instantly. Meanwhile, Siang Xiaodong's bus sped like lightning, his driving as sharp as a racer's. At an intersection, he glimpsed a familiar pickup streaking past. He frowned, muttering in confusion about who was, then shook it off, focusing on reaching Xianjuan Court to finish the mission. When the bus halted, gunfire still echoed, proof the battle there raged on. Siang Xiaodong and Chen Rong stepped off the bus to see bloody corpses. Xiaodong smirked, guessing Old Li's group had wiped out the raiders. Chen Rong drooled at the sight, growling like a starving beast. Xiaodong laughed. "Hungry? Huh." The creature grunted yes. He waved. "Go ahead, better you eat than the other zombies." At the signal, Chen Rong dashed off, eyes glowing red, biting into corpses with delight. Xiaodong turned away, saying, "When you're done, wait at house number 8. The zombie howled assent, tearing flesh like a predator. Eyes shut, he savored each bite as if dining on souls. A strange red light flickered in his eyes, mutant energy awakening. Meanwhile, Xiaodong entered Xianjuan court, chuckling. Oldly still got it. Through a broken window, Xiak shouted, "It's brother Xiaodong, for real." Everyone rushed to the balcony. Waving and cheering, Xiaodong confirmed it was Oldly's group. Soon Oldly led them down. Xiaodong asked if they'd driven off the raiders. Oldly grinned proudly, saying yes and only thanks to Xiaodong's rifle. Suddenly, a hoarse roar echoed, startling everyone. Xiaodong frowned. Heavy footsteps approached from afar. It was Chen Rong, pale-faced but oddly docile. Seeing him, Oldly panicked, aiming his gun, shouting, "Zombie, careful." Xiaodong quickly lowered the barrel, smiling. "It's fine, his with me." Oldly sweated, baffled. "A zombie, you know." Xiaodong pointed aside, telling Chen Rong to finish his meal elsewhere. The creature grunted and sprinted off. Oldly gaped, stunned at Xiaodong commanding a zombie like a trained dog. Xiaodong said simply, "His not ordinary. I'll explain in the bus." He called Chen Rong back. The creature raised a hand sign, still chewing. After eating, he carefully reattached his muzzle mask and boarded the bus. Silence filled the bus. Everyone shrank back at his presence. Xian gasped, "Whoa, it can put its own mask on." Seeing the glowing red eyes, Xiaodong joked, "Scared? Careful, he hears that. Hell, get mad." Xiaxin nodded fast, muttering that it looked kinda cool. All eyes stayed glued to Chen Rong as he stepped aboard. One heavy step made the bus sway like in a storm. The group screamed. Oldly stammered. The bus just tilted. "Right." Chen Rong gently handed Xiaodong the muzzle key, mumbling lock lock, stunning everyone with his lingering intellect. Xiaodong stared wide. He could speak. Maybe that fresh flesh had evolved him further. Holding the key, Xiaodong pondered. The corpse energy was strengthening him fast. They had to return and upgrade this special warrior. Without delay, he gripped the wheel and shouted, "Hold tight." The bus roared ahead like wind, his heart racing with pride in his Naquity human teammate. Scene cut to Bishui Mountain. Li Shuhong, freshly defeated, got chewed out by his two bosses. Kaiji roared, "I told you, you useless sack of trash." Li Shuhong bowed, trembling, blaming the loss on the enemy's automatic rifles. Wenji narrowed his cold eyes, sneering, "Peasants with automatics, don't insult my brain." Li Shuang nearly begged, "If you doubt me, send men to check." Wenji fell silent, icy tension choking the room. Kaiji snapped, kicking Li Shuhong's fat body across the floor, cursing and booting him out like a dog. Shuhong staggered up, wiping blood from his lip, eyes burning with hatred but forced to bow in humiliation. As he left, Kaiji muttered through clenched teeth, "That bastard's been an icer for ages." He sliced a hand across his throat. "Kill him? Problem solved." Another thug smirked, teasing that Kaiji just wanted Shuhong's woman. Kaiji faked denial, grin never fading. Once only 3 trusted men remained. He grinned slyly, hinting they'd split the loot after taking Shuhong out. Wenji stayed calm, but his eyes glinted wickedly. "Easy," he said softly. "Let me plan the next move." Li Shuang hadn't gone far. He stood outside, hearing everything, blood boiling with rage. He clenched his fists, face twitching, eyes bloodshot, swallowing his fury in silence. Scene cut to his private room in Bishui Mountain. Enraged, he smashed furniture, yelling, "Bastards!" Qujing rushed in, panicked. "What's wrong?" She tried to soothe him, but he growled, "Pack up, we're leaving now." Stunned, she asked where. He gripped her arm, snarling, "This place'll turn to hell, prepare yourself." Secretly thinking a beauty like her would soon become prey, he called a henchman in a white jacket, voice cold as steel, "Gather everyone, we move at dawn." His tone left no room for argument. Qujing stayed silent, eyes icy. Shed stopped trusting this man, especially after tried to kill Xiaodong. Scene cut back to Xiaodong's base. The bus halted before the fortified gate. Lao Han, Shan Shan, Zhang Ji, and Xiaokai armed themselves, but when the group emerged, Xian gasped, "Whoa, this place is a fortress in the apocalypse." Sighing, Xiaodong checked the system. Mission overfilled. Bonus points added. He grinned at the extra reward. He stepped out, telling Chen Song to join him in the south tomorrow night. The zombie grunted his garbled reply. Oldly asked, puzzled, "South City. What for?" Xiaodong smiled mysteriously, saying he was going to settle his debt with Bishui Villa. That night, he checked the system and saw a Denliver supply crate ready for refresh, requiring points to activate. Bathed in light, he chose manual refresh, excited to open his first level 2 crate. Points deducted, success. Light swirled around him as he held his breath in anticipation. When it faded, the reward appeared, a strength boost injection 20. He beamed in joy, praising the level 2 crate as truly worth it. Shouts echoed outside as light glowed from within his room. After injection, power surged through him as strength skyrocketed. A stray mosquito buzzed past. He caught it effortlessly between 2 fingers. He examined the squirming insect with amusement, then released it, marveling at his newfound might. By evening, sunset bathed the base in red. Xiaodong and Chen Song reached the training yard, where Oldly and Shan Shan practiced shooting. Oldly asked if he truly meant to head south. He smiled, complimenting Li's marksmanship, asking him to train the others. Oldly gladly agreed, proud of his skill. Xiaodong signaled Chen Song to start the engine. The bus roared into the night. Their vengeful journey began. Elsewhere, Lai Shuhong prepared to flee, checking on his men before ordering departure. They moved cautiously, nerves taut. Suddenly, headlights flared in their faces. Shuang shielded his eyes. Confused, another group appeared led by Dong Su. Qiu Jing sits in the car with Wonka and Kaij, pleased after betraying the weaker one. La Shuxiang's underlings are bewildered, clueless about what's happening. Dong Hu holds a gun, sneeringly asks where they think they're going. La Shuxiang squints, realizing his opponent is Dong Hu. He fakes a grin, lying that is off to seek luck at Rong Sangyuan. Dong Hu chuckles dryly, mocking the ridiculous excuse. His men toss an unconscious person before La Shuxiang. His startled it's not King Z, while his men yell the wrong name. Furious, La Shuxiang hits his man, shouting for him to look properly. Turning to Dong Hu, he forces a laugh, denying knowing the person. Dong Hu's face hardens, he raises his gun, ready for ruthless action. Blast echoes, 3 of La Shuxiang's men fall, making him tremble and beg. Dong Hu signals him to look carefully into the car. The light fades, revealing Qiu Jing's face in the dark. La Shuxiang screams in agony, unable to believe his lover's betrayal. Kaiji laughs, exposing Qiu Jing for spilling all their plans. La Shuxiang rages, tries to fight back but is subdued, cursing the traitor. Kaiji turns to Yunji, awaiting his command. Yunji waves his hand, signaling execution. A rope is looped around La Shuxiang's neck. A burly man yanks hard, hoisting him into the air. He thrashes, tears mixing with blood, dying just like Xiaoyong once did. Then his body goes limp, swaying coldly before the gate. After that, Zhang Xiaoyong's van arrives. 2 people sneak in along the wall. Suddenly, La Shuxiang's corpse twitches. Xiaoyong halts the team with a warning gesture. La Shuxiang turns zombie. Thrashing wildly, Xiaoyong coolly mocks, regretting not killing him himself. He tosses a stone, cutting the rope clean. La Shuxiang's body slams to the ground. Xiaoyong grabs his head, smirking, calling it karma, promising revenge on his behalf. Scene shift in a dim room. Vulgar laughter echoes as Qiu Jing is tied between 2 men. She tries to act tough, teasing despite the humiliation. Yunji presses close, cruelly claiming it's her deserved reward, driving her insane. Suddenly, a noise outside makes Kaiji stop and shout. Looking out, he freezes in horror. Their men lie in pools of blood, barely breathing. The door shakes violently with pounding blows, terrifying them both. Zhang Xiaoyong bursts through the window, eyes sharp as blades. His knife grazes Kaiji's neck, making him tremble as blood seeps out. The blade flicks. A chilling sound fills the air. Kaiji collapses, blood spreading across the floor. Yunji panics, shouting, "Who are you?" While Qiu Jing stammers Zhang Xiaoyong's name in fear. He coldly swings his knife through Yunji's throat. Yunji coughs blood, suffocating. His body convulses, crashing down in a thick stench of blood. Qiu Jing screams and begs as Xiaoyong approaches. He smiles faintly, mocking their shamelessness. Touching the door, his icy voice mentions Lai Shuxiang's name. Hearing it, Qiu Jing trembles, sweat dripping. Xiaoyong opens the door, stepping aside as zombie Lai Shuxiang rushes in roaring. She panics, pleading for mercy in despair. But too late, Lai Shuxiang, now a monster, sinks his teeth into her neck, blood splattering red. Unmoved, Zhang Xiaoyong slams the door, leaving her desperate screams echoing in the dark. Outside, he calmly walks to Chen Song, indifferent to the corpses, softly saying, "Eat." Chen Song, now half-beast, looks around nervously, stammering if he's only allowed 1 meal. Xiao nods, and Chen Song lunges in, tearing flesh like a freed animal. Xiaoyong pricks his ears at a distant sound, eyes cold, plotting the next move. Elsewhere, in a locked room, a small family cowers in fear against the wall. The iron door creaks as a fat chef with a long scar appears. Clutching a cleaver, a thug in white grabs the little girl, leering that her flesh is tender, making her sob hard. The chef frowns, complaining she's too skinny to eat. He points at the chubby boy trembling in his mother's arms. Changing his target, the mother screams in despair as her son is dragged away. Crying for help in vain, the chef shoves her down, cursing brutally as he swings his knife. She falls, tears streaming, begging mercy for her child. The people around stay silent, heads lowered, too afraid to intervene. Suddenly, a loud noise makes everyone freeze. 3 round holes appear in the door, and the chef roars in fury. His men fire wildly, he growls, demanding who else has a gun. And a soldier stammers that only the boss does. Amid the chaos, the boy runs back, sobbing into his mother's arms. The thugs aim their guns at the door, waiting for something to appear. The chef orders the tall, thin man to check. He trembles, refusing. Yelled at, the tall man grips his gun, shaking as he steps closer. Pale hand reaches in, grabbing his neck and yanking him out with a scream. His body smashes against the doorframe, blood splattering everywhere. The room erupts, someone screams zombie, and they all open fire. Gunfire echoes wildly, bullets spraying in panic. Seeing a shadow at the door, they fire even more frantically. The door bursts open, Chen Song storms in like a tornado. Unfazed by the hail of bullets, the chef stumbles back, right in his reach. Chen Song pounces, twisting his neck with a sharp crack. The fat man's eyes bulge as he collapses, cleaver clattering down. Chen Song lands softly, eyes full of killing intent. Sweeping the room like death itself, screams fill the air. Anyone pleading is struck down instantly. Moments later, silence, bodies everywhere. The little girl trembling whispers, "He didn't kill us, a zombie that saves people." With white clouded eyes and pale skin, Chen Song looks terrifying yet strangely calm, reaching into his pocket while eyeing the door. Zhang Xiaoyong and Rong step in, smiling in approval at his speed and reflexes despite his chains. Chen Song raises a crooked hand, rasping, "Now that's cool." The room falls silent. The mother clutches her son, whispering, "A talking zombie." Chen Song's eerie composure makes everyone both scared and curious. Xiaoyong smiles, kneeling to reassure the girl he means no harm. While Chen Song nods in agreement, the girl, teary-eyed, whispers that has a Haidir monster able to kill in a blink. Hearing Haidir monster, Xiaoyong frowns slightly, surprised. He steps closer, gently asking if they've seen such creatures before. The mother trembles, replying, "Yes, in Changji City." To the east, Xiaoyong mutters thoughtfully that the mutation came earlier than expected, and that place is near Lochei district. Chen Song cluelessly asks, "What girl?" making Xiaoyong laugh and explain. He explains that variants like Chen Song retain memory and instincts far beyond normal zombies, making them terrifyingly strong. However, since mutations are unstable, most end up insane and brutally violent. Chen Song nervously asks, "So what'll happen to me?" Xiaoyong rests a hand on his shoulder, gently assuring he's a good zombie and won't lose control. Then he turns to the others, asking if any survivors remain near the mansion. Someone says maybe at the real estate office, possibly in the basement. Xiaoyong immediately leads the group down to check the basement. As the door opens, everyone freezes at the blood-soaked floor. Xiaoyong frowns, demanding an explanation. Before them hang rows of corpses strung up like butchered pigs, horrifying everyone. Xiaoyong grits his teeth, coldly asking why they killed so many. A long-haired man chokes out that the meat was hauled away regularly. No one knows where it went. Staring at the pile of bodies, Xiaoyong growls that they must be feeding zombies with human flesh. He asks more about the real estate office and learns it's where victims are held. Those deemed useless are sent here. Xiaoyong shakes his head in disgust, muttering, "So this is how far it's gone?" Suddenly, the system lights up with a mission: expand the community, raise reputation to 20. He currently has 36 accumulated points. 30 minutes later, at the Southern Real Estate Office, night falls. 2 guards stand watch. One nervously mentions gunfire to the north, the other shrugs, saying they're probably practicing on live targets. Suddenly, Chen Song drops from the shadows with assassin-like precision. The two barely scream before falling silent, blood spraying with choking gasps. Inside a small room, 4 naked girls huddle in fear, one nearly unconscious beneath a torn blanket. Hearing the noise, the girls flinch, eyes wide with terror. The one in red trembles, asking, "What's happening outside?" The weak one whispers, "Ignore it as long as they don't come in." The doorknob turns softly, freezing the air. Everyone holds their breath. A girl hugs her head, begging, "Don't come in, please don't." The door opens. Zhang Xiaoyong steps in, his steady gaze easing their fear. The 4 girls cover themselves, while Xiaoyong calmly says, "Come out, it's safe now." He leads the rescued victims out, stepping over scattered thug corpses. The girl in red asks in disbelief, "You'll really protect us?" Xiao nods firmly. He adds, "But everyone must work together, no freeloaders." The crowd responds eagerly, "No problem, we still have strength." Xiaoyong smiles, calling for departure at once. The old bus carries them through the dark night. An hour later, they arrive. The base lies silent under the black sky. From the watchtower, San cheers in joy, but Zhang Ji holds her back, wanting to see what Xiaoyong plans. He looks toward the fortress in the dark, murmuring, "That's my base, but no one can enter yet." The long-haired man nods knowingly. A woman asks for shelter, and he points to nearby housing, less safe but sufficient. Xiaoyong adds that Laochei still has empty land that could be rebuilt later. Everyone bows gratefully, calling him their benefactor. The next day, 2 large vehicles enter the gate of Baikui Mountain Base, a small car and a heavy truck full of black plastic bags. In the car, a woman with dark blue hair and revealing clothes grumbles in irritation that no one's answering her calls. She frowns, sensing something off. With a burly man, she heads straight for Zhang Qingwen's room. The door opens. She grimaces before saying a word. Inside, 3 zombies, including Le Shuxiang, prowl like wild beasts, smelling humans. They instantly charge forward. The woman twists her wrist, striking and hurling Li Shuxiang across the room. Moments later, the zombie's pitiful groans echo. She wipes blood off her weapon, eyes icy cold. The man behind reports, "Sis, Zhang Qingwen's dead. What about all that meat?" She snaps, "No choice. I'll handle it myself." Voice laced with fury, Nguyen Jiang grits her teeth, vowing to hunt whoever broke their rules. Before the mansion, she surveys Qingwen's scattered corpses, eyes sharp as blades. The man asks, "No survivors?" She replies coldly, "Only bodies." She orders a stock check. He says the meat's intact, so she commands to load it up. The crew hauls black plastic bags on the truck for the next trade, while she stands watching, arms crossed. Suddenly she kneels, spotting strange tire tracks, murmuring hum, making the underling curious. She replies firmly, "I want to know who dared touch my territory." Scene shifts to Xiaoyong's base. He sits on the windy balcony, pondering how to raise his expand community score, gazing over the wide land below. He smirks, "Thanks to that bastard, I've got my own domain now." Suddenly his eyes widen as he remembers something, muttering, Ah, that damn oak tree. He heads into the survivor zone with San San and Zhang Ji. The crowd cheers. Our savior's here. A crying woman rushes up to thank him. Xiao Yong helps her up, smiling kindly. No need for thanks. He asks the mother and child about the super monster they mentioned, wanting details. The mother recounts how they met in Hoa Renfa supermarket in Changji City while scavenging. The creature massacred everyone. They escaped in chaos and stumbled into the Bai Kui mansion. Another nightmare. The listeners boil with rage. Xiao Yong grits his teeth, voice cold as steel, repeating the name Hoa Renfa. San San worriedly urges not to interfere, saying they still have supplies. Zhang Ji wants to argue but stays silent. Xiao Yong declares Changji City's less than 2 kilometers away. Letting it live is a threat. The mother drops her basin in fright. She trembles, begging him not to go, saying it kills in a blink. But Xiao Yong calmly assures they have a plan. He orders Zhang Ji to summon Chen Song time to hunt the monster. Scene cuts to another group entering a large building, fully armed, faces tense. Leading them is a beautiful woman and a suited man. He points ahead. Told you, there's a big supermarket nearby. A young man warns not to underestimate danger. The woman nods but stays confident. She encourages, we've checked plenty of spots. This one should still have something useful. The team steps into the supermarket. The darkness and silence raising everyone's hackles. Shelves stand bare. Only scraps left. One mutters, strange there's even this much. Suddenly, a woman drops a pan. The clatter echoes, startling all. The lead woman instantly draws her weapon, shouting, "Who's there?" With a battle-hardened tone. She crouches, eyes sharp, scanning every aisle for danger. Roars and pounding footsteps erupt from all sides as hordes of zombies surge in. The pale, torn-faced undead charge forward, their shrieks making the group yell. Zombies, gunfire, blade clashes, and screams blend into chaotic battle. Moments later, the floor is covered in corpses. The group unharmed. The pretty woman laughs. Piece of cake. The guy with the backpack notes fewer corpses. Guessing the main horde was lured elsewhere. His mates cheer smugly. Yet the man in the suit stays wary. Warning, don't relax, go deeper and check. In the dark behind them, a mutated zombie lurks, eyes sparking, teeth grinding, muttering, fresh meat. The group keeps laughing, thrilled at the stocked shelves. Forgetting danger, the woman points to a corner, shouting, "Look there," making everyone turn. What delights her isn't food but a pristine luxury bed, eyes gleaming. She jumps on it, rolling around with joy, laughing, "Forget everything, I'm sleeping here." Everyone bursts out laughing, the air filled with chatter. Some suggest staying, others agree, while two men step out for a smoke. Outside, one flicks his Zippo, inhaling deeply as smoke swirls. The younger man asks, "Should we really stay?" The suited man muses that there are too many entrances, too easy to ambush. Despite the supplies, as he speaks, pointing at the two-story building opposite, a bloody blade suddenly touches his neck. A chilling slice, blood spurts. He collapses in agony. The youth frozen in shock. The mutant zombie lifts the body, licking its lips with glee. Smooth skin delicious, then cackles. The young man screams, sprinting off, shouting, "Help! A monster!" Inside, the group hears the horror-filled cry, turning anxiously to ask what's happening. The scream cuts off as the zombie stabs the youth's chest repeatedly, blood splattering red. It hoists the body high above. Under dim light, the corpse is torn in half, blood raining like crimson mist. The leader girl freezes, stammering, "Well, what is that?" Then screams, "Retreat now!" She turns to flee, legs trembling. The monster leaps, roaring madly. No one escapes. All flesh is mine. A poor girl behind is impaled through the chest, blood gushing violently. The leader runs in despair, crying, "I don't want to die." Reaching the exit, dim light shines on her terrified face. The last survivor, thinking her team's right behind. She shouts, "Hurry, we're almost out." But her voice turns into a scream of terror as she collapses, panting. Looking up, she sees the massive shadow of the mutant zombie looming over her. Tears stream as she raises her hand in vain defense, screaming in despair. Just then, Chen Song steps out from the supermarket's light like a descending war god. She cries, "Save me!" But Chen Song walks past coldly, not even glancing, leaving her stunned. Then Zhang Xiaoyong's voice echoes, "Don't be afraid." She turns, seeing Xiaoyong and Zhang Ji arrive. Gasping, "You," Xiaoyong smiles, helping her up. "You're the real estate girl I met before, right?" She stammers, "I am Ningyuan Yuan." Meanwhile, the fierce clash between Chen Song and the giant monster shakes the air. Ningyuan Yuan, still trembling, shouts, "There's a monster inside. Run!" Xiaoyong calmly replies, relaxes contained. She turns, stunned to see Chen Song facing the beast that slaughtered her team. The zombie snarls, trying to hog the meal. "Huh!" Xiaoyong calls out, "Can you handle it?" Chen Song grits his teeth. "Let me try." The monster darts back fast as lightning, forcing Chen Song into a defensive stance. It sticks out its tongue, laughing maniacally like it's having fun. It lunges wildly. Chen Song dodges calmly by a hair's breadth. The redayed creature sneers, wondering if eating its own kind would make it stronger. Wind howls as Chen Song's punch smashes into its face, stunning it. The blow drops the monster flat. Chen Song's power leaves everyone speechless. The zombie growls, admitting its foes no pushover. Chen Song delivers a finishing kick, aiming to end it. The impact shakes the air, debris flying everywhere. The creature clings to the ceiling, laughing savagely, boasting it's been saving up strength for this. Chen Song senses killing intent. Turning to meet its chilling grin, the clash of blows resounds nonstop. Zhang Ji panics. Xiaoyong stays stern, determined to end the threat. He activates the system, summoning a gun from thin air. Ning freezes in shock. Xiaoyong smirks, ordering, "Hold it for 1 second." Chen Song grips the zombie's arm tight, locking it down as it screams and curses. Right then, a deafening gunshot rings out. The bullet pierces its temple. It snarls in agony. The beast staggers, roaring insanely. It cackles, threatening to crush whoever heard it. Zhang Ji gasps the bullets aren't killing it. Xiaoyong keeps firing, rounds raining nonstop, the monster's body riddled with holes. It howls like a burning beast. Finally, it collapses. The four stare at the bloody corpse. Unsure it's really over, Xiaoyong tells Chen San to eat the corpse to grow stronger. He agrees instantly. The system chimes. Area score increased. Xiaoyong surprised by the reward. He grins, planning to clear out the supermarket. Ning's eyes widen. Xiaoyong uses energy to form a vortex, sucking in all supplies, leaving the group in awe. He glances at the fallen team, saying to leave them for other beasts, then orders departure. Scene shift. Baikai, the big sister car, screeches to a stop near Xiaoyong's base. An underling asks why they stopped. A scout peers through binoculars at the distant site. They spot Xiaoyong gathering survivors. The man laughs, noting that group's large but poorly armed. The driver asks about handling Gan Wen and Lin Guangkei's factions. The bossy woman snaps, reminding she warned them not to use the mansion as a base. She leans back, chuckling that luck's finally on their side. The driver asks the next move. She coolly says to return and gather men and weapons. The white car spins around, speeding off. Scene cuts to Xiaoyong's vehicle cruising down the road. Ning cheers about having a warm place to rest. Zhang Ji jokes about hot baths, both ecstatic. The team tenses, spotting figures ahead. Ning and Zhang Ji ready themselves while Edie scans the area. The white car from Biku's group passes by in the opposite lane. For a moment, Xiaoyong glances out the window. Their eyes meet. Murderous sparks fly between rivals. The system triggers a new quest, the Punisher. Objective: eliminate the intruder, reward 50 points. He mutters, guessing that woman he saw as the target. Back at base, Xiaoyong asks San San about strangers nearby. San San says a car passed earlier. She thought it was their group. Xiaoyong's face darkens. He calls an emergency meeting to issue new orders. Minutes later, at the coal factory in southern suburbs, a man uses a walkie-talkie to send a distress signal. A broadcast voice invites survivors to gather at the coal factory. A young man in yellow guesses it's nearby. A luxury car approaches, making him overjoyed. The car screeches to a stop, dust billowing. Bai Kai steps out with 2 henchmen, asking if they came for the signal. The group nods eagerly. In these chaotic times, her beauty bewilders the men. She smiles warmly, inviting them to join, making them thrilled. She says it's just a short walk. They agree. Unaware it's a trap, she leads them to a large warehouse, lifting the door as if in welcome. The man in yellow marvels at the space, excited to have shelter. He shyly asks to step outside to relieve himself. She smiles sweetly, saying there's one inside. He grins foolishly. In the restroom, he chuckles, sneaking glances at her seductive figure. He moves closer, bragging about his strength. The sound of electric shock cuts through, followed by a strangled scream. A blade pierces his neck. He dies without understanding. She coldly withdraws the weapon, staring down at the corpse. She sneers, mocking the weak Pri. Stepping out, she orders the body dragged away. Calm as if tidying up, 2 more subordinates enter to clean the rest. Meanwhile, at Xiaoyong's base, he gathers the team to plan defense. Oldly nervously asks if someone's targeting them. Xiaoyong says the enemy is still unknown. He warns everyone to expect attack anytime, assigning cleanup teams to protect civilians. Shijie and Xiaokai eagerly volunteer to join. The 2 brothers from Oldless Squad also request to go. Zhang Sheng's son insists on coming but is stopped by his father. Ning, though afraid, bravely signs up too. Xiaoyong analyzes the situation, saying it's not too risky. Leaving the elders to guard the base, the team departs, looking like a fully armed small unit. Xiaoyong fires first, bullet piercing a zombie's skull. Battle begins. The squad moves in sync, guns, knives, and fists striking together. When it's over, corpses litter the ground. Everyone checks injuries, none serious. From the window, Xiaoyong eyes the enemy sector, warning of an imminent clash. A woman and a young man volunteer to stay and fight. He nods, accepting them as reinforcements. The boy takes guard duty, promising to obey once battle starts. Cut to Baiku's camp. She stands arms crossed, watching her men work. She asks coldly how progress is going. The burly man mutters human meat. Eyes crazed, she snaps, saying Baikai base is gone. They must hunt food themselves now. The thin man soaks while the big one just howls for flesh. She fuels their rage, declaring at dawn they'll storm Xiaoyong's camp. Scene returns to Xiaoyong's base, lights on as he checks his system points. Holographic panel lists reward boxes and values. He eagerly makes purchases. Xiaoyong rejoices at buying 2 level 2 crates, expecting big rewards. The system activates. Light and smoke swirl as new energy floods his body. He grins, realizing his strength now exceeds normal humans 8-fold. Blood boiling with excitement, he's eager to test his enhanced power. Outside, Engines roar, smoke rises, signaling visitors. It's Baiku's convoy. A fleet of cars and roaring motorcycles. A henchman asks the next move. Baiku coldly orders, "Kill all the refugees outside first." She ordered that when Lauer broke the gate, everyone must open fire, no survivors allowed. The maniating giant roared with excitement, eyes blazing, demanding meat. The convoy sped up, kicking up a storm of dust under the scorching sun. The sky was eerily clear and calm, like a warning before a bloodstorm. At the base, Xiao Deng and Lo Li stood high above, discussing defense strategy. Lo Li curiously asked why they picked such a hidden spot. Xiao Deng smiled slyly, hinting at Lo Li's past as a sniper. Lo Li scratched his head, modestly saying he had little experience but steady hands. He bragged he could hit targets within 500 meters if the wind behaved. Xiao Deng smirked in approval, good enough for the plan. Zhang Ji arrived panting, lugging a heavy crate. Both turned to look, Lo Li puzzled about what was inside. The lid opened, inside gleamed a shiny sniper rifle that left everyone stunned. Lo Li gaped, asking where Xiao Deng got such a beast, only to hear 2 mags used wisely. His hands trembled as he held it, muttering like in a dream. Xiao Deng checked formation once told already. He ordered maximum alert. On the watchtower, San San caught interference, something was off. Lo Li aimed, sensing with San San to confirm armed enemies before shooting. Outside, Baitho's group stopped when no refugees were in sight. She gave a ruthless order, attack, before being spotted, but every move was reported by San San. Xiao Deng instantly led a counterattack. Following orders, San San confirmed targets in sight and gave the fire command. The squad opened fire from above, bullets thundering like storm clouds. Baitho's crew was shredded under gunfire. Their convoy swerved in panic. A driver took 2 shots to the chest and fell silently. His out-of-control truck crashed sideways, blocking the road, dragging another with it. The impact blew the vehicles apart, debris flying everywhere. Baitho gritted her teeth, furious as her plan fell to pieces. Bullets rained down. A soldier screamed to rush under the wall's blind spot. They crawled toward the gate and slammed the brakes. A massive foot stomped down with a quake. The chainsaw lunatic roared madly, craving blood. He slashed deep into the iron door, sparks bursting out. From the tower, San San yelled about a maniac breaching the gate. She commanded all units to focus fire below. Baitho and her men hid under the vehicles, firing back amid smoky chaos. San San was grazed by a bullet, but kept observing through trembling hands. Zhang Ji gave support while Xiao Kai got shot in the shoulder. Panicking, he pulled his friend back, warning the enemy had submachine guns. Stay sharp. Everyone held position, reloading non-stop, the gunfire deafening. Lahan noticed they were targeting the gate and shouted a warning. Xiao Deng calmly said over the radio that it was all part of the plan. He quietly slipped out a side door. His shadow darted swiftly toward the tower. On the enemy side, a thug shouted they were half out of ammo. Baitho snapped at Lauer. He hissed through his teeth, saying it'd be done in seconds. An explosion rocked the air, fire and smoke rising as the iron gate shook violently. San San screamed for reinforcements, demanding the gate be held at all costs. Baitho laughed maniacally, boasting she'd unleash fake evolution on them soon. She ordered Lauer to lead the charge with the modified zombies. The base gate burst open, clouds of dust rolling thick and wild. Xiao Deng climbed the watchtower, ordering Lo Li to ready his shot. Lo Li adjusted his scope, asking if the giant target was in sight. Xiao Deng confirmed coldly. Lower roared, his monstrous body bearing fangs like a beast. The team behind trembled. When asked if that thing was still human, Lower shielded Baithai's crew, taking all the bullets for them. Lahan fired nonstop, but the creature's skin was steel thick. Unfazed, everyone was stunned as its wounds healed instantly. Lahan shouted the report while Baitho laughed proudly about her fake-evolved creature. Hearing that, Lo Li aimed and sneered, "Let's see about this one." A sniper bullet tore through the air, blazing a fiery trail. The shot blew Lauer's upper body apart, his head vanishing midair. The giant crashed down, dust blanketing the battlefield. The thugs gawked, unable to believe their eyes. Baithoi shivered, drenched in sweat, terrified by such firepower. Seizing the chance, Xiao Deng appeared behind and opened fire on her team. The rest panicked and shot back. Baithoi screamed. Realizing she was surrounded, she glared at Xiao Deng, furious for underestimating him. Cornered, she shot while shouting retreat, her men's blood splattering everywhere. Seeing Xiao Deng's face clearly, she remembered meeting him before. Hatred flared stronger. Xiao Deng fired coldly, bullets chasing her without pause. She shoved a henchman in front as a shield. He was shot dead instantly. Her face stayed blank as she used him as cover. Eyes locked on Xiao Deng. The sight made Xiao Deng suspect she, too, had evolved powers. Baitho grabbed the corpse and hurled it at him like a living bomb. Xiao Deng dodged the body, crashed down, blood splattering the ground. As he aimed to fire back, she escaped, making him curse in frustration. Above, Lo Li lowered his voice, running. Huh! He rotated his Barrett, aimed carefully, and whispered a prayer to the gun. The shot thundered. Bullet pierced Baitho's leg, spraying blood as she screamed in agony. Just meters from the truck, she collapsed. Her men rushed down to save her. Lo Li tried for the kill shot but lost visual and held fire bitterly. A loyal thug dragged her into the truck, yelling "Boss!" As she ordered escape through gritted teeth. The truck screeched, spun, and sped through gunfire, wobbling out of the trap. Xiao Deng's team sighed at the unfinished end. Watching the getaway, Xiao Deng stayed calm, telling Lo Li not to worry. They had her location. The The system pinged mission complete, extra points and reputation gained. As the enemy truck left the highway, the map marked their base and unlocked a new quest, Nemesis of Evil 2. Back at base, San, Laohan, and Zhang Ji cheered the victory, unable to hide their excitement. Xiao Deng asked for casualties, hearing only minor injuries. He ordered cleanup and recovery. He then told Chen Deng to bring the refugees back from the abandoned building. Afterward, Xiao Deng checked his system panel. 76 points earned. He planned a big shopping spree tonight. Scene cut. Baitho's battered convoy arrived at their base, where surviving guards waited. Baithoi, missing a leg but alive, was helped inside by 2 loyal followers. A man saw her pitiful state and angrily asked what happened. She gritted her teeth, fuming that she underestimated the enemy's insane firepower. In rage, she barked at a nearby thug to fetch her human meat. He sneered, eyes flashing dangerously. The others stayed silent. She cursed them useless, not worth Lauer's fingernail. A blonde thug stepped up, mocking her missing leg, calling her a washed-up cripple. She trembled, realizing betrayal. Backing away in fear, she ordered her 2 loyal men to seize him, but none moved. Turning around, she saw only cold stares. The blonde declared himself the strongest. Now she crippled. Lower dead, he raised his head and shouted, "Right, everyone!" She screamed in denial, refusing to believe they'd betray her, but they surrounded her, eyes burning with hatred, ready to punish their tormentor. The blonde laughed and swung the first blow. The rest joined in, beating her with metal pipes amid mad laughter. Baitho shrieked in agony, writhing helplessly. Her screams faded blood-soaked. She collapsed, and they finally stopped. The blonde licked blood off his finger, smugly ordering a report when a subordinate misspoke his title. He spun around and roared. The man panicked, kneeling and apologizing, calling him boss. He heard heavy losses reported and feared they couldn't face Xiao Deng again. A flash of that giant tentacled zombie crossed his mind, making him shiver. Then he waved confidently, saying they joined the Xijiang faction, leaving her corpse in the cold yard. Hours later, Xiao Deng's truck arrived guided by the system. He, Zhang Ji, and Loli got out, cautiously surveying the abandoned base. Xiao Deng led, signaling silence. Zhang Ji guessed the enemy had fled. They found Baitho's mangled corpse, broken leg, face crushed. Horrifying to see, Xiao Deng just smirked, saying it was a fitting end. Zhang Ji recalled the giant monster and asked if it was linked to Chen Sung. Loli added they called it a false evolution. Curious what that meant, Xiao Deng folded his arms, replying grimly to understand. One must eat human flesh. Both men froze, drenched in sweat. He calmly confirmed those seeking false evolution like zombies start by devouring their own kind. Zhang Ji blanched, and Loli worriedly asked if they too must eat flesh to survive. Xiao Deng reassured them it's just a shortcut, not the only path. He pulled out a glowing red orb, leaving both men gaping as Zhang Ji asked what it was. Deng explained that both false evolvers and zombies are mutants needing alien energy to grow stronger. That energy is scarce in human blood, but strong beings in zombie cores can contain it. Loli wondered if zombies were edible. Zhang Ji recoiled in fear. Deng warned that normal humans eating zombies would fall ill, only mutants could absorb it. The system announced mission slay the evil, complete reward points gained. Deng knew the threat was over. Zhang Ji shouted a warning. Deng swiftly drew his knife, eyes sharp with killing intent. A torn zombie lunged suddenly. Deng stabbed through its head cleanly. Deng was stunned by how silently it approached as the others took defensive stance. Deng cut open the zombie, finding a strange red glow inside. He held the energy core joyfully. It was exactly what he needed. He offered it to Zhang Ji, and Zhang Ji refused in fear. Giving both to Li, Loli bravely accepted, trying to stay calm, staring at the bloody lump. He muttered encouragement, time to risk it. He gulped 2 cores down, the crunching sound chilling. Li's eyes flashed red, his body trembled, flooded with energy. Muscles swelled as he flexed his new power. Deng warned him not to get cocky. Li nodded quietly, promising caution. Mission done. The team withdrew under Deng's lead, ending the danger. Scene shifted to the Xifeng steel factory. White trucks drove in. Guards stopped them, demanding identification. The leader replied it was the Santang group from the coal plant. Guards reported to the bald boss while Santang waited calmly. The bald man stood beside a seductive woman, his aura dominating. Seeing Santang, he laughed loudly, asking why he came himself. The woman smirked curiously. Santang bowed, reporting they were ambushed. Big Sis and Second Bro both dead. The bald man feigned regret, saying their groups were once close. He ordered Santang's crew led to a safe room. Santang smiled stiffly, eyes evasive. The bald man whispered to the woman. She chuckled in agreement. Santang's group entered a sealed room where henchmen greeted him as Third Bro. He barked, "Who are you calling Third Bro?" The thug apologized, saying it was a bad omen. Santang snapped, "What omen nonsense?" The thug muttered this safe room felt more like a prison cell. Before he finished, guards kicked the door open, faces grim, making everyone freeze. One growled, "Out now." Moments later, Santang's group was marched before the bald boss and the powerful woman, surrounded by armed men. Santang forced a smile, nervously asking what was happening. "Boss." The woman flipped her hair and screeched, "You dare betray us and expect mercy?" Santang feigned confusion. "It's a misunderstanding." "Boss." "Sister Lin, hear me out." Sister Lin laughed coldly, signaling her men to act. A burly man reported seeing Li Jingru dead in the yard. Second Tang missing. No signs of battle. Santang fell silent. He concluded they clearly murdered them for power during the chaos. Sweating, Santang stammered, "Nope, that's baseless speculation." The bald man sneered, "Still want evidence?" Lin sneered too, saying if not for the others' usefulness, they'd be dead already. The bald man clenched his teeth and ordered coldly, "Kill them all." One man panicked, kneeling and begging for life, promising important intel. Santang froze. Sister Lin tilted her head curiously. "What intel?" He pointed eastward, saying Dongqing was full of people and supplies. Big Sis and second bro died. Their life now mattered more than loot. Lin's gaze cut like knives, both terrifying and mesmerizing him. She asked about Kai Xiaodong's group's strength. He stammered they were on par with theirs. Hearing that, Lin glanced at her lover Bao, whispering, "Major threat." Bao's eyes darkened, seeing their weakness. The thug quickly added they still didn't know how to evolve. None of them had mutant huntable power. Lai Ching, who'd been observing, frowned. False evolution sounds key. After a pause, he asked, "If they've no evolvers, how did you lose?" The small man blurted they had heavy weapons. One shot killed Second Tang. They underestimated Kai Xiaodong. Lin smiled slyly, praising his sense. Good info. The man grinned hopefully. "So we're spared, right?" Lin's face turned cold. "Instantly kill them all." Santang's group froze pale. The informer stammered, "Oh wait." He begged for mercy, reminding them he shared intel, but mercy meant nothing here. Each was slain without hesitation. Torn corpses and splattered blood painted the floor in brutal red. Dabang stood before the bodies, calmly proposing they destroy Kai Xiaodong. Soon Lin objected, saying to evolve first. The three traitors were beaten to death, blood pooling on the ground as Dabang ordered scouts to confirm the enemy still couldn't evolve. Scene shifted to Kai Xiaodong's base. He reclined, opening his system to check what 126 points could buy. The menu listed basic supplies 5 points, level 2 black tech pack 50, manual refresh 8. Dung eagerly picked black tech. He confirmed purchase system deducted 55 points, leaving 71 rewards. Poured in tons of food and cooking oil. Golden light flashed. Dung laughed heartily, overjoyed, but the joy was cut short by frantic knocking. He startled and called, "Come in." Sanson rushed in, reporting a trespasser caught near the base. Dung stood, frowning for details. Without delay, he ordered an inspection. At the scene, Zhang Ji and lowly restrained a tied man, insisting he wasn't an enemy. Caxiac Xiao Dung arrived, voice calm. "Looking for me." Sanson glared at the captive warily. Seeing Dung, the man smiled, confirming he was the leader. Dung nodded. "Speak," but the man hesitated, asking how to address him. Dung replied firmly, "Call me Kangak Xiao Dung." The man laughed, then politely introduced himself as a Heng from the Xifeng steel factory. Hearing that, Zhang Ji and Lali relaxed. Old Tong, father of Zixian, confirmed his origin. Dung asked Tong if he knew the place. The elder explained Xifeng was a major steel plant 3 kilometers southwest, once rivaling the southern coal works. Hijak Xiao Dung stepped closer, eyes cold as steel, questioning why a Heng dared come here. The man trembled, sweating, stammering that in chaos people should help each other. Dung replied icily, "Go on." A Heng claimed his leader sent him to find survivors and bring them back, but his shaky voice sounded fake. Xia Kaikun, holding a paper exposing he had mapped the base perimeter. Dung studied the map intently, his gaze drilled into a Heng, who broke into a cold sweat. Suddenly, Dung activated the Trispirit Eye. A green light flared. In his vision, a Heng's meek facet hid deep scheming intent. Without hesitation, Dung raised his gun, aiming at the man's temple. Silent but deadly, a Heng panicked, hands up, pleading it was just self-defense, no malice. Dung leaned to Zhang Ji, whispering if he knew Chen Sung. Zhang Ji quietly said no. Dung lowered the gun and ordered his release. Old Tong gasped in disbelief. A Heng, overjoyed, stammered to confirm he was truly free. Dung handed back the map, telling him to take it and leave, his tone unwavering. The man knelt, bowing repeatedly in thanks, forehead thudding like a drum. Then he bolted off without daring a glance back. Dung watched with a sly smile, murmuring about Xifeng's steel factory and the future points plans for extermination forming. Months later, the scene shifted to the Xifeng iron and steel plant. 2 workers pushed a scrap cart, chatting about recent strange disappearances. One shuddered, recalling rumors of a tentacled man-eating monster. A strange noise came from the junk pile. They crept closer to check. One yelled in panic, "Don't go near, call someone." But before they could react, a steel blade shot out from the shadows. It sliced a man's neck clean. Blood sprayed as he dropped instantly. In a corner, Li Qing calmly smoked, enjoying a moment's peace. The scream snapped his attention. A panting thug rushed up, shouting, "Monster, it's killing people." Li Qing frowned, asking if it was the tentacle beast. The man nodded breathlessly, grinding his teeth. Li cursed the surprise attack. He ordered a retreat. Only evolved fighters follow him to counter. Leading 3 elite evolvers, he armed up and advanced toward the junk pit. They moved cautiously, Li Qing in front, a knife in one hand, touching the pile with the other, warning if tentacles appear run. Before them lay heaps of scrap, and the victim's truck. Li examined everything like a hunter tracking prey. Seeing nothing unusual, he scowled, sighing in frustration. Minutes later, they reached the corpse and spotted strange footprints. One guessed the tentacle left. Another said it was fully crouched to inspect. Touching the marks, he muttered that ever since the two big bases fell, their people had been vanishing fast. His face darkened, hatred flaring, then he muttered, "No, not tentacles." Scene cut to Kai Xiaodong's base, clear skies. Calm peace everywhere. Standing on a high balcony, Xiaodong gazed afar, thinking of rebuilding civilization as the system pinged a new Quest Utopia version, requiring higher community points, current 38. He frowned, still waiting for the Xifeng steel plant mission to trigger. Just then Sanson called below. She waved excitedly, shouting the team was back safe. Deng looked down and smiled contentedly. He lipped down gracefully before Sanson and Zhang Ji, his heroic aura radiating. Deng asked if their hunt was spotted. Zhang Ji firmly said no one dared approach. Xiaodong bent to ask the youngsters about adaptation. Xiao Shui grinned proudly. The boy raised his hand to boast, and Xiao Ning patted his hair, proudly adding he'd killed a zombie solo today. Hearing that, Deng smiled warmly, praised him, and told them to store the mutant core. The system instantly announced a new mission, Nemesis of Evil, i.e., reward 80 points. Reading it, he thought the potential allies likely meant the Xifeng Steel Group. Later, in the meeting room, Xiaodong declared he'd personally infiltrate the steel plant. Stunning Loli, who clenched his fist in worry, Zhang Ji and Lao Tong agreed, urging him not to risk it. The Xifeng gang always lurked if danger struck. Rescue might come too late. Xiaodong understood their concern, calmly saying he'd calculated everything. Even Chen Deng could match him now. This trip was to confirm friend or foe. He then told Lao Han, Loli, and the rest to guard the fortress and protect the base. All nodded solemnly. Lao Han patted his shoulder, warning him to stay safe. This place needed him alive. Scene switched to the Xifeng steel plant. Smoke thickened as a servant rushed in to deliver urgent news. Two guards blocked the door. A man in a black suit raised his hand, saying no entry without the boss order. The man outside grew impatient, face red and veins bulging like a raging beast. It was Lei Ching. He grabbed the guard's neck, choking him until the man nearly fainted. Others shouted, "Are you insane?" The scream snapped him out of it. His eyes went blank. He released the man quickly, stammering an awkward apology. The suited man gasped for air while the others cursed his madness. Lei Cheng just stood there, confused by his own rage. From inside, a familiar female voice, Lin, called out, "Lei Cheng, is that you?" She ordered the guards to open up despite their scowls. They obeyed. Lei Cheng entered, light shining on his face, making him pause. Before him stood Lin's seductive, tight shirt, a half-smile that burned like temptation. He reported the tentacle monster sighting and strange female footprints near a male victim. Lin frowned, clearly uneasy. She glanced aside, asking quietly, "So the killer's human?" Only the two remained in the room. Her eyes flashed gold as she spoke coldly. "Understood. Don't let this leak." Lei Cheng questioned why. She explained the people were already panicked by the tentacle rumor, adding human murders because chaos. Lei reluctantly agreed. Finding her too controlling, he lowered his head silently, suspicion stirring inside. Suddenly, Lin leaned close, her breath brushing his ear, teasing, "What's wrong? Want to do something else?" Making him blush, flustered, he stammered an excuse to leave and hurried out. The door slammed, leaving Lin's sly smile glowing in dim light. Out in the hall, Lei Cheng blushed and scolded himself. Damn, forgot the main question again. From the next room, a man's mocking voice, female footprints. "Ha! Careless of you." Lin snorted coldly at Debang. "If you're better, do it yourself." Bald Debang calmly chopped human meat like vegetables, blood splashing as he grinned. "Ill hunt. You clean up," revealing they killed subordinates to absorb evolution energy. A severed head rolled into a bin, the stench of blood filling the room. Elsewhere, a zombie collapsed at Kangak Xiaodong's feet, skull crushed. He had reached the Xifeng steel plant. Gripping a sharpened iron rod amid piles of corpses, Deng muttered calmly, "Almost there. Keep your cool." He summoned a small pair of scissors from the system, the steel glinting sharply. Snipping his hair neatly, he moved with the precision of a pro barber. Then he smeared mud on his face, drawing lines to look like a drifter. With old glasses on, he became a filthy survivor, yet his charisma still slipped through. Disguise complete, he approached the main gate, immediately hearing, "Stop right there." A guard frowned, aiming his gun. "Who are you?" Deng switched to full acting mode, smiling kindly and saying he was thrilled to find other survivors. The guard relaxed slightly, smirking. "Ah, a wanderer? Huh," he asked curiously. "How'd you survive this long?" "Kid." Deng feigned trembling sorrow, saying 10 in his group, but only he lived. Face full of grief, the guard squinted. "No abilities?" "Huh." Deng acted confused. "Abilities? What's that?" Then he added a lie, claiming some zombie fighting experience and wishing to help. The guard sneered, stepping closer with a slick tone. "Who asked you?" Whatever. Might still be useful." Clearly eyeing him as fresh prey, he ordered, "Follow me." Joining means passing a test. Deng followed, hand brushing his hidden gun, memorizing the guard's name. Taimo the next target. Deng smirked inwardly, of course. Taifeng was a nest of snakes. Suddenly a shout rang out. Both turned in shock. Lei Cheng appeared, stern-faced. "Who's this stranger?" The guard stammered. "Ah, brother Lei. As a survivor, I was taking him for a test." Making Deng chuckle. "A test? Huh, sounds legit." Lei Cheng frowned. "Why sneak around? Test him here." Revealing the guard meant to kill him, Lei Cheng ordered, "Hand over your weapon." Then enter, Dung acted scared, asking, "What if you kill me?" Leching calmly replied, "If you want, hand it over. Leave, I don't force anyone," earning Dung's respect. Forced to comply, Dung handed over his dagger, feigning regret like losing his last lifeline. Leching searched carefully, confirming Xiao Dung was weapon-free. He lifted the dagger, sneering, "You roam around with just this? You must be some evolved creature." Xiao Dung played dumb, nodding proudly, making Leching believe and lead him to the leader. Leching brought him to a dim room, told him to wait while he stood guard outside. Xiao Dung observed it was clearly a trap, yet he stayed calm. De Bangji entered, smiling falsely, asking his name with a predatory glare. Xiao Dung stammered deliberately, hiding his real self. Fooled, the man thought him weak and questioned his evolution. Dung obediently nodded. Suddenly, a steel axe slashed past Xiao Dung's face. He tilted his head slightly, dodging with ease. The axe embedded deep in the wall, deadly enough for any normal human. Xiao Dung frowned, guessing it was a test, not an attack. He faked panic, angrily shouting back. De Bangji laughed, admitting he'd underestimated him, praising his skill. Xiao Dung retorted, feigning outrage, while the man coldly said the weak deserved death. He then asked about the evolution method. Eyes burning red, Xiao Dung calmly said he knew. De Bangji warned, "Keep it secret or die." Then he lunged, hands aiming for Dung's throat. Xiao Dung dodged neatly, not striking back, shocking his foe with his composure. He summoned his dagger, ready, secretly glad the fight wasn't real yet. Even restrained, he calculated if killing him now would earn full mission points. Seeing the dagger, De Bangji paused. Xiao Dung acted timid to lower suspicion. The man played big brother, warning that his strength far surpassed Dung's. He ordered his men to let Xiao Dung wash, change, then attend a meeting. As Dung infiltrated deeper, later, subordinates announced the newcomer's arrival, introducing Xiao Dung as a new member. Huang Ling, one of 3 leaders with Li Cheng and Huang Bin, greeted him. Huang Ling assigned Xiao Dung to Huang Bun, who accepted instantly. He smiled, saying Dung was in the safest place but had to prove his worth. Xiao Dung obediently agreed, acting compliant to move freely. Huang Bin called for patrol duty, taking the new guy along. Heng eagerly urged them to start. The gate guard asked whose team the newbie belonged to. Answered, "Only our squad can handle his kind." Xing stared curiously at Xiao Dung, thinking his face looked familiar. He chatted and learned Da Bangji only told Xiao Dung to keep the evolution secret. Huang Bin revealed a chilling truth: the area bred humans from meat, known only to 4. He described the group's ties and warned if the secret leaked, Xiao Dung alone would be blamed. Xiao Dung realized Heng had once been captured by his own organization. He asked about Li Cheng and was told the man was a talented outsider whose secret must stay hidden. If exposed, both would die horribly. Xiao Dung thought, Leching must be powerful enough to make even the leader wary. Huang Bin announced they'd arrived, and Dung confirmed. They'd watch a group of 7 ordinary people for days. None had evolved. Xiao Dung asked the plan, expecting an attack, but they meant to capture them as food stock. Huang Bin told him to change his mindset, not be stubborn like Li Cheng. He spoke arrogantly, viewing evolved humans as a superior species. Xiao Dung coldly guessed they planned to eat the captives bit by bit. Huang Bin laughed, saying they only needed a few victims, the rest would be handled on sight. He grinned wickedly, ready to demonstrate how to act. Meanwhile, the other group kept building defensive walls. They were exhausted but nearly finished. Someone suddenly pointed in panic at the distance. A horde of zombies was rushing in like a flood. Everyone panicked, preparing to fight. The zombie numbers grew rapidly, closing in step by step. People drew weapons, shouting to keep formation. The undead swarmed, tearing everything apart. Xiao Dung realized this was their hunting method, using zombies to wipe out prey. He suddenly felt eyes watching from above. Looking up, he saw glints of reflected light from mirrors. He froze until a comrade yelled, asking why he was standing still. Xiao Dung replied quickly, rushing to assist. The man joked, "Now you look like a real soldier." On the roof, a huge mutated creature was lurking. Below, someone whispered that supplies were still stored in the warehouse. Huang Bin tasked Xiao Dung with collecting the supplies, promising escorts later. He leaned in, adding, "Gather the corpses too for easy transport." The rest followed him out of the area. Xiao Dung stayed alone among corpses, perfect for his own moves. He grinned inwardly. Everything was going smoothly. The rescued group rejoiced, thanking them, thinking they were safe. A curious girl asked if the new place had water for bathing. Huang Bin flirted, pulling her clothes, promising fragrant soap. She believed him. Heng suddenly felt uneasy. His face went pale, sweat beading. He stammered that something strange was approaching. Huang Bin shouted, ordering everyone on alert. Heng kept flirting with the girl, saying he'd protect her. Heng found no threat signs, growing more panicked. Heng mocked him for imagining things. Heng insisted the feeling was real, not illusion. Just then, a tentacle pierced straight through his neck. Huang Bin roared. The same tentacled monster had returned. The creature struck so fast no one could react. Screams erupted everywhere. Huang Bin turned to face the 4-eyed beast charging in. Chaos exploded on all sides. Meanwhile, Xiao Dung found 2 precious evolution cores among zombie corpses. Cries for help echoed from a nearby truck. Someone was being lifted high, strangled midair by a tentacle. The crack of breaking bones froze everyone in terror. The crowd scattered, scared out of their wits. Even Akong trembled violently. After killing, the monster turned toward him. He screamed in despair. Suddenly, he grabbed the same girl, then hurled her at the monster to buy time to flee. The beast snatched her midair like a toy. She screamed in horror. Just then, someone sliced the tentacle, saving her. The severed limb fell to the ground. The rescuer was Xiao Deng. Arriving right on time, he calmly said this wasn't the real tentacle they'd mentioned. Everyone gasped. He confirmed it was only its offspring. He explained tentacle was the progenitor, turning zombies into monsters carrying its genes, its sons. Huang Bin panicked, saying even Bangji feared this thing. Xiao Deng couldn't win. He made an excuse to retreat, dumping the fight on Xiao Deng before running. The others panicked and fled too. Xiao Deng smirked, knowing they'd left him as bait. The monster flung its tentacles to bind him. He stood still, eyes gleaming with excitement. Tentacle's son. Huh, interesting, he murmured, then yanked hard, pulling the tentacle toward himself. The beast was jerked off balance. He said coldly, "My turn." Instinctively, he countered with lightning speed. The creature froze, unable to react. He decided to test a never-used power. His stomp shattered the ground beneath. Energy flared violently around him. His power erupted, completely overwhelming the foe. One pull slammed the beast hard to the ground. He stomped its head, pinning it down, then tore off every writhing tentacle. The monster's body ripped apart into chunks. Only shredded flesh remained under his feet. He turned to ask the rescued girl if she was hurt, but she screamed, staring at him like another monster. He wiped his face, assuring her he was still human. Meanwhile, the escapees reached base. Sighing in relief, Hong Ling immediately asked about Xiao Bin and sighing. Someone replied both were killed by Tentacle's offspring. They assumed Kuang Yi couldn't have survived either. The power gap was too big. Daebangji's face darkened. He said nothing. He silently scanned the survivors. Hong Ling spoke, trying to calm him, but Daebangji snarled, blaming them for poor weapon security. He barked an order to kill someone to vent his rage. Huang Ling rushed to stop him, urging calm. At that moment, a massive tentacle was thrown into the room. From the doorway stepped Xiao Deng. Beside him stood the rescued girl. Liqing was shocked but glad he was alive. Huang Ling stared at the severed tentacle, unable to believe it. Xiao Deng said, "Tentacle's son is dead. Debt paid for her family." The two leaders were stunned, secretly terrified of his strength. He coolly demanded they ready vehicles and men to collect the spoils. Once settled, they discussed how strong that monster was compared to Li Cheng. Everyone admitted it could kill 3 men in a blink, something Li Cheng might not manage. Both leaders conceded they couldn't match it either. Daebangji recalled when Xiao Deng once seemed weak, now he was terrifyingly powerful. One member analyzed that the monster had relied on ambush, yet all still feared a Xiao Deng Li Cheng alliance. During the argument, distant noise made Huang Ling signal silence as Li Cheng entered. He asked what was so serious. Li Cheng solemnly proposed promoting Kuang Yi for power equal to his own. Daebangji objected, citing the boy's shady origins. Huang Ling raised a hand, withholding judgment. She said Kuang Yi's strength was worthy but needed more merit to earn trust. Daebangji snapped, killing Tentacle's son wasn't enough. Huang Ling smirked, saying if he slew Tentacle's true body, all would respect him. Someone protested, calling it a death sentence in disguise. She replied mildly they'd send full forces, no one would fight alone. Xiao Deng chuckled, half joking that he'd just arrived and already became the centerpiece. They praised him, saying his power rivaled the 2 leaders. If the mission succeeded, he'd take the 3rd leader's seat. They asked if Li Cheng would mind being outshone. He calmly said he had no objection and agreed to act within 2 days. Xiao Deng only gave a cold smile. Sensing the offer was both clever and suspicious, he muttered that if he had a psychic eye, he'd see their scheme clearly. Just then, his familiar radio signal crackled from afar. Someone picked up the device, confirming it was Xiao Deng's. Lai Huang caught the signal, asked for status, and got his reply. Xiao Deng ordered all elite fighters to gather at the southern park at dawn. He said it was time to end the threat in South City. Hearing that, Lai Huang relayed the message, advising the elders to stay in guard base. They agreed, warning the strike team to be extra cautious. This mission was unlike any before. Xiao chose 7 members: Zhang Qia, Xiao Kai, San San, Zixian, Li Xiao, Chen Ji, and Chen Rong. The boy Xoixoi eagerly begged to join. Adults refused, saying it was a grown-up battle. But the kid insisted he was a man now. His mother smiled, believing his current strength could handle zombies. Lai Huang supported it, promising to watch him during combat. The squad boarded vehicles and headed for the battlefield. Upon arrival, Daebangji pointed this was the target zone. Xiao Deng asked how they'd lure the monster, but was told to wait for the signal. He quietly studied the terrain. Sensing odd signs, danger crept subtly through the area. From afar, a flash of light on a rooftop drew attention. Lai Huang used binoculars while the team readied weapons. Xiao Deng ordered the scouts not to enter the park until given command. Ropes and hooks were prepared for a side assault. On the opposite side, Huang Ling beckoned a young boy over. The boy politely asked what she needed. She smiled coldly, telling him to enter the park, pretending to fetch spoils. Liqing immediately grew suspicious, asking what she was plotting. She replied icily, "Tentacle always seeks its son, so well give it one. When it appears, well capture it alive." The boy trembled, begging not to be bait, but Daebangji stepped up, face expressionless. He grabbed the boy's collar, threatening to kill him if he cried out. then hurled the child straight into the park. From above, Lai Hong saw it all through his scope. He shouted a warning, ordering the team to prepare for attack. Ropes dropped as the strike team slid in the battlefield. The boy screamed for help, his voice echoing through the park. A raspy voice answered, "My son." The giant tentacle monster descended, towering behind the boy. Its face was so grotesque no one dared breathe. Lai Qing panicked, shouting to rescue the child since the beast was trapped. But he was stopped mid-step. Someone reminded him, "Don't forget the glory belongs to Kuang Yi." Lai Qing sneered coldly, seeing through their vile plot. He veered left, sprinting. He reached out, yanking the boy away before the tentacle could strike. He held the child tightly. With a burst of strength, he hurled him toward the team. Lai Hong caught him safely. Lai Qing's glasses fell, glinting in the light. The monster roared, wrapping its tentacles, screaming, "Return my son!" The squad outside panicked. Cries of Kuang Yi, "Hang in there!" echoed loudly. Suddenly, De Bangji and Huang Ling seized Xiao Deng's arms. Lai Qing shouted furiously, "What are you doing?" De Bangji growled, "Let him die, it's fitting." He planned to use the chaos to kill Xiao Deng and blame the beast. Xiao Deng narrowed his eyes, realizing their betrayal. "So you planned to erase me from the start?" His voice rang firm. "Let me tell you why. Because I know your secret, your human-eating trade." Everyone froze, faces pale. Xiao Deng pulled the trigger, gunfire burst, smoke flaring as they stumbled back. From afar, Lai Hong's squad opened, covering fire. Soy and the youth team charged in with Molotovs. "Uncle X Xiao Deng, we're here to help," they shouted. They hurled flaming bombs from a safe range. The tentacle monster flailed wildly, smashing some bottles aside, but flames clung to its flesh, igniting the park in red fire. The creature howled, charging madly at Soy like a father finding his lost son. It roared, "My son!" shaking the entire park. Soy cursed angrily. He hadn't expected the beast to be this tough, but it growled back like a scolding parent. "No swearing," Xiao Deng warned. "Careful, this thing isn't your regular zombie." Chen Sung dashed in recklessly. Teammates shouted warnings. The monster's tentacles lashed furiously, but Chen Sung dodged gracefully like dancing. Far away, another group got caught in a firefight. Another mutant had appeared. This one was cooperating with humans. Shocking everyone, the beast wrapped Chen Sung tight, squeezing to crush his bones. He strained his muscles, tearing the tentacles apart piece by piece. Yet more grew, striking Chen Rong relentlessly. Chen Sung lipped to block, catching the blow with both arms. The impact shoved him back several meters. He laughed. "Ha! Wrong. You've met your match." De Bangji snarled, "You're laughing now." Kuang Yi. Xiao Deng calmly ripped off one of the monster's main tentacles. Everyone froze. That was the core limb. Someone recalled the monster had just called him Uncle X Xiao Deng. Huang Ling gasped. A Heng once said the Cherdip city leader was also named Kuang Xiao Deng. De Bangji roared, "Damn it, we've been tricked all along." They realized this was the elite force from the rival zone. Their strongest rival matched Li Cheng's power and wielded rare weapons. And the most dangerous of them was Kuang Yi, or rather, Kuang Xiao Deng himself. His strength rivaled any mutant creature alive. Both sides realized continuing the fight would bring massive losses. Huang Ling suddenly whispered, "De Bang, stall them, I've got another plan." De Bangji roared, swinging his weapon hard at Xiao Deng's squad. Explosions thundered, smoke filling the air. A warning flare blinked from afar. A shout came, "Watch out, rocks incoming." Stones flew like artillery shells. Everyone ducked behind trees, confused and angry. What the hell are they doing? Huang Ling lunged straight toward Soy. A young man stepped in front, yelling, "Don't shoot the kid, take me instead." But Huang Ling struck first, a kick fierce as a storm. He was flung backward, shocking everyone. "Damn, she's strong." Huang Ling grabbed Sui by the neck, lifting him high. She snarled coldly, "Speak, choose life or death." Soy's face turned pale, but he shouted, "You won't use me as a hostage." Huang Ling sneered, "Tough little brat." Then she punched him repeatedly until he reeled. The tentacle monster roared in agony. "My son!" Chen Sung leapt up, clinging to its head to hold it back. It howled violently, ready to devour everyone. Xiao Deng shouted, "Sung, let go." Chen Sung froze, confused. "Why?" He pointed at the enemy. "Is about to go suicidal, fight more and we're done." Seeing Soy still alive, Huang Ling ordered everyone to lower their weapons. She said coldly, "Release the child. I'll trade my life as hostage." She dropped Soy, signaling surrender. Huang Ling laughed esily. "Ha! That scared look, you really hit the weak spot." De Bang hissed, "If Soy dies, his mother will haunt us forever." Huang Ling barked, "Drop your weapons, retreat 100 meters. Lai Hong reluctantly signaled the team to obey. She continued, "Tentacle beast, follow me." But at that moment, a giant tentacle lashed forward. Someone screamed, "Sister Ling, dodge." She paled, dropped Soy, and flipped away. Several men nearby were struck, blood spraying. De Bang yelled, "Akang, watch out." Akang hit the ground. Stunned. Wasn't the monster under control? Xiao Deng stood still, eyes unnervingly calm. Everyone watched his every move in tension. Lai Hong dashed in, pulling Soy from danger. He soothed, "Stay calm. Kid, you'll be fine." But instantly, tentacle wrapped Soy's leg, hoisting him up. The creature roared with a strange tenderness. "My son, Soy." Xiao Deng laughed, stepping forward, saying coldly, "See, I promised Jiang Sheng dies. Your child lives and I keep my word." Soy burst out, crying and laughing. "Dad, it's really you." He hugged his father tightly amid ruins. Tears mixing with smoke, Daebangji sat up, snarling, "What is this, a damn family drama? We're done." Amid the chaos, Zhang Sheng seized the chance to strike back. He controlled a tentacle, launching it at Debang in ambush. Debang failed to dodge. Caught and dangling midair, he screamed to Huangling, "Don't just stand there, cut it." But Huangling only stared. Frozen, she turned and fled, leaving him. Debang roared, "You dare betray me." As she ran, Huangling thought fast, "Even together we can't win, better let Debang stall it." But the monster switched targets, swinging its tentacle after her. Huangling was struck down, crashing face first onto the cement. Her glasses shattered, slicing her cheek open. She cursed under her breath. "Damn it." Zhang Sheng's corpse grabbed her, dragging her back with slimy tentacles. Debangji laughed madly. "Ha! Now you taste betrayal too." Meanwhile, Leching gripped his gun, knowing he could rely only on himself. Behind him, Lai Hong's squad advanced. Leching turned and saw Xiao Deng already standing silently behind him. Xiao Deng whispered, "Don't act, it'll keep you safe." Debang roared, "Leching, you betrayed me." But at that instant, tentacles yanked Bang straight toward Jiang Sheng's corpse. A crushing blow smashed down, the ground cracking apart. Daebang's body was pulverized, blood flooding the concrete. Huangling was lifted like a puppet, tentacles squeezed tight, blood spurting violently. She screamed, then fell silent. The battlefield turned into hell, stinking of blood and iron. Both sides froze, only heavy breathing echoing. A system message flashed before Xiaodong Villain Nemesis Mission 3 complete threat eliminated. Potential ally secured, reward 80 points, total 151. He chuckled, potential ally, must mean Jiang Sheng's corpse. He turned to Li Cheng, "So, anything else you want to ask?" Li Cheng asked sternly, "You're from Trad Deep Zone in East City, right? What about that cannibal rumor?" Xiaodong replied calmly, "My evolution came from luck, nothing more." Li Cheng caught the hint, not everyone was that lucky, and grimly recalled painful memories. A vision returned of a crying child saying, "I want to eat meat too." A man beside her soothed, "Be good, let me eat for you, I'll get stronger and protect you." Li Cheng had murmured apologetically to the mother, "Sorry, the child doesn't know any better," had once shared a rare can of meat with that girl, gently saying, "It's okay, let her have some." But the mother refused in fear. Another memory slashed back like a knife. Someone screamed, "Wake up, another person's missing." Tentacles back, then came cries, "My daughter, where's my daughter?" Remembering that, Li Cheng felt sick, heart aching. He clenched his teeth, stepping toward Huangling's corpse, eyes burning red. In rage, he slashed her body to pieces, shouting, "Monster, traitor!" After venting his fury, he exhaled shakily, exhausted. Turning to Xiao Deng, he asked coldly, "Do you people also eat humans to evolve?" Lai Huang cut in sharply, "You think everyone's beasts like them?" Xiao Deng smiled calmly. "Relax, we've got another way, we know more than you think." He took out a crystal-clear stone glowing blue and tossed it to Li Cheng. "It's a mutant core from dead zombies or evolved humans, replaces human flesh, stronger and morally clean." Li Cheng frowned, "No side effects?" "Really?" Xiao Deng met his gaze, voice low, "You felt it, the stronger you get, the harder to control emotion. Violence excites you, doesn't it?" Li Cheng bowed his head, voice cracking, "That's true. So what happens to me then?" he asked. Kwang Xiao Deng answered, "You can't undo it but stop eating humans, and you can still reign in the madness." He glanced toward Jiang Sheng's corpse, suspicion flickering, yet Jiang Sheng's corpse still managed to communicate with Liu Li. Kwang's voice trembled with emotion as he bowed, thanking his son for saving his father. Hearing that, Xiao Deng choked slightly, hurriedly correcting, No, I meant Director Kwang's son. Right? Kang Xiaodong smiled and motioned to stop. "Enough. I get your point." Like Song Jia, the mutation muddled his speech. His mind stayed sharp, but that look would terrify people back at the camp. He gazed at Kang with quiet understanding, seeing his child safe. His heart finally rested. Zhang Xingji gave a thumbs up, grinning. "Boss Kang, truly a wise sage." He turned to Li Cheng, sternly, "Crisis is over, resume rebuilding the West Wind Factory." Li Cheng shook his head gloomily. "I once ate human flesh, am unworthy to lead." Kang Xiaodong pondered, then his eyes lit up. "You'll lead West Wind Factory, Li Cheng will follow me to Ziamai Tang." He rested a calming hand on Li Cheng's shoulder. "The demon inside you will help you slay it." Scene shifts to Border City as she, now drowning in chaos, a scream echoes out. "Help me." The crowd ahead snapped. "Dunt has done for." The boy was cornered as heavy zombies closed in. His friends shut their eyes and bolted, abandoned. He was snared by twisted leaves dragging him into darkness. Treeman savagely ended him amid chilling screams. When the beasts withdrew, only torn remains were left. The leaves swarmed again, devouring the scraps. What lingered still struggled to reclaim its body. Escaped students panted, a girl gasped. "I'm out of breath." A boy barked. "Tired or not, run. Slow means dead." Suddenly someone raised a hand. "Wait." They heard wind whistling from afar. Wind. We're near the forest edge. Hope flared, but a dreadful thudding erupted ahead. Panic, they sprinted wildly. Run! We're almost out, don't die now. They dashed toward the end of the path. Seeing city lights ahead, they gasped. We're out of the woods. A woman cheered, pointing forward. We won. We're saved. But a vine suddenly whipped down from above. It coiled tightly around the woman, then yanked her up toward a gaping, monstrous flower. A gruesome gulp silenced her final scream. Half her body fell before her friends, a tragic end. Xiao Tong. Heavens, Xiao Tong. Wake up, someone sobbed. But the sounds of pursuit grew closer, the tree beasts advancing. A boy screamed amid the panic. He grabbed the crying friend, shouting, Xiao Tong's dead. If you want to live, snap out of it. I'm sorry. The 4 survivors fled headlong from the haunted forest. The treemen halted at the forest edge. They froze, as if uncertain, then suddenly turned and charged straight toward the nearby city. The 4 survivors stood stunned, eyes wide with horror. A girl recognized the terrain. Wait, I know this place. This is the suburban park of City. We're out of the woods. Another cheered, then faltered. Weird, no one's here. The city's dead silent, probably evacuated. Someone guessed. After what happened in cities, makes sense. As relief came, unease crept back in. A lone figure slowly emerged from the street ahead. A survivor. Someone called, hey, where's the evacuation site? But when they saw Zhang Xingji's face, everyone went pale. The plant growths wrapping his body quivered eerily. The group panicked and bolted again. Only Zhang Xingji stood there, puzzled why they feared him. After running a while, the 4 stopped, panting. Is it chasing? No, doesn't seem so. One trembled. What's going on? Why are plant monsters outside the forest too? Has the whole world collapsed? If so, where can we even go? Suddenly, heavy noises rumbled again from the woods. Giant tree monsters burst out, roaring hideously. They're here too. Damn it, we're surrounded. One dropped to his knees, despairing. It's over, we should have stayed. At least died slower there. The creatures lunged before they could think. A young man drew a knife, eyes red. I'd rather die by my hand than be torn apart. Just then, a pitch-black tentacle whipped out from the dark. It smashed the tree monsters, saving them instantly. The figure emerged. It was Zhang Xingji. His eyes were calm but cold as steel. What is this? Someone stammered. Scene cuts to the central fortress. On the rooftop, Kang Xiaodong stood in the wind, surveying the land serenely. System voice chimed in. Mission Utopia executing. Progress West Wind Steel Factory branch complete. 20 points. Total 231. Bonus 80. He laughed. Another pile of points. How do I even spend them all? He opened the menu. Weapon supply LV220s. Ability supply LV3100s. Black tech supply LV250 piece. Refresh cost 4 p8s. He muttered excitedly. Level 3. Level 2 is insane. This'll blow the sky. Without thinking, he bought all 3. Weapon box gave an armored jeep ability LV3 granted the Nodric mark can enslave 1 foe. Black tech V2 rewarded 30 strength boost pills. Only 1 slave. Kang Xiaodong frowned, read, then decided to wait and observe with Li Qing. System beeped again. Mission Utopia update. Defend the shelter from an invasion. Reward tense. New mission weed eradication. I eliminate mutated plant threat. Reward 100 teats. Kang Xiaodong frowned. You really want me to do gardening? Suddenly, the radio blared. Xiaodong, you hear me? Swan's father's in trouble, come quick. Zombies. What's going on? He muttered, piecing clues suspecting it's tied to Kang Shuling's faction. Without delay, he dragged along a grass monster and sped toward the source. From afar, Xuan ran up, pale-faced. Dad, she cried, voice breaking. Zhang Xingji rasped, warped by mutation. My son and his wedding. Kang Xiaodong chuckled helplessly. He means wife. The mutation scrambled his speech center. Father and daughter embraced, tears mixing hope and despair. Meanwhile, Kang Xiaodong crouched, inspecting a mutated grass sample. Yep, this is the culprit. He smirked. A fine epileptic stir-free special. Li Qing laughed, then grew serious. Let me clarify, we're from cities. The whole place got swallowed by forest people turned into tree monsters just like these. Plant assimilation? Kang Xiaodong mused. Well, Sidium is not faring much better. Li Qing nodded grimly. Yeah, most here have already become zombies. He pointed east, behind that collapsed wall. 2 streets down, an armored jeep. Send someone to fetch it later. Got it. Kang Xiaodong nodded firmly. Now follow me. We're heading to the border between the 2 cities to assess the situation. Soon, the group returned to the forest edge where they once escaped death. Kang Xiaodong crouched, noting how the vines had grown taller in mere moments. He said quietly but firmly, we must enter the forest. Huh, boss. It's full of monsters in there. That's suicide. Someone yelled in panic. If we ignore it, the forest will swallow West Wind Factory. Kang Xiaodong warned, then humans will have nowhere left. He looked up, eyes gleaming. But first, there's something important we need to do. Do what? Someone asked. Kang Xiaodong squinted mysteriously. Give you all the means to fight back. Call Old Li and the steelworkers. For the next few days, we'll pour everything into forging weapons for West Wind Factory. Days later, as a zombie, now a corpse, it heard a strange sound behind it. It turned its head slowly. No one was there, only eerie howling wind. It didn't know Kang Xiaodong was already behind it, sword flashing like lightning. One clean slash zombie split in half before realizing. The group behind opened fire and unleashed combo attacks. Piles of corpses rose, brass casings rained like metallic hail. Kang Xiaodong calmly bent down, extracting energy cores from rotting skulls. Elsewhere, a scream pierced the air. Zombies. Again, a hulking zombie appeared, mutated yet sane, growling. Where are the living? All gone. Another rushed it, shrieking madly. The giant's hand seized and crushed it instantly. It sighed warily. I'm sick of zombie meat, give me some humans already. Then suddenly, it sniffed something familiar. The scent of living flesh stirred its instincts. It turned, spotting Kang Xiaodong's team slaying zombies. Its leader's voice echoed. Do not leave base without orders. Relax, Auntie, someone muttered. Boss Kang's handling this zone. Move in. But from afar, the giant zombie grinned wickedly. So there are humans, and untouched ones too. Fresh energy. Delicious. It licked its lips, but seeing their weapons, thought, I can't take them alone, better wait. Drooling, it retreated into the shadows. Inside a room, Kang Xiaodong refreshed his system menu. Success. He called over the radio. Hello, Boss Zhang. Gather the team, urgent meeting. Soon everyone assembled. Kang Xiaodong laughed. My hunters never disappoint. 3 days and the storage is overflowing. He turned to Li Hongli and Zhang Ji. How do we split these mutant spoils? You two gain too much, it's unfair. Li Hongli scratched his head. Credit belongs to Xiaodong and his men. But if you've decided, well, comply. Exactly, he said. Better to arm a few elites than spread the gear thin among the weak. Everyone nodded. True. Old Li, just take it. Xiaodong's never wrong. Kang Xiaodong turned to Jian Jian. Come with me. The two left the room, seeking a quiet spot. Jane asked nervously, Brother Xiaodong, what are you planning? The air grew thick with tension and mystery. A curious eavesdroppers pressed their ears against the wall. His voice came through. It'll hurt a bit, hang in there. Moments later, the door burst open with a bang. The listeners jumped, nearly falling over. That fast. Brother Xiaodong, someone snickered. Kang Xiaodong dragged Zhang Ji in, teasing, too weak. Buddy, bear with it. Ow, go easy. Brother Xiaodong, he shoved Zhang Zi onto the floor, shouting boldly, O power of ability, awaken! Zhan had just received a live vaccine shot, face scrunched in pain. Zhang Ji laughed. Did you just pass me your energy? I've eaten enough mutant cores, I'm a pro now. Kang Xiaodong smirked, then spar with Shan. Zhang Ji waved frantically. No way! I can't hit a girl. Ha! Gentlemen! Huh! Kang Xiaodong roared with laughter. Shan, show him what honesty gets. You said full force, right? Shan grinned. Zhang Ji grinned back. Easy, I'm invincible now. Before he finished, Shan's hammer punch sent him flying, teeth scattering. Luckily, two bystanders caught him before he crashed into the wall. Kang Xiaodong laughed hard. I just gave Shan strength enhancers. Now only I and Song can take her on. Zhang Ji rubbed his head awkwardly. Thought I was your closest. Guess I was wrong. Someone chuckled. Come on, Brother Xiaodong doesn't win hearts with hugs. When things calmed, Kang Xiaodong spoke seriously. Dung, Lai Ching, and you two, Zhoxing, get ready to head into cities with me. Me, Zhoxing Kai yelped. Nope, I just escaped that hell. I'm not going back. Kang Xiaodong's voice turned cold. We helped you, now it's your turn. You've got family, right? I have no one left. Don't make me go, let me stay as a laborer. After a long silence, he gritted his teeth and nodded. Fine, I'll go. Scene shifts western outskirts of City M. Kang Xiaodong muttered. If I recall, it's around here. He frowned, cursing. Damn it, my brain's dull. Not eating humans really weakens me. Just then, a rustle came from nearby bushes. Bingo, this is the spot, he confirmed, eyes narrowing. A young man peeked out from a hidden door. Inside, a group of wary but alert men and women hid. He coughed deliberately to signal Ahem, that guy dares come back. Someone hissed. Relax, I'm not here to steal, just bringing info. The young man waved. Info. Kang Xiaodong squinted. You, caring about others? Don't act noble. It's true, he blurted. I found pure humans armed and strong. Can't handle them alone. Need allies. The four inside exchange wary, hungry looks. Then they grinned. Fine, well, trust you once. But if you lie, you're dessert. No lies, I swear. He nodded frantically. Good, then you're one of us. Come on, join the fun. Fun indeed. One laughed darkly. Wave him closer. Scene cuts to Kang Xiaodong. Squatty warned. Careful, don't touch leaves or vines, something could lurk beneath. He asked, what's your name again? Zhoxing. The man replied, Ha! A true warrior. Kang Xiaodong clapped his shoulder. Your team fled, yet you still came brave. Zhou said grimly. My girlfriend was killed by tree monsters. My parents are trapped inside. If there's a chance to save them, I'll go. Kang Xiaodong nodded, commanding, I'll lead. Le Qing covers the rear. Dung and Xiaodong flank Zhou as our only guide. If he dies, we're lost. Thanks for saving me, Zhou murmured. Misunderstanding. Kang Xiaodong smirked. We're not saving you, we're saving humanity from this forest. Suddenly, a vine brushed his face from above. What the hell? He frowned, feeling its icy slime. Zhoxing K's eyes widened as he screamed. Get it off! You're hit! The vine coiled his neck, dragging him toward a gaping plant maw. We're doomed. That thing swallowed a tank, but Kang Xiaodong gritted his teeth. Gripping the vine and pulling back hard, he refused to let it retract even an inch. A violent snap echoed. The monster's tongue tore out, a lump of purple flesh thudding to the ground. Kang Xiaodong laughed. Bon Appetit Forest Special. The vine slipped off him as the beast slithered away like a headless snake. Running. Huh! He roared, charging after, still twitching. Are you? Zhang Xingji unleashed massive tentacles. They wrapped the carnivorous tree tight, pinning it immobile. Kang Xiaodong gathered his strength, then yanked with a fatal pull, leaving the creature crushed and shattered beneath his feet. Suddenly, its maw spewed murky green gas. Smells nice. He sniffed, then instantly grimaced. Poison gas. Everyone, fall back. But when he turned, he froze. No one was around. Zoxing, where is everyone? The young man collapsed, dizzy, mumbling, what's happening? He saw his teammates standing still as statues, eyes blank. Hey, what's wrong with you guys? A chilling rustle came from the bushes. A shadow flashed by, making Zhou flinch. Who's there? A familiar face appeared. Xin Kai. Xiao Tong. You're still alive. The girl waved frantically. It's dangerous there. Come here. Quick. Zhu's heart pounded. Eyes wet. They're really alive. I'm coming, he cried, rushing toward her. Scene shifts to another group, half-human, half-monster beings. They pointed ahead, eyes gleaming. Look, the target's right there. One inhaled deeply, drooling. Such sweet human scent. Calm down. Another growled. Just a little don't go wild. But one already snapped, lunging like a starving beast. Idiot! Someone cursed. Another hissed. Told you to wait for the signal. Fresh meat and you lose it again? A guard spotted movement and shouted. Who's there? Stop. Sirens blared. Intruders. Prepare for combat. But before they could react, the half-mutant sank his teeth into the guard's shoulder. Zombie. Fire. Shoot now. Chaos erupted as Lei Huang rushed out. Damn it, the situation's gone bad. Gunmen trembled. Shells clattering. Bullets hit. But the mutant only grew wilder. Eyes blazing red, he lunged at a shooter, jaws wide. But Lei Huang struck first, his punch sending the creature flying several meters. The mutant staggered up, screeching madly. Lei Huang gave no chance, unloading nonstop fire until the barrel glowed. The half-beast howled and fled in panic. Get the wounded to medical now. Lei Huang barked. The injured creature crawled, blood painting the ground. After a few steps, he collapsed. From the shadows, his comrades emerged, grinning. Got shot rushing in. Huh, now lie there. Idiot, don't just stand, fetch me some flesh. I need to heal, the wounded one rasped. Who the hell are you ordering? A cold voice snapped. Now's not the time to gorge. Fool. Another growled. Suddenly, a woman stepped up behind him. Enough talk, she said, kicking his neck hard. He dropped. What are you doing? Fewer mouths, fewer problems, she said coldly, finishing him off, then asked. So what now? The foods hold up in the factory will arm too. One sneered. Easy, don't forget we're still human, not zombies. Just stroll and calmly any suspicion. Cut them down. Scene shifts to Kang Xiaodong. Xin Kai still staggered. Trapped in hallucination. Why does my head feel light? He muttered. From afar, Xiao Tong's voice called. Hurry, over here. Here, quick, coming. Zhou answered, eyes glassy. Just then, a branch shot out like a spear, piercing straight through Xiao Tong's body. What was hit wasn't human, it was a false decoy. Xiao Tong, Zhou screamed, tears streaming. Kang Xiaodong appeared, shouting, impressive illusion. Even I nearly fell for it. Why? Why did you kill my Xiao Tong? Zhou wailed. You're Xiao Tong. Kang Xiaodong pointed. Look closer, what is that? His roar snapped Zhou awake. Zhou turned, horrified to see Xiao Tong, now a man-eating plant, roots soaked in blood. No way! He slapped his head, yelling, wake up! Lai Qing also broke free from the illusion, dazed, mumbling nonsense about transport ships, history, and Earth. Zhang Xingzi muttered, I dreamed I was picking my son up from school. Kang Xiaodong said grimly, got it, the flower emits hallucinogenic gas. He knelt to inspect the giant root. Lai Qing asked, what are you looking for? It's mutant core. He exhaled, nothing, it's just a puppet. The real body's elsewhere. Vines around the base dug deep underground, showing the controller was far below. He kept digging, then froze. Huh, what's this? He pulled out a head-sized lump like a giant potato, probably the plant's nutrient pod. Keep it, might be edible. He smirked, then asked Zhou, you know anything about this species? Not much, just that they eat anything living, but Olda might know. Olda! Kang Xiaodong frowned. Expert from the Agroforest Institute. I stayed with him before we fled, no idea if he's alive now. Good? Kang Xiaodong nodded. Take me to him. As night fell, across the city, a woman pretended to be injured. Staggering toward a guard post, she collapsed at the gate, crying weakly. Guards rushed over immediately. A survivor. She's alive. One shouted, wait. Another warned, don't rush. But the woman smiled faintly, shedding her coat. Her alluring figure stunned them. One guard tried to stay calm. We should report first. Report. She's dying. Another barked. Get her inside before zombies come. Miss, you okay? Help me, she gasped. You're safe now, the guard said, helping her in. Not far away, 3 half-human mutants watched, grinning. Hiff, they took the bait. She's an Oscar-dear actress of the apocalypse. Right, she had that guard eating from her hand in seconds. Compared to her, I'm an amateur. After a steamy encounter, she smirked and entered the factory compound. Kang Xiaodong frowned at the darkened sky, the forest now pitch black. The path unclear. Almost there, said Xingkai shortly. Suddenly, someone called from afar. He saw a familiar woman waving. It was Aunt Yang. Xingkai rubbed his eyes, his wound blurring his vision. Kang Xiaodong reassured, not an illusion, it's real people. Xingkai cheered, recognizing Aunt Yang's group, but they stayed wary, thinking it was a trap. Someone in the group accused him of mutating, not human anymore. Aunt Yang barked, no arguing, prepare to fight. She led the charge, weapons gleaming. Kang Xiaodong inhaled deeply, holding back anger to stay calm. Arrows whistled through the air. With a flick of his hand, they clattered down as if striking iron walls. He shouted loudly, ordering them to stop at once. The other side panicked. Aunt Yang yelled, ceasefire. Xingkai quickly explained they weren't enemies but life-saving allies. They came from the forest, they saved us. Aunt Yang hesitated, asking about their missing teammates, especially Xiaotong. Xingkai's voice cracked. Half their group was dead. Xiaodong said they'd explain after returning, seeing their pale faces and wounds. Aunt Yang's team remained suspicious. They all looked half dead themselves. Xingkai reassured them they were allies. He nudged his companions to say something to ease the tension. Zhang Xing chuckled awkwardly, while Xiang flexed his muscles, making everyone burst out laughing. Aunt Yang sighed. Xingkai quickly added they truly were benefactors. All right then, come on over. Aunt Yang agreed. They left the forest, heading toward the steel plant. Uncle Li, at the gate open up, she heard strange noises ahead. 3 half-human creatures appeared. Seeing her leave, they exhaled in relief. One whispered hungrily, that girl's a pure evolved human. No way, another muttered. But if we eat her, our power spikes. At the plant, Shen entered. Li Huang greeted her and asked about the wounded. Shen glanced at the boy wrapped head to toe in bandages. She handed over anti-infection serum, saying Xiaodong ordered it for zombie bites. They'd been bitten hours ago without turning. Li Huang suspected the attacker wasn't a zombie, but something worse. The disguised woman quickly said, West City's crawling with creatures, not zombies, but they bite viciously. Li Huang narrowed his eyes. Who are you? A survivor from West City. She stammered. She shivered, saying the mutants both eat and think she barely escaped on a bike. Li Huang said coldly, you mean they followed you here? She panically denied it. Shan softened. Don't blame her, anyone would run to live. Li Huang nodded. All right, continue. And she warned the monsters were coming soon, they must prepare. Useful intel, Li Huang said, ordering rest and high alert. He told them to feed the wounded and keep night watch. One member agreed, but Shan still eyed the woman suspiciously. Don't know why, she feels off, Shan whispered. Li Huang calmed her, saying stress made her jumpy, then praised her for covering Xiaodong's duties. Meanwhile, Kang Xiaodong reached the building ahead. He wondered why they picked this place instead of sealed workshops. Xingkai explained. He pointed out the thick toxic mist below. Those who breathed it long enough turned into plants. Only height kept them alive. Upstairs first, then we'll talk, someone urged. Xingkai introduced Xiaodong to Old He, saying he'd saved them. Xiaodong shared that things outside the forest were just as bad. Old He invited him and Dung inside to discuss. Xingkai said had briefed everyone already. Hearing that, the two finally stepped in confidently. Old He asked about other cities, and Xiaoyong gloomily said none had real rescue. He showed Old He a strange root sample to see if he recognized it. The old man nodded. It was what Aunt Yang had sought and recently found edible. It tasted like taro and filled you up. Now a luxury in the apocalypse. Xiaoyong laughed in agreement. Suddenly, a scream shattered the talk. Something's happening. Xiaoyong pressed for news. The informant trembled. Plan types. They're surrounding the building. How many? Enough to block every exit. Someone cursed. Sweat pouring. A man tried joking. Scared already, but no one laughed. Olda frowned. What's a flower car? The scariest thing there is. The man answered, pale as chalk. Zhang Xiaoyong fell silent, eyes cold as steel. He ordered, women and kids upstairs, find sealed rooms. The strong stay with me. Hurry, no time left, survive first, whoever lives. Run. The group scattered in panic, footsteps thundering up the stairs. Olda urged, young man, go, don't die for nothing. Xiaoyong just smirked, eyes curious, want to see what monster scares people this bad. Olda watched by the window. Racing, Xiaoyong moved slow but firm, tense as a drawn bow. Didn't even see its face yet, and the lackeys already tried to kill me, he muttered. The old man wheezed. Xiaoyong squinted, suspecting the flower car controlled the plants. Old He agreed, saying it used pheromone-like scent signals to command the swarm, and it was closing in. Without hesitation, Xiaoyong kicked open the window. Wind howling in. Olda gasped. What are you doing? Testing their strength, he said, drawing his gun in a flash. Olda gaped. Where'd that come from? Gunfire cracked through the floor. Bullets tore through plant bodies, spraying green fluid, but the wounds sealed up smooth right after. Xiaoyong narrowed his eyes, smirking. Quick recovery, let's see the limit. He kept firing nonstop, explosions echoing. The whole magazine emptied. blasting chunks off the creature. Bits flew everywhere, shrieks echoing. Finally it collapsed, motionless. He muttered, 2 mags for 1. Ikes! Seong flung open a weapon crate. Steel glinting made everyone freeze. He pried off a wooden lid barehanded like snapping a stick. Olda gawked. You did that without a crowbar. Seong smirked, pulling out bottles of Molotovs. If any get in, toss these without mercy. Get in? What do you mean? Oldha asked, startled. Before he finished, Seong leapt out the window. His body shot through the 16th floor air like an iron bird. Olda screamed, you're insane, that's the 16th floor. But Seong, Zhang Sheng, and Ixang landed light as leaves. The plant type sensed life and roared forward. Seong grabbed one by the head and twisted till it cracked. Green blood splattered, stinking thick. Seong punched like a storm, smashing freakish trunks. Corpses fell, soil turning slime-colored. Zhang Sheng's tendrils sliced dozens clean in half. From above, Olda stared down stunned. Are they even human? Leching beside him shouted. Focus! Stop gawking, prepare for stragglers. If you're strong, grab a Molotov, guard the halls. Others, clear flammables. Got it, they roared, working fast, spirits blazing. At last, the monsters were wiped out, corpses strewn like a trampled vegetable field. Seong kicked one away, dusted his hands, and said coldly, done. He told Zhang Sheng and Xiao to check for any mutant cores in the pile. As for him, he went to see what the flower car really was. In the hall, escaped ones burned to ash, someone said. Fire's their nemesis. Leching nodded, but credit goes to Brother Lai and Brother Jiang. He called everyone downstairs. All clear. It's over. Someone asked. Where's Brother Jiang? Huh, he's gone. By then, Seong was deep in the forest, air thick with stench and toxic smoke. Before him loomed a massive, twisted nightmare, the flower car. So it's you, he said softly. Eyes icy. So this is your true form. Huh. Suddenly the ground quaked. Toxic gas spewing violently. Branches lashed like steel whips. He dodged fast as lightning. Not bad. He laughed. Power on par with Zhang Sheng. Battle hunger flashed in his eyes. Too bad I've got experience with tentacled freaks like you. He flung thin steel threads, wrapping the flower car tight, locking its every move. The monster roared, spewing clouds of poison from its fanged maw. Ha! Useless. Seong smirked. I've seen your kind before. He took a deep breath, ignoring the toxins flooding his lungs. Then he charged straight through the smoky haze. A shriek tore the air as he dove like a black spear into the monster's heart. Its huge body convulsed and dropped to its knees. Seong activated his power, his body glowing faintly. Energy sigil spread along his arm. Power gathered in his palm. Black light flickering like thunder. He slammed it into the flower on the creature's chest. Burst of dark energy exploded, swallowing the entire forest. Back at the building, Olda screamed, the flower car's core still alive. It's coming here. He looked out the window, trembling. That shadow will never forget it. Where's Xiaoyong? Don't tell me he. Suddenly Xiaoyong's voice echoed from afar. Zhang Sheng. Seong. Done yet? Any mutant cores among the corpses? Zhang Sheng replied vaguely. Some dunt. Some double. Yong explained. Means frequencies high but uneven. Olda groaned. One talks in riddles, the other like a child. My head hurts. Before he could ask more, Xiaoyong walked out of the woods, pointing back. The flower cart's ours now. Relax. It won't hurt anyone, he said, eyes gleaming like he'd tamed a divine beast. Olda tremblingly reached out. The creature lay still, motionless. He exhaled deeply, eyes mixed with fear and awe. You really tamed it, he murmured, then looked at Xiaoyong admiringly. How did you do that? Xiaoyong stayed silent, redirecting the question, asking Olda to analyze the strange organism. He wondered if plant instincts still existed after mutation. Olda studied carefully, comparing plant survival struggles with animal brutality. Tall trees seized the light while small grass withered, thinning the forest. He guessed the flower car grew savage from losing height. Forced to hunt to live, its tendrils slowly stretched, testing its surroundings. Leching instantly prepared to react. He stood ready to strike, warning teammates to stay alert. Seong stayed calm, halting them, observing how the flower car would respond. A tendril lightly coiled around his neck, but he stayed calm. Suddenly the creature struck hard, leaving a bleeding slash. Xiaoyong sensed danger but hadn't fully grasped the situation. He asked what would happen next. Oldha explained the city was now a survival arena. Mutant plants had to hunt animals to live. He stared ahead, commanding the flower car, deciding to solve its survival issue. From its cocoon, the true body emerged. The mutant creature revealed a grotesque form. It moved slowly through the dark. The being clung to his hand, trying to merge with his body. Leching readied himself for the new development. He scratched his head, glanced around, greeting the group casually. Xiaoyong realized the creature had become symbiotic with him. He placed his hand on it, feeling their connection. Instantly, tendrils from his arms sensed like shared consciousness. The creature wrapped a nearby tree tightly. In a blink, the trunk was torn apart, debris flying everywhere. He was stunned. The creature's strength surpassed his own tendrils. A notification popped in his head. Gardener achievement unlocked. 153 points earned. He smiled. First time achieving something. The group decided to retreat, sealing the creature behind. At the steel factory, Tension filled the air. A seductive woman knocked, joking about another fish on the hook. She frowned suspiciously as a cheerful young man entered with late-night snacks. She stayed sharp yet alluring, doubting his motives. The young man insisted it was voluntary, full of resolve. His gaze turned crazed as he lunged. She stayed calm, gently questioning his move. He stammered, apologizing, flustered by her composure. They changed plans, opting to go out for a risky adventure. She agreed, smiling brightly. Strange noises came from a nearby car. Moments later, the man panted, dressing again, exhausted. He praised her beauty and curiously asked her name. He glanced at a trash bin, noticing something off, picking up a strange shirt. He froze signs of a missing acquaintance. Inside were clothes from multiple vanished victims. Before he processed it, danger loomed close. The woman's shadow twisted, killing intent flashing in an instant. His neck was clamped tight, soul and breath crushed alike. Elsewhere in the wasteland, another story began with a nap at the worst time. A freak dreaming sweetly got booed awake by a spike shoe justice combo. The gatekeeper argued he just rested his eyelids, not his brain. The boss roared, saying sleeping only tunes you to cosmic spam mail. The commander fumed, cursing his useless crew for finding zero clues after a shift swap. They suspected the sexy one hoarded the protein buffet for herself. Ditching the squad, the trio arrived at the scene. Discovering she'd soloed the feast outraged like losing Wi-Fi mid-movie. The second woman retorted she used her looks as a meal ticket, VIP rights included. The leader grabbed her collar, eyes glowing red like flashlight mode without batteries. He yelled, warning her not to fool the head chef by cosplaying twin sisters. A subordinate stopped him, saying choking teammates equals deleting the group's save file. The leader released her, warning not to replay Jungle Feast 2 Midnight Buffet. He swore he'd take down both if he caught them breaking the share rules. The last woman played the weak damsel, screaming for help like a lagging disaster movie heroine. She dashed to the metal gate, acting as a high-speed 5U refugee. Guards surrounded her, checking identity like scanning a QR code to board. She feigned exhaustion, claiming she'd escaped a supernatural open-world chase. One guard smirked, saying his luck stat hit 200 today. Girls kept dropping his loot. A warning voice barked behind them like a mid-match patch note. The first woman accused the newcomer of being a bugged-out mutant from the Human Hunter Guild. The newcomer screamed to shoot her fast before she could restore EP. Gunfire roared like a near remix of Life and Death. The second woman ran, but her dodge stats weren't maxed. Her body dropped, gravity switched into disappointment mode. The first shouted orders to burn the place and erase traces ASAP. When they returned with gas, the scene was spotless as if a cleanup crew had cleared the map. One yelled, scolding the team for forgetting to watch the target's respawn point. The shot woman staggered toward the rendezvous, a P-bar blinking red, the air choked, words hanging like subtitles with broken fonts. She begged for mercy, swearing lifelong loyalty like a limited edition soul contract. One growled, saying their jungle law didn't need drama queens. He raised a giant rock, ready to close the chapter. He muttered regretfully that spilled meals meant finding new sources. The woman stared helplessly, like watching a trailer she wasn't cast in. Another comrade suddenly betrayed him, slicing through the whole drama. The rockholder's head fell coldly, a freezer-grade plot twist. The ownerless boulder dropped. Shigok's script had changed writers again. Her savior grinned darkly, saying one combo payment from her would refill her. Anything extra counted as his resurrection tax. He knew survival law well. Only by killing stronger foes could one claim the bigger share. In the suffocating workshop, Lai Huang frowned. Chenza had vanished like mist. Everyone panicked. Yang Hai was missing too. Now another gone. San was caught snooping. She pretended calm to dodge suspicion. Her gaze flickered slightly, stopping at a trash pile full of discarded items. On inspection, they found Chenza's and Yang Hei's belongings inside. The disguised woman trembled, realizing her secret was about to break. The area went dead silent, no signs of struggle. That revealed a terrifying clue. She stammered, eyes wide as someone stared right at her. In that instant, San's hand morphed into a lethal weapon. She lunged like lightning, striking to kill. The enemy stumbled to dodge, making the blade stab deep into a tree trunk. The fake mask fell, exposing a feral beast beneath. San gritted her teeth, steadying herself into a defensive stance. The woman cursed, knowing she had been exposed. In panic, she grabbed a nearby man as a shield. She screamed threat. San stood cold as ice. The foe sneered, vowing to drag some down with her. She demanded guns surrendered, threatening to kill the hostage if resisted. Her blade pressed against the hostage's artery. Once she snatched a gun, she shoved the victim aside, firing wildly at their legs, then bolted away. San didn't flinch, raising her gun and firing 2 clean shots through the enemy's body. The woman still crawled in pain, making Lai Huang shout for her to stop. San wanted to chase, but Lai Huang stopped her to avoid an ambush. They agreed to tighten defenses and isolate survivors in the safe zone. San was assigned to leave for Yicheng. Lai Huang gave careful instructions before parting. He watched the once little girl now turn into a fearless warrior. On another front, Yang and Zhang Sheng were wiping out the mutant trees. The monster's tendrils lashed like steel whips, but were shredded by the duo's powerful combo strikes. Blinding energy dissolved their corpses instantly. Light flashed, The remaining teammates quickly cleared debris and treated wounds. From afar, Olda stared in disbelief, mumbling himself. Xiaoyong received a mission complete notice. Points skyrocketing, he smirked proudly. He praised Zhang Ji and Sang for their good work, then led the team back to base. A member happily reported San had gone to help at the steel plant, making Xiaoyong frown and worry. The man reassured him only minor injuries, and San brought medicine. Xiaoyong met new survivors, including Olda, expert botanist. He announced this was just a temporary shelter. They'd soon move to the forest coast to build Base 3. Xiaoyong's eyes gleamed with ambition as he spoke of future plans. Engine sounds grew near. San returned, covered in sweat and dust. Meeting Xiaoyong, she immediately reported the factory incident. Alert and wary, she warned not to trust newcomers, but Olda chuckled, trying to ease the tension. Xiaoyong nodded, quietly telling San there was good news. San was surprised. He explained the system had issued a new quest to eliminate a threat in the western outskirts. Xiaoyong narrowed his eyes, face cold as steel as he accepted the task. In the dark, another group hunted a traitor. A severely wounded woman collapsed against a cold wall. The screech of clashing metal echoed chillingly. From afar, a man approached, voice dripping with mockery. He taunted her for being abandoned. She weakly begged and excused herself. He laughed scornfully, accusing her of once plotting against him. A cold voice cut in, ordering her execution. Her comrade stabbed her chest without hesitation. Blood gushed as she cursed in despair. He calmly said she shouldn't have survived anyway. Before dying, she warned the red-haired woman that the man had betrayed their own before. The redhead stayed silent, eyes icy, unreadable. The dying woman pleaded on, blaming others in hope of mercy. The man interrupted, pretending to mediate, while the redhead spoke sweetly with hidden venom, planting new doubt. The man smirked, declaring he favored the redhead alone. Then he coldly beheaded the other, discussing body parts like trade goods. At the factory, Xiaoyong grimly confirmed the cannibal gang in the west included that same red-haired woman. When asked, Leching admitted had once been among them. He said though his mutation was mild, he understood their twisted instincts. They'd lost humanity, turning savage, driven only by bloodlust. Xiaoyong concluded they were dangerous but postponed the hunt for a more urgent mission. He put Leching in charge of defenses, ordering immediate contact if trouble arose. 2 months later, on the rooftop, the survivors whispered fearfully about strange noises echoing every night. The commander decided to pack up and leave the danger zone, but at midnight, they were ambushed by mutant trees. Screams echoed, strange noises drowning out fleeing footsteps. One was ensnared, his cry tearing through the night. Panic spread. Their escape routes were completely blocked. Someone shouted to run toward the other strange sound. Desperate, they charged that way, hoping for rescue. Exhausted, they slowed, gasping in the dark. Suddenly, someone recognized a familiar sign left by kin. A massive tree crashed down, shaking the earth violently. Someone screamed, terrified seeing that giant trunk toppled by immense power. Through the dust, they saw people sawing trees with heavy machines. Survivors shouted in joy. An old friend, a lion, grinned, saying they were safe and thriving in City Mo. But the rustle of trees rose again. The plant creatures were coming. A lion stayed calm, claiming the monsters weren't worth fearing. Zhou Kang radioed, reporting Team 2's contact with plant types. He ordered the others to regroup behind for a counterattack. Another squad arrived, armed with heavy flamethrowers. Fire surged like tidal waves, burning the forest fiends to ash. Their shrieks echoed through the blazing inferno. The flames consumed everything. Leching merely watched. No need to act. A survivor asked how they rallied such forces. A lying proudly credited leader Xiaoyong. A lying noticed Jiang Xing was dead, and Xiaoyong stood frozen nearby. A lying reassured them he was protection, then led them to meet Xiaoyong, who needed manpower. They ventured deep into the woods, finding vast cultivated fields. Everyone was stunned. Farming among mutant flora seemed impossible. Someone handed a lying a strange lump, like a small creature. It twitched, making everyone's skin crawl. A lying threw it away, trembling, telling them not to panic. The man explained it was a tame plant, high yield and easy to harvest. The survivor gaped, praising their fortune. A lying again credited Xiaoyong. Olda admired how the plants obeyed humans, something once a dream. Xiaoyong asked if they needed anything else. Olda smiled, saying it was already comfortable. Xiaoyong was pleased, saying the cultivation was going smoothly, then vowed to hunt the cannibal beasts in the west. In the western outskirts of City E, Xiaoyong and Xiaongjia scouted silently. Xiaongjia warned they were being watched. Xiaoyong calmly agreed, saying the foes rivaled Zhang Ji's group. Xiaongjia asked for a plan. Xiaoyong smirked. Think of it as a side meal. On a rooftop, 2 men lurked, eyes burning with predatory lust. One hesitated, the other urged action before losing their share. The first said coldly someone else had struck first. Pointing below, a pack of mutants charged at Xiaoyong, eyes blazing with hunger. They roared, seeing him as a rare delicacy. One said he was a pure evolver, eating him would grant great power, then eyed Xiaongjia suspiciously. They greedily plotted to seize Xiaongjia's zombie control power to crush other foes. The watchers above realized it was their chance, waiting for the brutal hunt below. But stealing prey meant signing your own death warrant. The sound of blades split the air, drawing every gaze to the street below. Xiaongjia went berserk, slashing wildly like a rabid beast. Xiong swung his sword smoothly, scaring the rest into fleeing. One screamed in despair, unable to believe such power existed. A man scrambled up a roof where two others hid. He groaned like a wounded animal as he climbed. The two above shouted not to come closer or they'd all die. Below, Xiaoyang picked up a long metal rod. He squinted, carefully taking aim. With a single throw, the rod shot out like an arrow. It impaled the climber, nailing him to the wall behind. The two hiding nearby trembled, souls nearly gone. Xiaoyang didn't even glance, only muttering they weren't half bad. The rooftop pair went pale, cursing quietly in fear. They whispered if the others had left, then prepared to climb down. Searching the corpses, they found only 3 half-eaten. Grinning, they said the rest was theirs. Elsewhere, Xiaoyang teased Xiaoyangjie for being a weak eater, only 3 kills. Suddenly, a noise echoed from the alley. He stopped. Alert! Xiaoyang advanced silently, each step steady and quiet. A middle-aged man with a bow appeared, pale with fear. Xiaoyang was surprised it was just an ordinary human. Xiaoyang raised his hand in signal. He said calmly, "Don't move." The man trembled in panic. He fired an arrow, but Xiaoyang caught it barehanded. The man froze, stunned by such speed. In a flash, Xiaoyang spun, eyes flashing. The man's bow was snatched away instantly. Xiaoyang said they weren't cannibals and told him to come out. A trembling group stepped forward, stammering excuses, unsure who to trust. Xiaoyang asked hopefully if they'd learned to survive without eating flesh. They said they were heading to the Xifeng steel plant. Once a survivor broadcast site, one asked if there was a safer place. Xiaoyang said a northern community hunted cannibals specifically. They spoke of the northern leader, someone who could solo 6 mutants. One interjected, claiming cannibals were gathering for something big. Another dismissed it, saying he was paranoid from lack of sleep. Someone else added he just wanted to find his brother at the Xifeng plant. Another argued that place was dangerous, maybe the cannibals' den. Xiaoyang calmly revealed the plant's old leaders were indeed cannibals, but had dealt with them. He turned to the hopeful boy, asking his name. Maybe they knew each other. The boy stammered he was Li Cheng, a former cop, asking if his brother lived. Zhang Xiaoyang burst out laughing, eyes gleaming with intrigue at the name. He said he knew Li Cheng while he was helping manage the Xifeng territory now. The boy was thrilled, overjoyed to hear farming had resumed there. A bespectacled man doubted it, calling it a trap to lure them to death. Zhang Xiaoyang sighed, saying if he wanted them dead, he wouldn't waste words. A gunshot rang out, the bullet striking just by his feet, freezing the air. The man with glasses spun, scolding his trembling subordinate, who mumbled apologies. The stray shot drew zombies and cannibals, their roars shaking the air. The man shouted for everyone to scatter and find cover. He yelled at Zhang Xiaoyang to run. No one could fight a whole horde. Zhang Xiaoyang smirked, mocking, "Aren't they already killing each other?" The man with glasses snapped, saying they'd only fight each other after killing him. He and his group rushed into a building, locking themselves upstairs. Leaning on the wall, he wiped sweat and prayed that Kwang Xiaodong wouldn't betray them. Outside, Kwang Xiaodong silently faced the oncoming horde of zombies. One grumpy zombie asked why there was only one man, thinking the others had eaten him. A female zombie sneered, calling him a deluxe meal worth 10 living humans. Inside, the group nervously peered through the crack, seeing nearly 10 monsters surrounding them. The man with glasses sweated, muttering that the boy wouldn't survive intact. On the street, one eager zombie lunged first, claiming dibs on the bite. Kwang Xiaodong flicked his hand, its head flew off, body thudding down. His face was icy-cold, devoid of emotion. The rest recoiled in terror, none daring to attack. Kwang Xiaodong turned, voice low and deadly, "Let's finish them all." The zombies went berserk, screaming as they charged. Kwang Xiaodong told Chen Song to warm up a bit, and Chen Song calmly obeyed. As he bent to pick a weapon, a zombie crept up behind to bite him. He jumped lightning fast, making the zombie stumble forward. The man with glasses upstairs gawked, shocked by that unreal leap. Kwang Xiaodong landed on the railing, his icy stare making the man whisper, "Is he a monster?" The zombies panicked, realizing he was far beyond them, and fled. One yelled, "That's not human, run." A flash, then a bullet pierced the fleeing one's skull. Kwang Xiaodong rested a foot on the railing, coldly saying, "No one escapes." He pointed at Chen Song, declaring they have to beat him first. Surrounded, Chen Song's eyes turned fierce like a hunting beast. The zombies roared together, charging to kill him. Chen Song's combat instinct exploded, his blade pierced each attacker. He spun and kicked, turning the battle into a bloody storm. The zombies screamed, unable to believe his strength. Above, Kwang Xiaodong fired precise shots, dropping them one by one. The man with glasses gaped. Those two wiped out the horde in seconds. Kwang Xiaodong raised his gun, shouting for the last one to come out. Hearing silence, the group stepped outside. Stunned by the gore, he landed lightly, while the man with glasses trembled, begging to join his team. Kwang Xiaodong nodded but said they must head to the northern base. Everyone froze, asking fearfully why he'd go there. He approached, voice cold as wind, saying he wanted to verify their story. His eyes glinted. He might have to kill. At another base, alarms blared. Guards shouted about an intruder. One panicked soldier counted 7 cannibals approaching. A bearded man appeared, cheered as Brother Feng. A young girl ran up, calling him father, begging him not to risk it. But Brother Feng ordered the gates locked, no one in or out. Then he leaped into battle as his daughter cried after him. In moments, Brother Feng stood before the 7 cannibals, ready to fight. Seeing him, the cannibals howled madly, eager to kill and claim the flesh inside. Brother Feng's body began to twist and deform horrifically. His skin split, red muscles bulged, and mouths with teeth sprouted all over like a living nightmare. The others froze, unable to believe the monstrous power before them. Even in that grotesque form, he still outclassed them completely. After a stunned pause, the horde screamed and charged wildly. Some swung stones, others punched barehanded in a frenzied assault. Before they could touch him, a blast of terrifying force exploded, clearing the area. The attackers were sliced in half, and survivors huddled back in fear. Brother Feng roared to the sky, his thunderous scream shaking the earth. When the dust settled, corpses littered the ground. Exhausted, he collapsed, slowly reverting to human form as the base cheered in fear and relief. Some worried it had become dangerous if he lost control. His daughter cried out, "Dad!" People fretted he might die of hunger and demanded to open the gate to help. The girl burst into tears, speechless with emotion. The young captain nodded, agreeing to risk opening the gate. They rushed out toward Brother Feng's motionless body. He rasped, warning them not to come closer and to go back, but they ignored him, bringing corpses along, determined to save their leader. The helmeted youth tossed a corpse toward him, telling others not to get too close. Instantly, the mouths on Brother Feng's body devoured it, bones crunching horrifically. Everyone trembled, some gagged and vomited on the spot. Gradually, Brother Feng revived, staggering upright as others fed him more corpses, cautioning each other to stay back. They tossed bodies from afar, terrified of being bitten by mistake. Just then, another group of cannibals appeared behind Brother Feng, whispering and scheming at the carnage. One laughed smugly, saying they were lucky their kin had already cleared the way. The base residents spotted them and panicked at the new threat. At that moment, Kwang Xiaodong and Chen Song arrived. Confusing everyone's suspicion faded as they sensed something different. Someone claimed that monster wasn't a cannibal, prompting doubt. While Zai Deng chuckled at the absurdity, the cannibals too hesitated, noting his scent was different. Maybe he was a pure evolved human. Without delay, Xiaodong ordered an attack, and Chen Song smirked, taking the dirty work for himself. With that, Chen Song dashed into the horde like the wind. They screamed, boasting they'd killed countless zombies before. Before finishing, Chen Song's kick sent one flying and crashing down. The people in the base shivered, terrified by power beyond even Brother Feng's. A bespectacled group quickly assured them they were elites from the southern zone, shocking locals who thought Brother Feng was the strongest. Behind the fence, the remaining cannibals paled, their confidence crumbling. One wiped sweat and tried to rally the rest to charge. Though they shouted bravely, their feet stayed frozen. They pushed and dodged each other, promising, "You go first, I'll follow." But none moved. One opportunist leapt out, declaring he'd claimed Xiaodong as his trophy. Enraging the others, Xiaodong watched coldly, raising his hand to strike. As the foe lunged, Xiaodong pierced his chest clean through. The man froze, blood gushing like a fountain, eyes full of terror, under the horrified stares of the rest. Xiaodong tore the corpse clean in half. Survival instinct kicked and the horde fled, screaming that he was scarier than all of them. Xiaodong wasted no time, summoning vines to chase and kill. Within moments, the vines crushed them into minced flesh. The screams faded, leaving only soulless corpses scattered around. The helmeted youth trembled, whispering real demons, while the man with glasses soothed him. "There on our side." Suddenly, a red tentacle shot out from Brother Feng's body, attacking Xiaodong. He dodged in time, the tentacle grazing past. A scratch marked his arm. He frowned, asking what kind of monster that thing was. Without hesitation, Xiaodong unleashed vines to bind Brother Feng, but the flesh on Feng's body writhed violently, breaking free. Xiaodong cursed, disgusted, and worried whether I could handle this fall. The vines lashed down with terrifying power. The girl cried out, rushing forward, screaming, "Dad, stop!" Xiaodong froze, seeing her kneel in tears, begging him to spare her father. He widened his eyes, realizing that pile of flesh was her dad. She sobbed, explaining he had just lost control. Xiaodong released Brother Feng, retracting the vines, wondering how that deformed body could revert to human. Following her guidance, he tossed a few corpses near Feng, asking if that was right. Someone nodded, seeing Feng devour greedily. Chen Song's hair stood on end, face pale. Xiaodong laughed dryly, teasing that Chen didn't look any prettier when eating. The helmeted youth invited them into the base, saying Feng should stay outside to recover. They were quickly led into the safe zone. Upon arrival, everyone knelt in thanks, saying they survived because of them. Zidong smiled lightly, waved it off, and asked about the base and Feng's condition. The girl sadly said her father was infected by something called mimic flesh. Zidong curiously asked what bizarre thing that was. She replied it was a strange organism first found in wild beasts, extremely dangerous. At first, people thought it was just a pathogen, but deeper studies showed it could become any tissue it consumed. She added it not only mimicked shape but copied abilities surpassing stem cells her mentors secretly tested on humans. She recalled the first cancer patient fully recovered after receiving the implant. Within a week, all cancer cells vanished. Her mentors proclaimed they'd found God's cell. Her tone darkened soon after. Cities M's fell into chaos. They realized the divine key was a curse. Zedong nodded, guessing those tissues went out of control. She confirmed, eyes heavy with sorrow. She continued. The mimic flesh slowly consumed human cells, erasing humanity. Over time, it forgot its form, turning into aimless slime that only multiplied. When nutrients ran out, it dried and rotted into putrid goo. Before dissolving, they would gather into vast flesh seas covering entire streets. The description made everyone shudder, faces pale. Suddenly, a male voice behind said, "Now you belong to them too." Zedong turned to see Brother Feng, fully restored, admitting had injured him earlier as the crowd cheered his name. Xiaodong glanced at the scratch and nodded. Brother Feng sighed, saying his time was short. Xiaodong smiled confidently, claiming he'd purged all mimic flesh from his body. Feng froze, asking how. That's when Xiaodong raised his hand, vines sprouting, saying his immunity far surpassed humans. He added that his body coexisted with a life spirit, a mysterious and dangerous power. Everyone was stunned, jaws hanging open in disbelief. Suddenly, Xiaodong withdrew his vines, wondering if mimic flesh could be guided to transform at will. He held out his hand to Feng, calmly saying, "Transfer some to me, I want to tame it." Feng hesitated, then tore off a chunk of flesh and tossed it over. Xiaodong caught the wriggling mass, hesitating briefly. Finally, he placed it on his palm, letting it bite freely. Feng asked what happened. Xiaodong shook his head. "It can't be controlled, only destroyed. It attacks the host instantly." He then asked how Feng managed to suppress his. Feng smiled faintly, admitting he didn't. He was it, just a mimic flesh body shaped like a man. Xiaodong was shocked, asking how he still kept human form. Feng clenched his fist, explaining his humanity was gone. Only logic and duty held back the beast. Though that control was fading, he looked around, pleading with Xiaodong to protect his daughter Xiaobing and the survivors, promising to help while sane. Hearing that, Xiaobing burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably. Suddenly, a system voice echoed in Xiaodong's mind. Mission chain unlocked. Collector of calamities. With 3 targets: Devourer virus, Death Flora, Mimic Protozo. He guessed the Devourer virus was the zombies in City M, the Death Flora from City S, and the Mimic type was what he faced now. He turned to Xiao Feng, asking, "Your destination is the Flesh Sea, right?" Feng nodded grimly. It was near. Xiaodong smiled, saying he'd join him, shocking Feng, who asked why. Xiaodong shrugged, saying he just wanted to see it himself, while Feng looked worriedly at his daughter and the others. Xiaodong calmly pulled out a radio, calling, "Hello, Zhangqi, anyone free?" Soon, everyone in the base looked toward the gate, eyes wide with surprise. Someone stammered, "Another monster," but it was Zhang Shengji and his son Xiao Shuai entering. Seeing Xiaodong, Xiao Shuai cheered, "Uncle X Xiaodong, Uncle X Xiaodong." Xiaodong frowned, asking Zhang Shengji why he brought the kid. Wasn't his mother worried? Xiao Shuai grinned confidently, flexing, saying he was strong now and would prove it. Without waiting, he shouted toward the shadows, threatening to storm in if they didn't show themselves. The street fell silent, only wind whistling through the tension. From a rooftop, several cannibals peeked down, whispering in surprise at being discovered. Exposed, they stepped out casually. A man in line and sneered, mocking this famous safe zone everyone talked about. He pointed straight at Zhang Shengji, whistling mockingly. Then he smirked, asking if he was the one who'd single-handedly defeated the mutant humans. Zhang Shengji waved frantically, pretending confusion, saying he did understand, just a new guy off the plane. The cap-wearing youth asked Xiao Feng what was happening. Feng whispered, "They mistook him for me." The cannibals drooled and howled excitedly, shouting to catch him while the crowd was big. Xiao Shuai stepped forward, stopping his dad, asking to fight first. Shengji only managed to warn him not to be reckless. The monsters charged straight at him. Xiao Shuai raised his gun, shouting, "Come at me." He fired. The bullet flew straight toward the linen-clad man. The target dodged in a flash, sneering that their speed surpassed humans. Before he finished, his shoulder exploded from a shot. Xiao Shuai swapped mags instantly, smirking, who set him human. He moved while firing non-stop, gunfire echoing fiercely. Another London brute lunged from behind, cursing loudly. Xiao Shuai leapt aside, the mist punch shattering the ground. He spun midair, aiming at the attacker's neck. A bang, the London man dropped dead on the spot. The base crowd gawked, stunned by the kid's terrifying power. Before he landed, another enemy lunged in. Xiao Shuai felt a chill. No time to dodge, bracing for impact. Suddenly, a giant tentacle speared through the attacker's chest. Zhang Shengji retracted the tentacle, flinging the corpse skyward. The base went silent, wondering why everyone here was a monster. Seeing their comrades slain, the cannibals panicked, screaming these foes were stronger than rumors. They howled together, rushing in to see how many tentacles he had. Shengji merely raised a hand, unleashing countless tentacles that crushed them all. Blood splattered in seconds. The ground turned red. The horde wiped out. Onlookers stood speechless. Xiao Shuai raised his fist proudly, asking Xiaodong how his performance was. He patted the boy's head, praising his progress from training. Xiao Shuai grinned, saying everyone who ate crops from his field grew stronger. Xiaodong nodded inwardly, realizing those Vengrown plants still carried plant form energy less potent than Siddi's, but rich in evolution power. Xiao Shuai pointed at Jiao Feng's group, curiously asking who they were. Xiao Deng replied bluntly, "Now the world has 3 main calamities: zombies, plant forms, and this." He looked at Jiao Feng and added, "That's a life form called mimic flesh." Then he concluded that each region spawns its own disaster, and the future might be even worse. Meanwhile, in a distant base, a group fought desperately against savage mutant beasts. Someone screamed they couldn't hold, another yelled to open the side gate. "Run if you can." They scrambled onto an armored truck and sped out, but before they got far, car-sized giant ants swarmed in, flipping a vehicle. Those still inside the base wailed, begging not to be abandoned. The ants poured in, stabbing down with blade-like legs as screams echoed everywhere. Back at Xiao Feng's base, Xiao Deng's team walked the corridor. He said calmly that a few dozen cannibals were nothing. Then his eyes froze. He grunted softly. He pointed to a glass room where someone was tightly bound, asking who that was. Xiao Feng nodded. That was the one helping him identify mimiflesh hosts. Since cannibals instinctively avoid eating them, he admitted he was even more dangerous than they were. Xiao Feng said the man was kept as a tool for testing and detecting infections. Suddenly, the captive grinned wickedly, saying no need for torture had revealed who was infected himself. Feng and Xiao Bing froze, unsure what was coming. The man sneered, taunting whether a man who's lost his humanity still feels pain when losing his daughter. Feng's voice turned icy. "What did you just say?" The captive laughed darkly, claiming Feng's daughter was infected and everyone knew who infected her. Xiao Bing stared at Xiao Deng. Scratch his face went pale. Feng's expression darkened, but Xiao Deng placed a hand on his shoulder, quietly reassuring him. Feng looked up, smiling bitterly, saying the worst part was how calm he still felt. He sighed, admitting that knowing his daughter was infected no longer moved him. Proof he was no longer human. He said softly that it was time for him to go to the Flesh Sea. Before leaving, he asked Xiao Deng to save Xiao Bing if he truly could purge the infection. Xiao Deng shook his head, saying it was impossible. His immunity couldn't be shared. Feng merely nodded, accepting fate. The cap-wearing youth asked if Xiao Bing would turn into a monster like her father. She smiled calmly, saying the world held nothing left. Kill her if she lost control. Xiao Deng cut in, saying maybe it wasn't hopeless yet. He pulled out a syringe, handing it to her, telling her to inject it. The cap youth asked what it was. Xiao Deng replied it was an anti-infection serum used in City Me, hoping it worked on mimic flesh too. Without hesitation, Xiao Bing injected herself while the cap youth watched anxiously. The cannibal laughed mockingly, saying virus and mimic flesh were totally different. The serum was useless. But then he froze, eyes bulging in shock. Xiao Deng smirked, knowing from that reaction the drug worked. The cap youth cheered, while Xiao Bing trembled, eyes shining with new hope. Hope flickered. He asked if her father could also be cured. Xiao Deng sadly said no. Xiao Feng had fully transformed into mimic flesh shaped like a man. Their faith collapsed, leaving only sorrow and despair. Xiao Feng spoke again of the Flesh Sea, saying time was short. Xiao Deng nodded in agreement. The two finally reached the port city. Xiao Feng warned the area bordered the danger zone. Xiao Deng silently confirmed. A sudden voice called from behind. They turned to see several children begging for food. Both grew wary, sensing something off. Xiao Feng instantly summoned his flesh weapon behind the kids. Gaping mouths appeared. They were mimic flesh. Back at the base, Xiao Shuai crushed a giant beetle. Grumbling about the growing swarm, Xiao Bing confirmed they'd been appearing in mass since yesterday. She worried aloud if she and her father had somehow attracted them. An engine roared. Xiao Shuai raised his gun in alarm, and Xiao Bing looked surprised. 3 military trucks approached from afar. People inside cheered, thrilled to find living humans. Xiao Shuai ordered everyone out of the vehicles. A man raised his hands calmly, saying they meant no harm. Xiao Shuai studied the no monsters, no mutants. The team's commander spoke steadily, asking for trust. He gestured for his troops to lower their weapons. The air stayed tense. Xiao Bing urged caution, but Xiao Shuai assured her they seemed harmless. The commander hesitantly asked if the boy was the leader here. Xiao Shuai replied he was just temporarily protecting the group. A soldier mocked him, doubting his ability. Xiao Shuai's voice turned cold, warning them to show respect. They were being considered for shelter. Yang Bing quickly introduced himself, saying they'd fled a city overrun by insects. Xiao Shuai frowned, repeating, "A swarm of insects." He pointed a giant beetle corpse, asking if that's what they meant. Yang Bing was shocked by its size. The group cheered, thinking the place was safe. But Xiao Shuai sternly warned the pest outbreak had just begun. It wasn't safe at all. Yang Bing frowned, asking if the only issue was some zombies. Xiao Shuai calmly confirmed they'd likely seen them on the road. Yang Bing laughed, flashing his loaded guns, boasting they were failed lab trash, easy target practice. Xiao Bing urged them to enter the safe zone quickly, warning of dangers and cannibals outside. Yang Bing arrogantly said they could handle it, his team laughing proudly as if this were a game. Meanwhile, under the calm sky, Xiao Deng raised a hand, signaling something dreadful to awaken. The ground quaked, flesh burst apart, and massive chunks of meat collapsed. Xiao Feng trembled, horrified by that overwhelming power. Xiao Deng calmly said over 20 such creatures surrounded them. Xiao Feng bitterly admitted they were all mindless flesh. Any human here was doomed. He looked up at the sky, whispering that their destination was near. Xiao Deng stood atop a building, watching the city slowly drown in red like a sea of calamity. Xiao Feng stepped down, ready to surrender himself to the boiling flesh, but was yanked back. Ziyadong gripped his hand tightly, demanding why he was giving up. Xiao Feng smiled sadly, saying instinct would devour him anyway. Hearing that, Ziyadong raised his right hand. Xiao Feng, startled, asked what he was doing. Before he could react, dozens of thin threads shot from Zidong's hand into his forehead. Xiao Feng's eyes glowed crimson as strange energy enveloped them both. Zidong said calmly, "If you lack structure, he'll rebuild it," channeling all his power into him. Moments later, Xiao Feng knelt, gasping, asking what Zidong had done. Zidong explained he'd implanted adaptive spores into his brain to stabilize his structure and study the mimic species. The system chimed with mission points. Xiao Feng realized the mimic protozoa were the flesh organisms that had created them. He understood that a host's body wasn't its true self, just a temporary shell. The flesh sea was merely survival instinct. The species lived by consuming life, but when food ran out, they devoured themselves and collapsed. Xiao Feng asked if the spores could restore his humanity. Zidong shook his head. They'd only stop his decay. Xiaodong explained the spores would make his biomatter cannibalize itself, maintaining balance and survival as long as his structured data remained. Xiao Feng asked shakily if he could still live as the man he once was. Xiaodong nodded slightly. Xiao Feng bowed deeply, voice trembling with gratitude. Still, fear weighed on him. The war with his instincts would never end. Suddenly, Xiaodong leapt atop a tall wall, motioning him to follow. He shouted, "Get down!" startling Xiao Feng into confusion and panic. Xiaodong calmly says to jump. He'll dive into the challenge with him. Scene shifts to a ruined gas station where the commander smokes and urges his troops to stay alert. A soldier reports they're still refueling. The commander crushes his cigarette, scratches his head, realizing the radio's dead past Zone B2. Cutting contact with Yang Bing's team, he laments not bringing extra gear. The soldier reassures him maybe the others are just delayed. Suddenly, a sweet female voice asks if they're human. They turn to see a short-haired girl leading a group, asking to join, claiming to have supplies. The guard eyes them suspiciously, asks if they're local survivors. She keeps insisting they have supplies. In truth, she's a disguised monster, smiling eerily and repeating, "We have supplies." The soldier blinks, confused why she says only that. He glances to the commander for orders, who goes pale and shouts, "Careful." As he turns, the woman splits open, revealing fangs before swallowing him whole. Cut to Xiaodong in the abyss. Jagged tentacles squirm as Xiao Feng stammers if he's joking. Xiaodong coolly replies, "You have to jump anyway, trust me." Xiao Feng stares into the pit, face white, then leaps with him. As they fall, the monster below extends tentacles to catch them. They land on its back, then a giant maw opens and swallows them whole. Flesh closes, silence falls like a tomb. Suddenly, green light bursts from within the beast. Plants erupt like wildfire across its body. Xiaodong channels plant energy, tearing free from melting flesh. He lands beside Xiao Feng, brushing off vines clinging to him. Xiao Feng stutters in shock. Xiaodong smiles, saying it's his turn now. Warm plant energy surges from him, wrapping Xiao Feng's body. Xiao Feng screams as green shoots burst through his skin. Within moments, vines and roots cover his whole body. They link to Xiaodong's energy, minds merging in wild communion. In a few breaths, Xiao Feng becomes a colossal tree blazing in sunlight. Xiaodong asks how it feels to unleash his true nature. Xiao Feng trembles, seeing creatures crawling on his trunk, voice breaking in disbelief. From afar, more trees sprout rapidly, forming a forest after rain. Xiao Feng panics, asking if he's become part of the flesh sea. Xiaodong calmly says not yet, has only controlling a fragment. Full sync needs half a month. He warns coldly the spores remain under his control. Betrayal means instant loss of power. Xiao Feng hastily swears lowly. Xiaodong nods, satisfied. Just then, frantic footsteps echo. Xiao Feng turns. Alert! Two soldiers appear, chased by a massive flesh mimic monster. One screams he'd rather die among insects than in that thing's mouth. The commander halts, stunned. His comrade yells to run, but both freeze at the sight. Under sunlight, two tiny figures stand beneath a vast green tree, divine in their eyes. The monster roars closer, trembling. The soldiers ask what to do. One points shakily, whispering that the flesh mass ahead looks more monstrous than what's chasing them. Before black tentacles descend, the ground quakes as a colossal maw opens, rows of jagged teeth freezing everyone in terror. Yet it doesn't attack them, it lunges straight at the mimic beast behind. In an instant, that creature is torn apart, flesh spraying everywhere. Realizing its foe is alien, the monster flees in fear. The flesh mass controlled by Xiao Feng floods forward like a crimson tide, hunting madly. Gigantic mouths bloom along its path, devouring all and merging everything into one. Seconds later, all collapses into silence as if the massacre never happened. One soldier pants in relief. The commander stays wary, signaling for silence. A deep voice echoes from the canopy. "Don't be foolish, I see your every move." The two, pale, trembling, ask who's speaking. From the slimy flesh, half of Xiao Feng's body rises, making them stutter in horror. Asking what he is, Xiaodong steps out calmly, saying Xiao Feng is the living mass. When the soldiers ask who he is and when he got behind them, he smiles and says, "You first, where are you from?" Scene shift to noon. Millions of feral insects flood the streets like raging waves. They fly, spit venom, and parasitize humans into monsters within seconds, moving with chilling coordination. Xiaobing props her chin, noting they're organized like a true hive species. When asked, she explains like ants or bees, they've lost individuality, only the swarm matters. Yangbing sighs, saying now everyone grasps how terrifying the enemy truly is. Suddenly, a grotesque noise echoes from the skyscraper rooftops. Dozens of figures appear, eyes red as coals. Grinning wickedly, a soldier yells, "Cannibals!" An old man beside him quivers, asking if they really eat people. Xiao Shuai smirks coldly, saying they're about to see their real enemy. The cannibal leader Shuya steps forward, arrogantly claiming their commander fled. No one can protect them now. He offers a deal: sacrifice one person every few days, and his group will guard the zone. Xiao Shuai laughs, mocking that they plan to start a human farm. Shuya gives them 30 minutes to submit or be wiped out. Yang Bing draws his gun, sneering if they even know who they're threatening. Shuya smirks, saying that broken gun scares no one, and suspects is not local. 4 cannibals leap from dozens of floors up. The soldiers gape, swearing in disbelief that they jumped unharmed. All 4 land lightly like cats, not a scratch on them. Bullets tear their bodies but can't halt their insane advance. Yang Bing realizes they're completely bulletproof. Gunfire and screams thunder through the streets. He roars for the troops to hold formation and retreat tactically. A cannibal charges him. Yang Bing curses under his breath. Suddenly, a massive tentacle pierces the creature's chest, splattering blood across him. Everyone freezes. Giant emerges, corpses dangling from his tentacle. The cannibals panic, asking what monster this is. Shuya's guards panic, thinking this was the one who left city. See, Shuya curses, while Xiangshu points at it, saying, "No, that's not him." Chaos erupts. They all turn and flee. Shuya screams, "Run!" And Xiangshu swears, bolting for his life. Suddenly, a figure leaps over 10 meters high, landing before the fleeing group. The special forces freeze, stunned that another powerhouse remains. Chen Xiang roars, slashing the cannibals apart with a single swipe, blood splattering everywhere. In seconds, 4 corpses collapse, dyeing the cement red. The others approach, faces pale, unable to believe what they just saw. Xiao Shuai smirks, saying humans are still the scariest creatures, right? Yang Bing can only nod dumbly, speechless. Cut to Xiaodong. The giant tree's canopy spreads like a massive shield over the sky. He murmurs, "Insects! Huh! So the disaster in City B is of a different nature." A system voice rings in his head. Mission complete. Anomaly study reward granted. New task unlocked. Exterminate the insect species for a hefty prize. He turns to confirm his team's route. The commander nods. They went southwest along Route M. Xiaofeng adds that's where his group is sheltering. The commander is shocked there's still a survivor base. Xiaodong replies softly, "Some important people remain." He asks Xiaofeng's opinion. Zhou says has merged with the Flesh Sea, can't return, and asks Xiaodong to look after Xiaobing, but Xiaodong says no, he'll bring everyone here. Xiaofeng, startled, fears his too dangerous. Yek Xiaodong grins, "Haven't you noticed your instincts have changed?" Xiaofeng focuses, stunned to find his predator hunger nearly gone. Xiaodong explains it's a spore side effect. Abundant energy sates the beast within. He signals, "Let's go, maybe you'll meet someone you know." The commander smiles and agrees. Soon they return to the shelter. Xiao Shuai rushes up, cheering they just repelled a powerful enemy. Yang Bing recognizes the commander, joyfully grabs his shoulder, relieved to reunite. He asks about the others. The commander lowers his head, choking out that all died to monsters. Silence falls as everyone mourns. Yang Bing takes a deep breath, urging him to meet the base group. Their strength is beyond belief. The commander laughs bitterly, saying what is seen defies all logic. Xiao Bing approaches, eyes red, asking Xiaodong if her father has fully become the Flesh Sea. He gently pats her head, saying her father still has consciousness, even control, and that the Flesh Sea is now the safest place. The next, Xiaodong firmly orders everyone to pack up. They'll move the base to a new site with Xiaofeng. The group quickly sets out, following his lead. When the hazy mass of flesh looms ahead, Xiaodong quietly warns they're in mimic flesh hunting grounds. As they move, a shaky voice calls from the dark, "Are you survivors?" Instantly, guns rise. Yang Bing calms them, saying the figure looks like a civilian, not a cannibal. The commander's face twists. He senses what's under that skin isn't human. Yang Bing protests, "They're civilians. Don't overact." The commander roars to look closer. It's not human. Everyone peers again and their skin crawls with dread. The people grin even with bullet holes through their chests, bleeding yet walking unharmed. Someone shouts, "There's more of them on the other side." From all sides, dozens of imposters shed their skins, revealing raw red muscle as they close the circle. The commander panics, telling Xiaodong to lead the team back to the Flesh Sea Elder while he covers them. Yang Bing argues that Xiao Shui's group has stronger fighters, but the commander snaps, ordering battle lines and spacing. The special ops squad shouts in unison, ready to fire, treating the monsters like real cannibals. Xiaodong pats the commander's shoulder, smirking, "Brave brothers, I like that." Leaving him stunned, he draws his gun, coldly ordering everyone to move behind him to avoid friendly fire. The group obeys instantly. Xiaodong raises his gun skyward and fires. A blazing red flare shoots up, exploding midair, painting the sky crimson. Xiao Shuai grins up, asking, "You calling Sister San's squad?" Xiaodong twirls the gun, smiling. "Nope, another team." He glances back, ordering Shengsu to act. "Just keep the team safe, cleanups incoming." Xing Saibozan obeys. The mimiflesh beasts roar, revealing true forms before surging like a red tide. Xing Si, Chen Rong, and Xiao Shui dash out together, moving like lightning. Flesh bursts, bones snap, blood rains down in savage torrents. The commander stares wide-eyed, asking in disbelief, "They're monsters too." Yang Bing laughs triumphantly. "Told you now you see," but booming sounds persist, making everyone turn. Behind them, hundreds of Li-shaped giants march in, tentacles whipping and closing ranks. The soldiers, surrounded, curse and yell they have to save themselves. The leaf monsters rush overhead, not attacking humans but charging the mimiflesh horde. Tentacles coil tight, serrated maws grind blood and gore explode as two species clash. The commander freezes, then realizes joyfully that these are the elite fighters Xiao Deng mentioned, servants of the Flesh Sea Elder. Yang Bing blinks, asking, "Which elder?" The commander smirks mysteriously. "You'll see soon." 10 minutes later, the battle ends, mimic corpses shredded across the field. Giant roots rise from the ground, slithering around their feet. Everyone panics and raises guns, but the roots only wrap the corpses. They drain the blood and drag the remains deep into the red sea of flesh. Xiedong smiles, saying to follow the roots they'll lead to the destination. Soon they stand beneath a colossal tree towering over the bloody sea. Yang Bing trembles. "Well, what is this?" Xiao Bing looks around anxiously for her father. Xiao Deng gently says, "Don't be afraid, it is right in front of you." He raises his voice. "Hey, come out! Your daughter's here." From the writhing sea of flesh, a massive form rises. Xiao Feng merged with the giant tree, green canopy filling the sky. Xiao Bing bursts into tears and tries to rush forward, but Xiao Deng stops her. Xiao Feng softly warns not to approach. His flesh is in fully stable distance keeps them safe. Xiao Deng confirms that as long as they stay clear of the flesh zone, Xiao Feng won't lose control. Xiao Feng says has prepared an abandoned factory 1 kilometer southwest. Everyone should move there. Scene cuts to a deep pit full of chopped plant corpses. Ching Ching drops more vines, muttering how plants have been growing too fast lately. Olha wipes sweat, grumbling that another flower cart must have wandered nearby. Tan Yuan frowns, surprised. He thought Xiao Deng had already tamed the flower cart. Olha shakes his head, saying there's more than one in this forest. Scene shifts to the new base in the abandoned factory bathed in dim gold light and the scent of rusted iron. Xiao Deng's radio beeps after listening. He simply replies and shuts it off. He reports an incident south of Fog City and must leave. Xiao Feng agrees to hold the line. Xiao Deng calls Xiao Shui. Handing over command, the boy vows to guard the base like a mountain. At the flower cart base, Xiao Deng and Chen Song are led straight into a meeting. Zhang Ji says with Xiao Kai and brother Cheng around, all's well. Honglei disagrees without Xiao Deng. Mistakes could still happen. Xiao Deng pats Zhang Zi's shoulder, teasing he looks stronger now. Zhang Ji flexes proudly, saying flower cart food made him a top fighter. Xiao Deng laughs, promising to test his strength in forests tomorrow. Next day, amid heaps of monster corpses, Xiao Deng praises the team's progress. Tan Yuan scratches his head sheepishly, saying it's just luck. Zhang Ji grins, asking if he's bragging too much. Then Li Qing suddenly panics. Pointing ahead, a massive tree stump stands cleanly sawed off. Deeper in, more great trees are felled. Xiao Deng frowns, asking who did it. Li Qing guesses not their people. Zhang Ji swears their group never went that deep. Xiao Deng signals silence to listen. Soon, he hears chainsaw noises and gestures to move closer. They spot men in yellow coats sawing a giant tree. One tree collapses, crushing a worker. He screams curses, blood splattering his face. Then suddenly he sobs, begging for more time to work, but saplings pierce his chest up to his eyes. A thick branch bursts through his neck. His head flies, blood sprays, and the tree drinks his body like fertilizer. The yellow-clad group freezes, faces wax pale. One man trembles, shouting, "Don't just stand there, keep working." They panic, restarting their saws, shaking as they reassure themselves. At that moment, Xiao Deng's group steps from the bushes. Zhang Ji whispers they're alive, still cutting trees. The yellow group stops, eyes vacant. One forces a smile and greeting. Tan Yuan frowns, finding their reactions oddly delayed. The yellow man cheerfully invites them to a crowded safe zone. Zhang Ji starts to answer, but Xiao Deng stops him with a pat. Xiao Deng smiles politely, saying they just left their old camp after a dispute. The man beams, saying the more people, the better their odds. He turns and leads the group onward, saying they're close. Amid dense vines, Tan Yuan suspects a hidier plant network. Sanmorphin, something's very wrong. The guide flashes a murderous glint, then feigns calm, calling it harmless mutated flora. Pushing past leaves, the group gasps at a colossal tree blotting out the sky. Tan Yuan gawks, it's even bigger than Xiao Deng's. Olda hisses that even the whole flower cart field can't compare. Xiao Deng smiles at the guide, telling Zhang Ji to test it. He recoils, terrified. Suddenly, the yellow man screams, "Capture them alive." Over a dozen rush, seizing everyone. Bones crack loudly. Olda shouts in panic, asking what they're doing. The man beside Xiao Deng grins wickedly, leaning close to his ear, but Tan Yuan yells, pointing toward the tree's roots. Dozens of human corpses rise, pierced through by vines, muttering oaths of obedience. The bloodied bodies shuffle closer. The yellow man grabs Xiao Deng, trembling and calling for his comrades. Thud! Xiao Deng elbows him, shattering his nose. Vines lash from Xiao Deng's hand. hoisting the man into the air. The team strikes back instantly, wiping out the yellow group in moments. Xiao Deng says coldly they were coursed, so hell spare them for now. The undead shriek and charge in madness. Xiao Deng raises his hand, green vines surge like a storm, sweeping everything to dust. The last yellow-clad man stares in horror, stammering monster. Instantly, sapling spear through his body, blood spraying as the tree feeds on his flesh. The rest freeze in terror, lips trembling wordlessly. Then each collapses backward, bodies convulsing violently. Black vines burst from their skin, tearing bones apart amid despairing screams. Olda shouts for Xiao Deng's help, fearing total annihilation. Xiao Deng calmly says it's simple, just kill the mother tree. He soars upward, unleashing thousands of green vines that lash the trunk like thunder. Bark splits, white sap gushes like blood. The mother tree retaliates, flinging vine whips thick as pylons. Xiao Deng flips aside as the ground explodes beneath him in smoky craters. Landing afar, he frowns. The beast's two massive direct attacks waste energy. The mother's vine spears surviving yellow men, dragging them to its roots as fertilizer. Xiao Deng shouts to the infected, green veins bulging on his neck. He exhales emerald mist over their skin. They cough and ask what it is. He answers coldly, algal spores, suppressing parasites, then orders Zhang Ji to lead the others out. Zhang Ji, San, and Tan Yuan evacuate the survivors. Only Old He and Li Qing stay beside Xiao Deng. The undead keep chanting, service slaves. Xiao Deng lifts his head, eyes blazing with green fire. Standing firm, he points at the mother tree, shouting, full symbiosis is survival. A wave of green energy bursts forth. The mother shudders, its leaves trembling like struck by lightning. The glow fades. Xiao Deng looks at his palm, chuckling. Message delivered. Let's go. Olda gapes, asking if that was the flower cart's voice. Xiao Deng says the spores evolved consciousness, a higher life form now. Li Qing asks why not destroy it. Xiao Deng replies, not yet, next time. The mother tree withdraws its vines, watching silently, then slams the ground once in warning and stops. Back at the factory base, Xiao Deng calls an emergency meeting, summons Shengji and Chen Song to prepare for a massive assault. Li Qing asks if they can return safely. Xiao Deng replies, top experts guard that zone. Zhang Ji wonders if those experts are stronger than them. Xiang smirks, want to spar and find out. Zhang Ji thumps his chest, accepting. Xiao Deng turns to Old He, saying hell need his technical expertise. Old He agrees, stepping outside. Zhang Ji gasps, pointing skyward. Holy crap, look at that tree! Beneath the colossal tree over the blackered flesh sea, Xiao Feng steps from the slimy mass, smiling at his brother. Zhang Ji stands frozen. Xiao Deng laughs, slinging an arm around him, introducing him to Brother Feng. Xiao Feng merely nods and raises a finger to the sky. The flesh sea surges, tens of thousands of red-black tentacles rise, blanketing the heavens. Zhang Ji turns pale as chalk, pleading, brother, peace brings profit, no fighting. Okay. In a small meeting room, Xiao Deng introduces Old, expert in Oriental studies, and Xiao Bing, biology researcher. They shake hands warmly. He dives straight in. Can they control the insect swarm or capture its queen? Old ponders, explaining the queen only breeds. Hive intellect comes from collective reaction. Xiao Bing adds that the swarm mimics biology with evolved spores, possibly forming its own neural network. Xiao Deng nods, deciding to try catching the queen first. The commander shakes his head, warning the hive's nest is hundreds of meters deep, virtually impenetrable. Old adds the whole city's become nourishment for the hive. Its scale rivals the giant tree and forests. Zhang Zi's eyes light up, has got a little plan. Xiao Deng turns, saying, speak. Zhang Ji grins and pitches a Trojan horse idea. On a reddish road, 3 black trucks speed like arrows. Suddenly they screech to a halt, doors burst open, hideous beasts leap out roaring. Mercenaries scramble aboard, shouting to move. In seconds, the trucks are packed and race off, leaving monsters sprawled on the road. Inside, someone yells at the driver, go! Don't block the way. On a ridge, Zhang Ji stands with folded arms, bragging to Xiao Deng that his plan's foolproof. Xiao Deng stays silent, eyes narrowing. They're here. A massive black wasp circles overhead, wings roaring like engines. Zhang Ji frowns, asking what that creature is. Xiao Deng lowers his goggles, murmuring, hive scout. The wasp circles once and flies off. Xiao Deng smirks. The bait's taken. From afar, a vast black cloud rolls in, wing beats thunder as war wasps dive like a living storm. The soldiers blanch, trembling at the sight. One panics, screaming and bolting away. Zhang Ji senses trouble. Olda frets behind him. Xiao Deng, are we good? He stays icy calm, eyes flashing, just waves it off. The swarm rains down, but the ground suddenly splits apart. Hundreds of purple-black tentacles surge up, coiling like giant serpents. In an instant, wasps are impaled. Wet stabbing sounds echo gruesomely. The sky rings with horrific cries. One soldier mutters, stunned, with that power, who needs a plan? Just charge. Dead wasps fall like black rain, twitching tentacles among them. Olda asks anxiously, all good? Xiao Deng replies coldly, these bugs are weaker than the mimiflesh. He adds, full control will be tough. Xiao Feng once cooperated, but these won in the distance. Soldiers shout chaos, the plan's their last hope. Xiao Deng tilts his head, a sharp sense of danger pricking him. He looks left. The giant wasp lands softly on the reddest ground. Its feral glare fades to submission. A soldier stammers, did it work? Diakong runs up, trembling, Touching the shell, whispers, "It really worked." Ola sighs, asking how many experiments for one success. Xiao Deng answers, "One is enough." The wasp instantly takes off, soaring skyward with its rider. Xiao Deng grips the hard shell, steady as the wasp climbs high. Wind roars past. He looks down, smiling faintly while Diao Kai, chained and dangling, squeals "Mommy." Before going mute in terror, deep in a dark cavern, Ming Yuan's group hides behind damp rocks, hearts pounding to the buzz and skittering legs. Someone whispers it's too dangerous, another doubts the plan, someone else fears they're lost. Ming Yuan quivers but reassures them follow the airflow, and they'll find an exit. They creep on, then Ming Yuan freezes, face pale, screaming, startling the others. Before them hang dozens of corpses, bellies swollen with writhing larvae. The stench is suffocating. Kang grits his teeth, warning, "Don't look, get caught and you become egg sacs." They move on, darkness swallowing their breath. A dim light glimmers ahead. Ming Yuan points, elated. There, the way out. The trio rushes forward, cheering for survival. But as they exit, a hiss and pounding feet thunder behind. The brood is chasing. The black swarm surged in like a tsunami. Ming Yuan shouted at the lead, "Victory's right there, don't you dare fall." The moment he stepped out, his legs froze stiff. Freedom wasn't ahead, just a massive square crammed with broodlings. Thousands of crimson eyes turned toward the three intruders. Before Ming Yuan could yell, a terrifying force hurled them backward into an abyss. Boom! Their bodies slammed into the icy stone floor. In the dark pit, Fu Long and the prisoners looked up, eyes gleaming as Ming Yuan dazedly asked what the hell this place was. Fu Long smirked coldly. "The food storage. You're the snacks." Kang collapsed in despair, wailing that being a laborer would have been better. Fu Long glanced into the shadows, frowning. Was that one dead? Ming Yuan looked too. "Is that guy? Never seen him." Kang trembled closer, reaching out. The man didn't move. Whoop! The guy sprang up, brushed his coat, grinning. Perfect timing. Xiao Rong rolled his shoulders, sighed. "These twists are dizzying." We're inside the brood's core. It's a maze. Fu Long gawked, stunned that the newcomer could still sound so calm. Xiao Rong's gaze darkened. "Anyone know the way to the brood, mother?" Ming Yuan broke into a sweat. Fu Long's face paled. "Why in the world do you want to find that?" Xiao Rong smiled mysteriously. "Got business with her." The prisoners muttered his nuts. Panics fried his brain. Then a chilling sound came, thousands of legs crawling. Fu Long shrank, trembling. "They're picking tonight's meal." Screams erupted. Prisoners shoved and stomped each other in chaos. Someone yelled, "Wanna be dinner? Run, idiots!" Another shouted back, "Run where? We're dead anyway." Kang glanced at Xiao Rong, gritted his teeth, and ran. "Sorry, buddy." Too slow means bye. Amid the frenzy, only Xiao Rong stood still, facing the colossal broodling. Its jaws gaped, saw blade tongue gleaming. The entire cavern trembled, sweat pouring like rain. Xiao Rong calmly raised a hand, seizing the incoming claw. A burst of green light pierced the beast. It froze, then exploded into a rain of flesh. "Silence!" Someone stammered. "He killed it barehanded. No weapon." Xiao Rong brushed off dust. "Coolly, anyone who wants to live, follow me." Ming Yuan shouted first, "Imin, I know the route." The rest echoed, terrified but desperate. Xiao Rong only smirked, lips curling with confidence. Suddenly, the creature's remaining claw twitched violently. From the dark, hundreds of small broodlings scuttled out, clattering like hail. Everyone froze in horror. This many. No way to survive. But Xiao Rong stood firm. Each swing of his arm burst another in green light. He moved like wind breaking, ripping, crushing. Seconds later, the floor was layered in reeking carcasses. Xiao Rong turned lightly. "That direction, brood mother's nest, right?" Ming Yuan, pale as chalk, nodded frantically. "Ah yeah, I think so, let's go." The group ventured deeper, a massive green monster ahead, its body webbed with glowing nerves. Someone whispered, "The brood mother." Ming Yuan shook his head. "Nope." A heaven thread strain. Xiao Rong raised a brow. "Heaven thread." Ming Yuan swallowed hard, pointing at the tail. "See those antennae? They control the whole swarm," he warned sharply. "Don't touch it. If it signals, the entire hive will come down on us." Xiao Rong smiled lazily. "Yo, fascinating mechanism." He raised his hand, green energy flaring into thousands of fine threads that pierced the heaven thread beast. The creature shrieked, body convulsing as toxic green mist filled the cavern. Someone screamed in panic. "What the hell are you doing?" The heaven thread writhed, its body bound tight by threads as the poison was sucked back into Xiao Rong, shrinking like it was being drained dry. Moments later, it collapsed like an empty husk. Fu Long trembled, stammering, "So who's the real monster here?" Xiao Rong lowered his hand, eyes gleaming, found the brood mother's coordinates. The ground suddenly quaked, cracks webbing out as rubble rained down. Green light surged beneath them. Xiao Rong chuckled. Might as well absorb their energy, complete the process. Crack! The floor shattered, the group screaming as they plunged into a bottomless pit. When the dust cleared, they stood on a vast stone plain drowned in thick darkness. Fu Long shivered. "Where's the brood mother?" Xiao Rong calmly looked down. The ground was swelling like waves. A colossal mass burst upward, shattering the floor. A titanic brood loomed, ceiling high, with 100 crimson eyes opening to devour everything.